Yeah, we're back. Bàbá mi Adeleke, I am Adeleke. Ṣé dáadáa ni ẹ kúrọ̀lẹ́ sá o? Ẹ kúrọ̀lẹ́ bá mi, ṣé dáadáa ni o? I needed to end the live earlier. Torí mo mọ̀ kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Fídíò tí mò ń wò kí n tó wá join live ló ṣe ó dẹ̀ wá tún ó wá lọ ń dún again ní background, which was a bit weird. So yeah, a máa ní láti tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ náà ni. Hopefully àwọn èèyàn wọ́n máa ti wà notified wọ́n náà máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń padà bọ̀. I don't know what happened there. Yeah. So a kàn máa ní láti tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ again náà ni. Torí TikTok kan ló ṣòjòrò ń bẹ̀. Yeah, TikTok ló ṣòjòrò ń bẹ̀. That was annoying. So yeah, as you're coming on, please ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá mi share torí I ní láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ again náà ni. Ẹ bá mi share. That was annoying. Yeah, that was annoying. But my apologies for that. Mi kọ́ mo ṣe yẹn TikTok ló ń ṣe yẹn. So bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń wọlé ẹ jọ̀ọ́ bá mi share lọ.
TikTok about.
Ní pẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ ṣeun. Mo appreciate yín, mo mọ̀ lóore o. Ìyá mi Adéwálé, thank you. Àti kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan, but unfortunately I needed to end the live torí kí background noise kan ó wá ń dún lórí ibẹ̀. Fídíò tí mò ń wò kí n tó wá start live ó dẹ̀ ṣì ń dún in the background. That was annoying. So I needed to close the live so àwọn èèyàn lè máa tí ì rí pàṣípààrọ̀ wá sínú ilé. So yeah, this is what we're talking about today. Let's talk about sex, baby. You know, at least in marriages, we're gonna talk about some sexual practices in marriages and their effect. We already talked about it yesterday. I saw okay, from a metaphysical perspective, what are the effects of masturbation on men and women? So yeah, so okay. I want to just as an extension to yesterday's show. Npe kakuku wa explore okay, báwo ni effect wà nínú marriage nínú ìgbéyàwó gangan? What are the effects nínú ìgbéyàwó gangan? So yeah, òun la fẹ́ yẹ̀wò lénìí gangan báyìí. Yeah, òun la fẹ́ yẹ̀wò lénìí gangan. So yeah, ní pẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí nǹkan for everybody ní maybe another couple of minutes to join. Then a dẹ̀ máa wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ o. Ìyá mi Ajéwálé, thank you for the likes and everything. Mo appreciate you o, mo mọ̀ lóore o, thank you so much. So yeah, a máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí sìn. A máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí sìn. Yeah. Okay. Ìyá mi Ajéwámirí àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè máa ṣe dáadáa ni o. I hope you're having a lovely day. The sun's shining. The weather is good. I hope the weather is good at your end as well. Ìyá mi Ajéwámirí, thanks for the gift o. Mo mọ̀ lóore o. Ọwọ́ yín á máa ròkè ni o, kò ní tán níbi tẹ́tí mú o. Ẹ ṣeun. Mo mọ̀ bóyá ẹ bá ètò àná. I'm not sure if bí ẹ bá ètò àná. Maybe you saw some glimpses of it. but what's okay. So yeah, but yeah, okay, sun is shining over there. Absolutely. It's been a fantastic week weather-wise. So yeah, nípa ètò àná náà na fẹ́ sọ pé ká kúkú, ká extend it. There was an extended version of it. Ètò àná yẹn, I didn't think it would go on for as long as it did. That was almost 5 hours. La fi ṣètò yẹn lánàá now. So there was a lot of insight that we were able to obtain from it. Àwọn ìyá wa wá sókè, àwọn bàbá mi wá sókè, wọ́n bá wa yọ̀nàná ẹ̀, wọ́n tún kì í fá nǹkan tí Ifá sọ nípa ìbára ẹni lò tí àwọn òyìnbó ń pè ní masturbation. So kí ni Ifá sọ nípa ẹ̀, and also looking at it from a metaphysical perspective. So it was a very insightful session. Almost 5 hours it went on for. Hopefully tèmi ò ní tó 5 hours o. Hopefully ètò yìí ò ní tó 5 hours lẹ́ni, but it's a conversation starter. So irú ètò báyìí ó máa ní attraction. Ó máa ní attraction because it's something that we could all relate to as adults. It's something we can all relate to. So yeah. So a máa ní láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀ ń sìn mí gan-an, kò ń ṣe pé mo ti parí àwọn PowerPoint yẹn náà. So yeah, almost ready. So yeah, a máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀ ń sìn. So mo dẹ̀ ṣèbà fún gbogbo àwọn tó ti wọnú ilé o. Mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú orúkọ Elédùmarè, ẹlẹ́dàá ayé àti ọ̀run. Mo dẹ̀ kí yín ní kíkí tó ní ọlá jùlọ. Mo kí yín ní ẹ̀làbọ́rú ẹ̀làbọ̀yè bọ́ ṣíṣe o. Ṣé dáadáa ni o. Màá máa rí yín bá mo ní wá yín tì o. Ìpàdé wa á jẹ́ ire àti ayọ̀ lágbára lọ́wọ́ Elédùmarè. Lágbára lọ́wọ́ orí. Lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ifá. Okay. Ẹ̀lúkú 007, ẹ bá mi share tẹ́ bá ṣe ń wọlé, please share so that ó máa lè notify àwọn èèyàn. Bí a ṣe láti end live yẹn, tàti wá restart ẹ̀, àwọn èèyàn kan wọ́n lè má mọ̀ pa ti wọlé padà, so ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá mi reshare bẹ̀ ṣe ń wọlé yẹn. Answer, how you doing? Please reshare. Bàbá mi Ẹ̀lúkú 007, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá mi reshare. Ìyá mi Ajẹ́wàmí Rínà, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá mi reshare. If you're able to, that would be fantastic. That would be much appreciated. Ẹ kàn bá mi share, tẹ́ bá tap lórí arrow yẹn, kẹ̀dẹ̀ repost. Àbí you can also share to àwọn followers yìí. So a máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò yẹn nísìn. Kí dẹ̀ wá ní ètò ti tèní? Ètò ti tèní is the effect of masturbation. Kí ni ipa ìbára ẹni lò nínú ìgbéyàwó? Ní àná, show ta ṣe lánàá, òun leléyìí. Eléyìí was about masturbation in Yoruba Cosmology, exploring the spiritual positives and negatives. La ṣe lánàá. Show yẹn dẹ̀ lọ far gan, it went on for almost 5 hours. I'm actually in the process of uploading the full live video. I'm in the process of uploading it into YouTube. So ó máa wọlé nínú ìrọ̀lẹ́ yìí bá ṣe ń ṣe ètò lọ́wọ́, but for whatever reason, broadband me slow gan lẹ́yìn. It's very, very slow. My upload speed has been awful. So ó slow gan. So yẹn máa wà available fún àwọn tó bá miss show, àti pé àwọn ìyá wa kan náà tó sọ pé àwọn máa like láti revisit ẹ̀. So ẹ máa lè lọ wò lórí YouTube. Ó máa wà available nírọ̀lẹ́ yìí. Yeah. Everything come from my slow dear lady. Okay, so I'm a better. Baba mi Ẹ̀lúkú 007. Thanks for the likes. Ẹ bá mi share náà, tẹ́ bá ti share already. Ta ló tún wà ńbẹ̀? Okay, ìyá mi Àánú Olúwa pọ̀ lórí mi. Ìyẹn deep, mo dẹ̀ like orúkọ yẹn o. Àánú Olúwa pọ̀ lórí mi. Ìyẹn kọjá just the box standard. Àánú Olúwa pọ̀ lórí mi. Mo like orúkọ yẹn o. what a beautiful name. Welcome on board. Ẹ jẹ́ bá mi ṣe ẹ̀bẹ̀ ṣe ń wọlé. So ètò tàná ní eléyìí, ètò ti tèmi is about, okay, let's extend it to marriages as well. Ní ti ètò ti tèmi. I did off and on working. Okay. You know, ẹ catch díẹ̀ ń bẹ̀. Ìyá mi láwọn náà catch díẹ̀ ń bẹ̀. Okay, I hope it was useful and I hope it made sense. So, but titeni is just an extension of yesterday's show. Pé okay, ẹ jẹ́ àgbéwọ̀ ìgbéyàwó gangan. Kí wá ní effects tó wá ní nínú ìgbéyàwó. Òun la fẹ́ ṣe lénìí. So, bàbá wa Múyìwá Adébánjọ àbọ̀yè ò ṣe dáadáa ni o. Ẹ káàbọ̀. Okay, so ṣé ká dive in ni? Bàbá Múyìwá àbọ̀yè sà ò ṣe dáadáa ni o. Mo ṣe bá jú ní lọ o. Okay, well, why don't we get started then? So yeah, nǹkan tá ètò yìí ní ó tọmọ pé it's about, okay, nínú ìgbéyàwó kí ni effect pé kí wọ́n máa ṣe sopi ìbára ẹni lò táwọn òyìnbó ń pè ní masturbation. Kí ni effect tó máa ń ní o nínú ìgbéyàwó? Ṣé dáadáa ni ó máa ń mú wá àbí èèyàn ń ṣe nǹkan tó dáa? Ṣé nǹkan tó tọ́ ni àbí èèyàn ń ṣe nǹkan tó tọ́? Ẹ mọ̀ kí ní program àná we've looked at the cultural aspects of it. Ní program àná we've explored the nǹkan tí kí ni Ifá sọ nípa ẹ̀ àti explore already. Àti wá explore ìyá wa Yèyé Ṣàngó àti ìyá mi Queen Shali. Àwọn náà wá wọlé wọ́n tún wá kí Ifá fún wa, you know, wọ́n tún wá kí Ifá fún wa, wọ́n gbé wa débẹ̀ nínú Ifá nǹkan tí Ifá sọ nípa ìyàwó àti ọkọ àti pé wọ́n tún wá, you know, we looked at the metaphysical aspect of it as well. Ẹ mọ̀ kí bá ṣe nkí báwo ni àwọn ó wá reveal pé àyè tí ó yẹ kí ọkùnrin wà, tó yẹ kí ọkọ wà àbí tó yẹ kí aya wà, but tá bá ń dá ṣe tá bá ń ṣe ìbára ẹni lò lásán tá a máa sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ lásán, ó máa ń ṣí ọ̀nà lẹ̀ fáwọn ajogun. Ṣó ti yé yín? Ó máa ń ṣí ọ̀nà lẹ̀. Okay, ẹ ṣeun bàbá mi Múyìwá Adébánjọ. Ẹ ṣeun bàbá o. So yeah, ó máa ń ṣí ọ̀nà lẹ̀ fáwọn ajogun ni. So, you know, we have to, and there were some tips about how you can come out of that. You know, agbe gbogbo ẹ̀ sílẹ̀. Mo ń sọ pé fídíò yẹn mo ń upload it as I'm speaking right now. So ó máa wà available lórí YouTube. So ti yẹn, but títè ní àwa fẹ́ sọ pé okay, ẹ jẹ́ àgbéwọ̀ wedding. What are the impact it has in marriages gangan nínú àwọn relationship gangan? So ti yẹn, torí mo ti rí ètò kan rí nǹkan tó dẹ̀, okay, the precursor to this particular show, to this particular live is mo jí ní ọjọ́ Sunday ní around 2:00 in the morning. Nǹkan kan ta méjì. Mo wá ní pé okay, I wasn't able to sleep. Nígbà ẹ jẹ́ kí n kàn lọ sórí TikTok kò kí n ka àwọn messages. Ìgbà tí mo wá dórí TikTok, kí ni mo bá bẹ̀? Mo rí àwọn bàbá àtàwọn ìyá kan, they were talking about this particular topic. They were talking about relationship in general, you know, adult things ló ń sọ. Wọ́n wá sọ dé ọ̀nà pé káwọn obìnrin máa lo àwọn toys. Ṣó ti yé yín? Wọ́n wá sọ débẹ̀, you know, báwọn ìyá yẹn dẹ̀ tún ṣe ń sọ náà, ikán náà àwọn dádì wa náà tí wọ́n á sọ pé èèyàn ò mí náà pé kíní kan is nothing now, pé ọkùnrin ò gbọ́dọ̀ ní problem pẹ̀lú yẹn náà, pé tọkùnrin bá ní problem pẹ̀lú yẹn nǹkan ìyẹn mi pé small boy ni, ó ń jowú ni, bla 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 bla. Ṣó ti yẹn, those shaming language ló ń lò níbẹ̀ yẹn. Nígbà tí mo wá ń gbọ́ kíní yẹn, mo understand táwọn ìyá wa bá ní opinion yẹn, but táwọn bàbá wa bá ní opinion yẹn, as a man, I know that they're being disingenuous ni. Just yẹn, as ọmọkùnrin, èmi mọ̀ pé rọ́lá àwọn bàbá yẹn pa, àwọn bàbá yẹn kàn play popularity contest, wọ́n play bẹ́ẹ̀, they're just playing, you know, for it's like you're playing for publicity stunt làwọn bàbá ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. So nígbà tí mo wá wo kíní yẹn, mo wá ní pé okay, mo ṣe sọ pé kí ìyá yẹn gbé mi wọ kí kan gbé mi wọlé nìyẹn o. This was around 2:00 in the morning, I promise you. So gbà tí host wá gbé mi wọlé, mo wá ní pé okay, mo ṣáà kí wọn, mo ní kí I've got nothing to say to ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, you know, your opinion is your opinion, but mo ní kí nǹkan tẹ̀mí ń gbọ́ lẹ́nu àwọn bàbá wa yẹn táwọn náà dẹ̀ speak in support of the thing. Wọ́n tún wá ń lo shaming language pé ọkùnrin tí ò bá ń ṣe yẹn òun gangan pé small boy ni, ó kàn ń jowú ni, kíní kan ṣebí ike lásán ni, ṣebí irin lásán ni, it's not like cheating now ló ń sọ. mo wá ní pé you know, if that's the case. Yeah, mo ní kí if that's the case mo wá sọ pé okay ẹ̀yin bàbá mi ẹ jẹ́ a ṣe experiment tó bá yẹ pé ẹ believe nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń sọ yẹn ẹ jẹ́ a ṣe experiment kan gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tí àwọn ìyàwó yín máa ń fi ṣeré yẹn mo ní kí ẹ sọ pé ṣèbí ike lásán ni pé it doesn't mean anything àbí pé it's not like cheating with a human àbí with another man mo ní kí lásán ni báwọn ìyàwó ṣe pé yẹn mo ní mo ṣe understand tó bá yẹ káwọn obìnrin lọ ní irú opinion yẹn because everybody you know tá bá mú àwọn àgbà tí máa ń sọ tó jọ bí òwe tá bá gbé ọkọ fún ẹnìkan ọ̀dọ̀ wọn lọ́ máa roko sí so mo ní kí mo understand báwọn ìyàwó ṣe ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ they're looking after their own interest which is understandable but bí àwọn bàbá wa ṣe ń validate mo ní kí kíní yóò make sense that's disingenuous mo wá ní pé okay ẹ̀yin bàbá mi ẹ jẹ́ a ṣe experiment kan mo ní ẹ̀yin tí ẹ sọ pé ẹ encourage káwọn ìyàwó yín kọ́ máa lo àwọn toys yẹn pé it's nothing àbí mo ní kẹ́ jẹ́ a ṣe báyìí mo ní pé ẹ lọ mú ibi tí àwọn ìyàwó yín tọ́jú àwọn kíní ibi vibrator àwọn rose àwọn nǹkan ọ̀kan tó máa ń lò yẹn ẹ lọ mú kẹ́ wá lọ kó wọn jùnù kẹ́ wá wo bóyá irin lásán ni bóyá ìyàwó yẹn wá respond pé ṣebí rin lásán ni ṣebí ike lásán ni that's not that's not a problem you know I love my husband it's nothing you know I value you as my husband more than I value the sex toy the vibrator ẹ lè believe pé níbi tí mo ti ń béèrè question yẹn lọ́wọ́ ni àwọn ìyá wa náà tó wà lórí kíní yẹn lọ́tí ń response in the comment section pé if my husband try that one na fight we go fight for that house. Bí mo ṣe ń sọ bí àwọn ìyá yẹn ṣe ń tàpẹ̀ mo wá sọ fáwọn ọkùnrin yẹn pé ẹ wo comment section mo wá ní ẹ̀yin bàbá mi ẹ wo comment section o ló ti yẹ yín mo ní ṣé ẹ̀rín kan táwọn ìyá wa ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ẹ̀yin sọ pé ike lásán ni náà kò mean anything náà kíníkan you know you're trying to feel like you're a big man tàdé mọ́ pé irọ́ ni mo ní wáyé tá a ṣe wá ń tanra wa fún wáyé tá à ń parọ́ fúnra wa. You know you're going to have a secret resentment for that woman. As a man, you will. As a man with pride. You know that you're not really in support of that nonsense. But ẹ wá lọ ń support ẹ káwọn ìyá wa kọ́ bá lè pass yín on the head good boy kẹ́ bá lè gba good boy digital claps on the head. Mo ní kí ẹ̀yin ṣe nípa ẹ̀yin bàbá wa sóòótọ́ nìyẹn mo ní kí níbi tá a ti ń sọ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ìyá wa the same women tó ń sọ pé it's not like cheating it's not a man you know it's not another person kíníkà it's just a toy mo ní àwọn gan náà lọ́gbà tí wọ́n sọ pé káwọn bàbá wa ẹ jẹ́ a ṣe experiment ká lọ kó gbogbo àwọn kíní yẹn ká lọ kó jùnù àwọn ìyá wa náà lọ́wọ́ sọ pé àtọ́kọ mi bá ṣe yẹn a máa jà gan o mo wá ní kí ẹ̀yin bàbá wa look at the comment. That you know mission complete as far as I was concerned mo dẹ̀ ra drop ara mi kúrò ńbẹ̀ mo wá drop ara mi kúrò ńbẹ̀ mo kọ̀ kúrò lórí page yẹn mo kọ̀ padà lọ́sùn ni kẹba lè rí pé àwọn ọkùnrin wa gan add sínú you know we are contributing to the problem as well torí pé tá a bá lè dúró bí ọkùnrin gbọ́dọ̀ dúró bí ọkùnrin ni ọkùnrin òun dúró bíi pé kẹ máa bend bíi crayfish torí popularity kẹ wá máa bend bíi crayfish irọ́ kò ń ṣe bóyá kọkùnrin ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ máa dúró nìyẹn ọkùnrin gbọ́dọ̀ dúró ni tá bá máa kú síbẹ̀ ni but as a man you stand on the truth ni ẹnikẹ́ àwọn bàbá wa lọ ń parọ́ ń bẹ̀ yẹn nìyẹn so mo á wò pé okay what I will do is you know like I said I dropped myself off that live mo wá sọ pé okay èmi náà máa wá ṣe show tèmi tí táyé bá gbà kékeré mi náà wá ṣe show so that a lè mo ti kọ́kọ́ ṣèwádìí sí náà mo ní kékeré ẹ̀ ní ifá sọ nípa kíni what does the Yoruba culture kí ló sọ nípa kíni what does it mean from a metaphysical perspective mo ṣe ìwádìí yẹn ìgbà tí mo wá ṣe ìwádìí yẹn mo wá ṣe structure in a PowerPoint format pé okay a ti lè discuss kíni ìsìn nǹkan tó wá bí show tá a ṣe lánàá and as an extension show tá a tún máa ṣe nírọ̀lẹ́ yìí náà nìyẹn kò ń ṣe kí mo kàn dìde lọ́jọ́ kan mo kàn sọ pé kí wá máa ṣe kíní no mi ìmọ̀kan tó jẹ́ kí n tají lọ́jọ́ yẹn àwọn rúmọlẹ̀ náà ló ta méjì sí orí náà ló ta méjì sí o ẹ mọ̀ pé bá a ṣe ń ṣe nǹkan ìṣínilétí àbí ìtanijí tó ti yé yín even though a lot of it is focused on nǹkan bíi spirituality nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn but lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan orí inú á máa ta méjì sí have you considered this what about this have you considered that lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan orí inú á máa ta méjì sí other subject matters, other subject areas. Mo lè parọ́ fún yín. So kò ń ṣe pé mi náà pé mo kàn dìde lọ́jọ́ kan mo ní pé this would be a good idea, a good topic to speak about. No, èmi kọ́ ni mo ṣe. Èmi kọ́ ni mo ṣe o. Orí inú ló ta méjì sí lóòótọ́. Orí inú ló ta méjì sí o. So mo wá ní pé okay. So I think there's an opportunity to have a healthy discussion about this. Money, there's an opportunity to have a healthy discussion about this. So nǹkan tó wá bí programming nìyẹn o. Nǹkan tó bí program àná and as an extension, by way of extension, programming ni. So mo rò pé àwọn tó attend program àná yẹn mo rò pé rí ìwúlò gan lórí ẹ̀. So mo kàn fẹ́ sáré okay mo sáré format àwọn slide okay méjì lókun okay ẹ jẹ́ kí n fi méjì yẹn lẹ̀ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò okay ẹ jẹ́ let's dive into it. Àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè o ṣé ìyá mi Ọlámídé àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè ẹ jọ̀ọ́ bá mi share bẹ̀ ṣe ń wọlé o ẹ jọ̀ọ́ bá mi share so that àwọn èèyàn máa mọ̀ pa wà lórí ètò. Anyway ẹ jẹ́ àtẹ̀síwájú ẹ sick pa. Welcome on board. Please share as you're coming in. Okay, the effects of masturbation. With dolls and objects in marriages. To be explicit, kí ni effect ẹ o? Kí ni ipa tó ní nínú marriage àti nínú relationship? You know, is it something good? Is it something bad? Àmọ́ pé àwọn bàbá wa àtàwọn ìyá wa kan wọ́n máa ń lò as a I don't know, maybe as a release. When you have a pent up sexual energy, àwọn bàbá wa àwọn ìyá wa kan they use it as a form of a release. Tó ti yẹ yín àwọn ẹlòmíì dẹ̀ máa ń wò pé òkè eléyìí kò sí nǹkan tó bàjẹ́ ń bẹ̀ Agiaba Okataki yẹn orúkọ yẹn lọ fà gan bàbá mi àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè o. So yeah pé kò ń ṣe big deal now, what's the big deal? There's nothing wrong with it. We've looked at the effect from a spiritual perspective. And we've looked at the effect from a metaphysical perspective as well. But effect in marriage la fẹ́ explore lẹ́nu. Effect nínú ìgbéyàwó la fẹ́ explore lẹ́nu. Okay, it weakens spiritual connection between partners by disrupting the Ori to Ori bond. Let me read that one more time. Masturbation in any form carried out by either, whether it's the husband or the wife, has an effect on marriages. It weakens spiritual connection between partners by disrupting the Ori to Ori bond. It replaces sacred Asher exchange with lifeless energy, causing spiritual disalignment. There's a typing error there, which I'm gonna try and correct later. That should have a single L, not double L. But that's my error. My correct here later. So it replaces your sacred Asher. Asher is basically your divine energy. Tó wà lára wa. Òun náà la máa fi ń ṣe gbólóhùn Asher. So ti yẹn is your life force which is in your body. So ti yẹn Asher. No, kíkà ní pé omi tá a bá ṣe máa ń da omi ara ká ní kò láṣẹ nínú kò ní lè di ọmọ náà. So ti yẹ yín toró láṣẹ nínú ló ṣe lè di ọmọ so ó yẹ ká ti mọ̀ pé kò ń ṣe omi ara lásán omi àṣẹ ni ó dẹ̀ ní iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe fún wa beyond the bedroom, not only in the bedroom. So ti yẹ yín omi àṣẹ ara wa ó máa ń jẹ́ kí tá bá ń fi sínú gbólóhùn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé à ń ṣèwúre tá dẹ̀ ń fi ṣe àṣẹ sí it's not just by decoration ó máa ń jẹ́ it aids in manifestation. So ti yẹ yín gbólóhùn àṣẹ wa látara àṣẹ tó sì wà lára wa tẹ́lẹ̀dùmarè ti fi sára wa because it's part of our life force, it's part of our energy tá à ń gbé káàkiri as humans. Tó ti yé yín so omi yẹn kò ń ṣomi lásán tá a bá damira kò ń ṣomi lásán omi yẹn ní àṣẹ nínú is actually a form of it's a life it's a form of energy. It's a form of spiritual energy as well, or metaphysical energy if you wish. So ti yẹ yín so tabanda ṣe torí ẹ̀ ló ṣe ń dọmọ ká lómi lásán ni nígbà kò dá mi ara lásán ni náà irọ́ tó bá jómi lásán kò ní lè di ọmọ náà. So ti yẹ yín So tabawa lọ ń ṣe lásán through masturbation takọ̀ lọ ń dá síra lásán ẹ mọ̀ kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí ètò lánàá one of the key things tí a demonstrate pé tíyàn bá masturbate ó yàtọ̀ síbẹ̀ ní kéèyàn máa ní sexual intercourse pẹ̀lú èèyàn tó yẹ pé your lover your olólùfẹ́ ṣó ti yẹ yín torí pé masturbation is like èèyàn kàn ń da omi nù lásán a kàn ń dà á nù lásán ni àní ṣe àṣedànù ṣó ti yé yín but ká ní pé proper sexual intercourse ni that's a transaction because you're giving it's like an exchange of energy you're giving and you're receiving you know when it's done right with a proper partner that you have good relationship with you have a feeling of love and harmony with so that's an exchange of energy and that exchange actually births is like an accelerator it's like an accelerator. It intensifies your own life force that exists within you. It creates a spark. So torí ẹ̀ ni tẹ́ bá mo fi ṣàpèjúwe lánàá if you've watched the movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back. It's an old school movie, but a lot of some people here might be able to remember that movie. So Stella was in a depressed state, lower at the time. So thanks for sharing, Babawa Muyiwa Adebanjo 7. Thanks for sharing. Babawa Jide no Aboro Aboye. Welcome on Badejo. Eba wa share be share wole yen ma ba wa share lo. So yeah, e mo ke ni movie yen te ba lo wo, ka fi yen share àpèjúwe, ka fi yen share àpẹẹrẹ. How Stella got her groove back. Stella was in a depressed state because she didn't have any lover. But ngba tó wá lọ holiday da ke Jamaica lọ somewhere in the Caribbean. Ó wá meet ẹnìkan tó yẹ kó jẹ́ olólùfẹ́. So ti yen ngba tí Stella wá tó jẹ́ olólùfẹ́ nígbà táwọn méjèèjì wá ṣe ìbálòpọ̀ ni ló wá create spark tó ti yẹ yín tó jẹ́ kí òun ló wá spark Stella back to life tó tú ìdè unattractiveness ó tú lórí ẹ̀ Stella rẹ̀ wá dá padà rẹ̀ yá padà ó wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí float again like a butterfly tó ti yẹ yín kíní yẹn ló spark ẹ̀ padà ìbálòpọ̀ ó máa ń ta ẹni jí ó dẹ̀ máa ń tú ìdè ìfẹ́. So ti yé yín ó máa ń tú àwọn ìdè kan ìbálòpọ̀ pẹ̀lú ẹni tí olùfẹ́ èèyàn so ti yé yín tẹ́ ṣe in a spirit of harmony in a spirit of love and cooperation is a very very powerful magnetic force. Ó máa increase your personal magnetism will be intensified so ti yé yín in that kind of period. So omi ara yẹn in itself tí o bá conserve ẹ̀ so ti yẹ yín ó máa ń tani jí ó máa ń fúnyàn ní your the bounce in your steps will be different. Your magnetism, your ability to attract ire ó máa ń fa ire wá tá bá ṣe ìwúre tá bá fi àṣẹ sí ìwúre á máa jẹ́ ìwúre á máa tètè máa jẹ́ so ti yẹ yín. If you're chasing a particular goal at a point where you're practicing abstinence, your ability to attract, your ability to magnify, your ability to manifest would be heightened when you are operating in that state of mind. So through positive application, through positive application. So lára nǹkan tá a kọ́ lánàá nìyẹn from a metaphysical perspective. So but tá bá wá replace yẹn pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó ní tí kò lẹ́mìí torí pé tá bá ń vibrate, especially if you're using an object. Torí pé object tá à ń lò yẹn is lifeless. Nǹkan tí ò bá dẹ̀ lẹ́mìí tó wà lifeless, that means that's a one-way transaction. It's no longer an exchange of energies. It's just a one-way transaction. You're just wasting your life force. And based on our studies yesterday, àti rí pé kíní yẹn máa ń deplete magnetism èèyàn. Ó máa ń deplete àṣẹ inú wa. As ọmọ Yorùbá gbogbo wa la máa ń ní nǹkan tá a máa ń chase, gbogbo wa la ní ambition kan tá à ń bẹ Olúwa fún, gbogbo wa la ní àwọn iṣẹ́ kan àwọn nǹkan kan tá à ń bẹ Ọlọ́run fún ṣó ti yé yín tá a fẹ́ kó jẹ́ tá a fẹ́ kó ṣẹ, gbogbo wa la ní iṣẹ́ kan tá à ń lé bóyá contract kan ni o bóyá promotion níbi iṣẹ́ kan ni o bóyá relationship kan là ń bẹ Ọlọ́run fún ni o everybody we have something that we are praying towards, that we are working towards. A dẹ̀ ní àṣẹ nínú as ọmọ Yorùbá a ní àṣẹ torí ọmọ orúmọlẹ̀ ni wá o. Ọmọ orúmọlẹ̀ ni wá àwa ọmọ Yorùbá o wherever you call yourself a Christian or Muslim dọ́là, gbogbo wa ọmọ rúmọlẹ̀ ni wa, aláṣẹ lẹ́nu, ṣó ti yé yín, aláṣẹ lẹ́nu. Torí ẹ̀ lẹ ṣe máa rí àwọn kan tó jẹ́ pé wọn ò sí nínú ìṣẹ̀ṣe, they might be Christian or Muslims, but àwọn ìyá yẹn àbáwọn bàbá yẹn ó sì ní àṣẹ lẹ́nu, tó bá ṣe àdúrà fún yín àbí tó bá ṣe ìwúre fún yín, ó lè ṣe, torí pé ó láṣẹ lẹ́nu, torí pé whether you wanna call yourself a Christian or a Muslim, irọ́, gbogbo wa, our lineage, our origin, ara rúmọlẹ̀ láti wá, ẹ̀jẹ̀ rúmọlẹ̀ wà lára wa o. Ìgbà tá a dẹ̀ ṣe program Ghost DNA yẹn, ẹ mọ̀ kí mo ti sọ, a dẹ̀ ṣèwádìí, it was provable pé àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá 19% Ghost DNA ló wà nínú composition our genetics wa. So ti yẹn 19% is ẹ̀jẹ̀ rúmọlẹ̀ ṣì wà lára wa, so gbogbo wa aláṣẹ ni wa. So ti yẹn gbogbo aláṣẹ lẹ́nu, but the intensity of àṣẹ wa bó ṣe lè ṣiṣẹ́, the effectiveness of it, the efficiency of it can be heightened, so ti yẹn, or reduced depending on how we maintain our bodily fluid tá à ń pè ní àtọ̀. So ti yẹn, so yeah, ẹ jẹ́ àtẹ̀síwájú. So tá bá wá lọ ṣe tí àbá olólùfẹ́ wa ṣe pọ̀, tẹ́ pé àwa nìkan lákàn jọ ló ń damira, is like a one-way wastage rather than a cooperative transaction, giving and exchanging, tó dẹ̀ tún máa wá tó máa uplift spirit wa, kò kí ń deplete or deplete spirit wa. So that's why it's important when you're practicing sex, practice it with a lover, because you're feeding each other. And tí ọkùnrin àti obìnrin tó bá dẹ̀ wá together, ó máa ń create spark, ó máa ń spark life force wa. So anyway, let's continue. Àbúrò àbọ̀yìn bàbá mi relax, ẹ má bínú ẹ̀kan, TikTok ló lọ ń behave wọ̀rọ̀wọ̀rọ̀.
Gbogbo àtọ́ o, àtúwò ìwò.
Káàbọ̀.
Gbádùn lẹ́tọ̀ náà.
Ẹ ṣeun. Okay, so tá bá ń ṣe irú àwọn nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, ó máa ń lead to emotional withdrawal. So ti yẹ yín, ẹni tá a ní ìfẹ́ fún, tó jẹ́ ọkọ wa àbẹ́ tó jẹ́ ìyàwó wa, tó yẹ ká máa súnmọ́, bọ̀ ńgbà tá bá ti wá lọ gba artificial stimulation, torí pé a ti lọ lo sex toy kan àbí dọ́ọ̀lù kan la lọ lò ní, àbí kíní kan a ti lọ ṣe sopi, your magnetism and your attraction to that person would be reduced. So kíní yẹn, it leads to emotional withdrawal, reduced vulnerability, because you're not really that vulnerable with that person anymore, because your sensitivity is going to be waning. Your sensitivity towards that sexual stimulation is going to be weakened. So and it creates that illusion of self-satisfaction. It creates that illusion of self-satisfaction. So tí bẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ́ni kan náà bàbá wa, kí ìyàwó yín kó ti wà nínú kitchen, ẹ̀yin dé láti inú iṣẹ́, ìyàwó yín dẹ̀ wá bó ṣe máa ṣe kọ́ tẹ́ máa jẹ, ìyàwó wá wọnú kitchen o, ẹ̀yin bàbá ẹ sọ fún ìyàwó yín pé ẹ jẹ́ kí èmi sáré lọ ṣáwà o, tí bá ṣe tán kí sáré lọ wẹ̀, tí bá wá wẹ̀ tán mo á padà wá sórí, màá wá jẹun oúnjẹ tó ń ṣe lọ́wọ́, bọ̀ kí bàbá wa ti wá bọ́ sí bathroom níbi tó ti ń wẹ̀, bàbá ti sáré ṣe sopi. Ẹ mọ̀ kí bàbá ti gbéra wọn débẹ̀ nìyẹn, bàbá ò ní lè súnmọ́ ìyá wa mọ́ lálẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn náà. Ó ṣeé ṣe kí bàbá wa kó má lè súnmọ́ ìyá wa mọ́ ní alẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn, torí pé he has already DIY'd, do it yourself. He's already practiced self-satisfaction, and it's not real satisfaction. It's just an illusion of satisfaction náà ni. But tí bàbá bá ti lọ gbéra ẹ̀ débẹ̀, tí ìyá bá sẹ̀ bó oúnjẹ tán, bàbá ò ní lè súnmọ́ ìyá lọ́jọ́ yẹn, tí ìyàwó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wá fọwọ́ pa bàbá lára, bàbá máa make excuse pé I'm tired, ó ti rẹ̀ mí, iṣẹ́ wà lọ́la, ìyá yìí lọ sùn mẹ́, iṣẹ́ wà lọ́la, bàbá wa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí make excuses torí kí bàbá ti lọ ṣe sopi náà, and vice versa. Kí bàbá tó dé láti ibi iṣẹ́, ìyá ti sáré lọ mú sex toy kan, àwọn dildo àbáwọn nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́ máa ń lò, ìyá ti ṣe DIY, tó ti yé yín, ìyá ti gbéra wọn débẹ̀. Tí bàbá bá fẹ́ súnmọ́ ìyàwó mọ́ ìyá ní alẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn, ó ṣeé ṣe kí ìyá gan má lè dìde mọ́ náà, tó ti yé yín, ó sì rẹ̀ mí o, mo ti ń sóúnjẹ látàárọ̀ kíníkan, tó ti yé yín, ó dẹ̀ ní àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ míì táwọn ìyàwó náà máa ń pa, tó ti yé yín, àmọ́ máa period kíníkan again. But ọ máa gbé different excuse wọlé, torí pé ìyá ti satisfy ara wọn, ìyá ti ṣe DIY sex pẹ̀lú ra wọn, ìyá ti gbéra wọn débẹ̀, ṣó ti yé yín, ìyá ti bára wọn lò, ṣó ti yé yín, ìyá ti bára wọn lò ní kí bàbá tó dé láti ibi iṣẹ́ lọ́jọ́ yẹn. So kíní yẹn máa ń create ó máa ń create emotional withdrawal. So tí bàbá bá fẹ́ súnmọ́ ìyá lọ́jọ́ yẹn, ìyá gọ̀wọ́, ìyá ṣe bá òkè bàbá ò ní súnmọ́ wọn lálẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn ni. Nígbà kí bàbá yìí má súnmọ́ mi lálẹ́ ọjọ́ yìí o, kí ló kí bàbá tó kó má gbé tiẹ̀ dé o. I hope you go and just eat and sleep o. DIY nìyẹn o, do it yourself nìyẹn o, ìyá mi. Yóò ti yé yín, ìyá máa ó pé bàbá ò ní súnmọ́, ìyá ò ní fẹ́ súnmọ́ bàbá lọ́jọ́ yẹn náà. Tí bàbá wa tó bá tẹ̀rọ do it yourself nìyẹn o, ìyá mi. Yóò ti yé yín, ìyá máa ó pé bàbá ò ní súnmọ́, ìyá ò ní fẹ́ súnmọ́ bàbá lọ́jọ́ yẹn náà. Tí bàbá wa tó bá tẹ̀rọ ara gbọ́wọ́ do it yourself nìyẹn o, ìyá mi. Yóò ti yé yín, ìyá ra wọn débẹ̀, ó ti practice false self-satisfaction. It's false self-satisfaction, and it's the illusion of satisfaction. And it's the illusion of satisfaction because you are only satisfying your flesh, but your spirit needs nourishment as well. So ti yé yín, ẹ mọ̀ kí lára nǹkan tá a kọ́ lánàá nìyẹn, pé the healthy intercourse feeds not only the flesh, it feeds the spirit as well. But tá bá ń bára wa lò, tá à ń ṣe sopi, àbá ń lo àwọn toys, ẹ rí pé kò ń ṣe exchange, it's just a one way transaction. Torí pé nǹkan tí ò sẹ́mi lára ẹ̀, bó jẹ́ irin ni, bó jẹ́ plastic ni, it can't give back. Torí pé nǹkan òkú la fi ń ṣe kinní yẹn náà. So it's a one way. A kàn pàdánù omi ara ni, ṣe exchange. So it's just the flesh that we feeding, feed spirit wa. So tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ rántí àwọn tó wà lórí ètò lánàá, àti yànnàná irú dangers tó wà nínú yẹn. Torí pé ààyè tí ó yẹ kí ọkùnrin wà, tó yẹ kí ọkọ wà, àbí tó yẹ kí ìyá wà, tó ti yé yẹn, àwọn ajogún máa ń gbabẹ̀ wọlé. Torí pé that void yẹn, àwọn ajogún máa ń capitalize lórí ẹ̀. So ti yé, a dẹ̀ ti yànnàná ẹ̀ lánàá. So ẹ jẹ́ àtẹ̀síwájú. So invite ajogun, which are disruptive forces, àwọn kan máa ń pè ní àlùjọ̀nú, causing argument in that relationship. Àwọn disruptive forces yẹn, àwọn ajogun yẹn, wọ́n á máa gbabẹ̀ wọnú ilé yẹn. Àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè bàbá mi Adé ọmọ Yorùbá, ṣé dáadáa ni o, mo ṣe bá ajú nílọ bàbá o. Mo ṣe bá ajú nílọ o, àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè ṣé dáadáa ni, ẹ kú àtàtàárọ̀. Ó gbọ́ àtọ̀ yín bàbá o.
Mo kí yín o, mi ìfẹ́, mò ń gbádùn nǹkan tẹ́ ń kọ́ wa yẹn, mò ń gbádùn ẹ̀, ó ń wọlé sí mi lẹ́ra pé ó dàbẹ̀ ní pé ṣe ni ẹ lọ ń béèrè ìbéèrè lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ọkùnrin àtobìnrin nínú ilé kọ̀ọ̀kan, tẹ́ wá ń bígbà tí pé èèyàn lọ ń ṣe interview pẹ̀lú wọn, tẹ́ ti wá jù gbogbo ẹ̀ sílẹ̀, tẹ́ ti wá ń give back the answer pé nǹkan tó lè máa jẹ́ kí lè máa dàrú eléyìí o, nǹkan tó lè máa jẹ́ kí ìfàsẹ́yìn kó máa wà léléyìí o, nǹkan tó lè máa mú ọkàn ọkùnrin kó má máa fà sí obìnrin nígbà gbogbo òun léléyìí, nǹkan tó lè máa mú ọkàn obìnrin kó má máa fà sí ọ̀dọ̀ ọkàn ọkọ ẹ̀ òun leléyìí. Misunderstanding lè wà díẹ̀ kékeré kóbìnrin wò pé I've already satisfied myself, I don't need this man this night. Ọkùnrin àwọn wò pé I've already satisfied myself in bedroom because this woman is giving me the dick, kó lọ sùn tẹ̀ kémi náà sùn ti tèmi. Exactly bó ṣe rí nǹkan ni òun lẹ ṣe ń sọ gbọ́ àtọ́ yín bàbá mi, àátúbọ̀ máa ṣe fún yín o. Wọn kì í máa gbogbo lẹ́nu, ọmọ aráyé ò ní pohùn mọ́ yín lẹ́nu, and this is my first time tí máa jálu ètò yín, àmúdẹ̀ really enjoy ẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n stay back kí n máa listen sí yín, ṣẹ gbọ́.
Ẹ ṣeun bá mi, ó gbọ́ àtọ́ yín bàbá o, mo ní wáyé tí o, máa rí yín bá. Bàbá mi Ọláifá àrólé èṣù Ìjẹ̀lú, mo sì mẹ́ni tó ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Bàbá mi mo ṣe bá jù nílọ, bàbá mi Olúmídé nìyẹn o. Ṣé dáadáa ní bàbá? Ó gbọ́ àtọ́ yín bàbá o, ó gbọ́ àtọ́ yín, ó tọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta díẹ̀ o. Bàbá máa ń busy gan sìn ni o. Iṣẹ́ irúmọlẹ̀ náà ni. Ìṣẹ́gun àṣeyọrí ni ó máa ṣe bàbá o. Iṣẹ́ tí àwọn irúmọlẹ̀ bá ti parí ni wọ́n máa fi kàn yín lágbára Èdùmàrè o. Ok. Bàbá mi àbí ìyá mi Èṣùfẹ́mi ọmọ Òdùwà, ó gbọ́ àtọ́ yín o. Ẹ ṣeun o. Thank you. Ẹ ṣeun, Èdùmàrè á gbàdúrà gbogbo wa. Èdùmàrè á gbà àwúre wa o. Èdùmàrè á gbà àwúre wa. Ilé wa á tòrò, a máa ní ìlọsíwájú o. ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ẹ̀yin ìyá wa tẹ̀tẹ̀ sí bímọ náà ẹ jèrè ọmọ lágbára Èdùmàrè ilé yín ò ní túká o ilé yín ò ní túká o ẹ jèrè ọmọ dọjọ́ alẹ́ ni o ẹ ṣeun ẹ ṣeun. So yeah, bí bàbá mi ṣe sọ, bàbá mi adé ọmọ Yorùbá, gbogbo àtọyìn bàbá mo ní wá yín tí o ẹ ṣeun gan. So yeah, ó máa invite irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ ó máa ń lead to emotional withdrawal náà ni bàbá wa tún yọ̀nà náà bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn torí kẹ́tẹ́ bá ti gbéra yín débẹ̀ ẹ nífẹ̀ẹ́ kí partner yín kí ìyàwó yín bí ọkọ yín kó tún wá súnmọ́ yín mọ́ lálẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn tó ti yé yín. So ìyẹn mi pé you just looked after your own personal interest nìyẹn kí ẹ bóyá ìyàwó yín bóyá ó wà satisfied tó ti yé yín torí ẹ̀yin ti sáré lọ gbéra yín débẹ̀ ṣé how can we say that that's not cheating? Bẹ́yìn ṣe ní ìdí satisfaction náà ni ìyàwó yín àbí ọkọ yín náà ṣe ní satisfaction tẹ́yìn bá ti lọ sọ satisfy ra yín lẹ́ńkùlé in secret ẹ mọ̀ ké then what about your partner then? So you're saying you're detaching yourself from that spiritual bond in the end. You're detaching yourself from that emotional bond in the end now. So tiye, so ẹ sọ pé tìyàwó yín àbí ti ọkọ yín ẹ sọ pé tí ẹ bàjẹ́ ọkàn yín nìyẹn. So tiye, ẹ mọ̀ kí ẹni tó bá ń fi ti ìyàwó àti ti ọkọ ẹ̀ tẹ́ bá ń fi ṣe ẹ máa rò pé okay tẹ́mi bá ti sáré lọ satisfy ara mi then ìyàwó mi then how is she going to be satisfied tonight? Ìyàwó mi tó ti ń dúró dè mí kémi dé láti ibi iṣẹ́ èmi wá dé láti ibi iṣẹ́ mi sáré bọ́ sí bedroom mo lọ ṣe sopi then what's the wife supposed to do now? Ẹni pé àwa gan-an kí ẹ̀ nípa ìyàwó wa la ṣe lọ ṣe yẹn and vice versa kí bàbá tó dé láti ibi iṣẹ́ tí ìyàwó bá sáré gbé àwọn ọ̀nà toys tó ti sáré dà mọ́ra girigirigiri àbí báwo làwọn kí ni ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń dún ẹ sáré gbé lura gbìyìgì kí bàbá tó dé so bàbá tó ti ń wò pé pé pẹ̀lú gbogbo stress ibi iṣẹ́ yìí at least it will be worth it tí bá lè délé kí n jẹun ìyàwó mi tí mo like ìyàwó mi aṣọ oúnjẹ fún mi kí n jẹun kí n dẹ̀ súnmọ́ ìyàwó mi lálẹ́ so ti yẹn so whatever stress tó mo rí inú ibi iṣẹ́ ara mi máa balẹ̀ torí ìyàwó mi máa fún mi ní reassurance ìyàwó mi máa fi ọwọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ ó máa fi fà mí mọ́ra so that any trouble tí máa ṣe any stress tí máa ṣe ní ibi iṣẹ́ lọ́jọ́ yẹn everything máa wá kúrò lára ó máa tú gbogbo stress yẹn kúrò lára mi. nígbà tí bàbá wa délé bàbá jẹun.
Ogbó àtọyìn bàbá mi ẹ má bínú ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré kọ́ mi ní láàrin yẹn.
ẹgbẹ́ òsèké bàbá.
ṣe rí ọkùnrin àti obìnrin a máa ń feed the spirit of love nínú relationship ni. I don't know, maybe you understand me from this angle and I want you to understand me. A máa ń feed the spirit of love in relationship ni. Òun ni àwọn bàbá wa ṣe sọ wípé kò sí ìjà kò sí èdè àìyedè kò sí gbọ́n mi tí omi ò tó tí ìwà àti ọkọ ẹ tẹ́ ẹ bá lè ṣe tàbí ìwà àtìyàwó tẹ́ ẹ bá lè ṣe láàárọ̀ tó bá di orí bẹ́ẹ̀dì yìí lẹ máa ti lọ parí ẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ó ṣẹ̀mí láàárọ̀ má bínú ìyàwó mi níbi tẹ́ ti jọ ń rojọ́ yẹn ara yín á gbé fúkẹ́ díẹ̀ tára yín bá ti lè gbé fúkẹ́ díẹ̀ tẹ́ ti faranura yín bára yín ní àjọṣepọ̀ so ibẹ̀ lẹ ti ń feel the spirit of love tó wà láàrin yín ìyẹn ló máa tẹ́kẹ́ mọ́ gbà tí ìgbà tọkàn bá ti ẹ̀jà tá bá ti dórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì tí bá ti lè fọ ìyọ̀ǹdó lára báyìí àtàrà ìbá tí ó máa sáré gbàgbé gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ tèmi náà tó bá ti fara nù ìyàwó mi tó bá ti feel pé my third leg is already stand so iṣẹ́ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn ibẹ̀ la máa parí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn sí bọ́ tó bá ti jẹ́ wípé ẹ ti jọ allow ní alẹ́ ọjọ́ kan pé because of argument torí pé o bú mi nígbà fún kó bá ti tiẹ̀ lọ ọkọ yẹn wá jí lóru ó lọ satisfy ara ẹ̀ tàbí ilẹ̀ wá mọ́ ó ń wẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ó rántí pé ara wọn ò tí ì settle down ó wá settle ara ẹ̀ nínú bedroom ẹ ti ń fill the gap sí ara yín nìyẹn ǹjẹ́ tó lè bá yé yín o bàbá mi ogbó àtọ́ yín o.
100% bàbá ẹ ṣeun tẹ́ bá mi yọ̀nà náà ẹ̀ 100% I think create emotional withdrawal nìyẹn I think separate nìyẹn emotionally àti spiritually I think yà fúnra wa nìyẹn bó ti yẹ ká wà báyìí kí ọkọ àti ìyàwó kan come together báyìí I think create divide báyìí tí divide bá dẹ̀ ti wà àwọn ajogun á máa wọ́ bẹ̀ nǹkan tó máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní pé ẹ máa rí àwọn relationship kan tó yẹ pé àwọn tó yẹ pé ó lè love ara wọn kan tó marry tán ọwọ́ irú èdè àìyedè tó bá máa fi túká báyìí èdè àìyedè tó máa ti wà ní wọn báyìí ó máa wà intense kan tó yẹ kó máa ti di ọ̀tá ara wọn tó ti yẹ àwọn ajogun ti wọbẹ̀ nìyẹn ó torí pé irú àwọn behaviour yẹn ó máa ń invite ajogun disruptive forces causing argument infidelity or household imbalance tó ti yẹ yín ẹja tẹ̀síwájú ó ti yẹ yín lára àwọn effects yẹn là ń sọ yìí o so it also alters sexual response patterns causing dissatisfaction or erectile dysfunction lára àwọn obìnrin okay nígbà tí ẹ pé ìyá àwọn ká sọ pé èèyàn kan níyàwó sí kán tó dé láti ibi iṣẹ́ ìyá ti gbé bátìrì tó dàbí àwọn kò tẹ́ ẹ ṣe pé kíní yẹn ní bátìrì lásán kíní yẹn á tún tóbi bí ẹsẹ̀ ẹṣin tó ti yẹ yín tí ìyá ti gbé yẹn lura tó máa ń ṣe fún bíi 1 hour kí bàbá tó dé láti ibi iṣẹ́ irú ìyàwó bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn èèyàn tó jẹ́ pé ó ní flesh àti emotion kò ní lè satisfy ẹ̀ mọ́ torí pé ìyá tí ó ti ń create spiritual bond pẹ̀lú robot àti pé gbogbo àwọn nerves ìyá ibi tí àwọn nerves tó yẹ kó wà sensitive ó máa lose sensitivity now tó ti yẹ ìyàwó yín tó pé kẹtó gbé wọn sílé tẹ bá ti ra fọwọ́ pa ìyá lẹ́yìn kẹsẹ̀ tó bàbá rẹ ra kíìsì ìyá kẹsẹ̀ tó fọwọ́ sí wọn lára báyìí ìyá ti ń débẹ̀ already tó ti yẹ yín lẹ́kì bàbá wa kàn máa finish iṣẹ́ nítorí pé ìyàwó sì ní sensitivity but tí ìyá bá ti wá lọ ń lo battery tó ti lọ ń lo different kind of toys ó máa ń pa sensitivity ara obìnrin and likewise fún àwọn bàbá wa náà ó máa ń lead to erectile dysfunction torí pé you are practicing it's like an unnatural form of arousal àwọn obìnrin nìkan ló yẹ kó máa gbé wa lára dìde as ọkùnrin but tí àwa ọkùnrin tábà tí wàá lọ ń ṣe àwọn sopi tó yẹ pé àwa gan wa ti ń change the process of our arousal tó jẹ́ pé tóbìnrin bá wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ wa nìkan ló yẹ kára wa máa le ṣó ti yẹ yín àbí tá a bá rí olólùfẹ́ wa àbí ìyàwó wa nìkan ló yẹ kára wa máa le táwa gan tá a bá sì mọ bá ṣe ń trigger bára wa ṣe ń le fúnra wa ẹ mọ̀ pé tó bá yá kinní yẹn máa ń di addiction tó jẹ́ pé obìnrin ò ní lè gbé wa lára dìde mọ́ tó yẹ pé tóbìnrin bá wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ wa báyìí lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ àwọn bàbá tó ṣe pé ó ti wà addicted to kinní yẹn ó máa ní láti kọ́kọ́ ṣe sopi gan ẹ lè imagine kárí ṣé ayé èèyàn ò bàjẹ́ nìyẹn kí obìnrin wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ yín bọ̀ ara yín ò lè le àfi tẹ́ bá kọ́kọ́ ṣe sopi náà tó ti yẹ yín àwa ta ti wo àwọn kinní ibi pọ́ọ̀nù yẹn rí láti máa rí yẹn rí náà torí mi ti wo pọ́ọ̀nù yẹn ló dẹ̀ yà mí lẹ́nu pé kí ni ọkùnrin yìí tún ṣe ìṣèbóbìnrin ló wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ wáàtí ara bàbá ò ṣe le wáàtí ẹ̀ pò ń fúnra rẹ̀ ló tún wá lọ ń ṣe so píkàrà ẹ̀ tó lè dìde ẹni kí bàbá yẹn ti wà insensitive nìyẹn torí pé bàbá ti ní erectile dysfunction nìyẹn torí kóbìnrin kọ̀ wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ èèyàn lásán obìnrin tó rẹwà ká má ti sọ pé kóbìnrin wá bọ́ṣọ o tó ti yẹ as men in our natural state in our as if we are fully functioning as men obìnrin ṣẹ́jú sí wa lásán báyìí ó yẹ kó máa gbé ara wa ó yẹ kára ti máa dìde láti bẹ̀yẹn lọ kò sí ẹ̀ ní kóbìnrin fọwọ́ kàn wá tí a bá wà healthy as men tó ti yẹ yín tá a bá ní ìlera bó ṣe yẹ ká ní ìlera o àwọn ìyàwó wa kò tiẹ̀ ní kan fọwọ́ kàn àná lọ títí tó ti yẹ yín ìyàwó ìrọ̀ra bọ́ aṣọ kékeré báyìí àbí kọ́ tẹ̀ra ṣẹ́jú báyìí ó yẹ kára yín sì máa lé lọ ni tó ti yẹ yín bọ́lọ́hún ṣe dá wa nìyẹn tó ti yẹ yín but tí bàbá ti ń ṣe sopi every time tí bàbá bá ti ń ṣe sopi every time even gan tíyàwó bá súnmọ́ yín gan kára yín tó lè lé ó máa pẹ́ náà kí nìyẹn máa ń lead sí erectile dysfunction lára ọkùnrin ó dẹ̀ máa ń pa sensitivity ara obìnrin tó ti yẹ yín tó jẹ́ pé ìyá ò wá nílè débẹ̀ mọ́ tí ò bá ti gbé bátìrì lura fún 1 hour kí bátìrì yẹn kó wá dàbí ẹsẹ̀ ẹṣin tó ti yẹ yín what are we doing so it's like we're chasing the illusion instead of the reality nìyẹn torí pé that's not a reality that's not a real intercourse a real intercourse is always between a man and a woman.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni but gbogbo àtọyìn bàbá mi but tí a bá tún wò ní ayé bá ṣe wà yìí yàtọ̀ sí àwọn obìnrin tí wọ́n máa ń lo dídò àbí kí wọ́n ń pè kí ní orúkọ machine yẹn tí wọ́n máa ń lo kí ní dídò yẹn àti ọkùnrin tó jẹ́ pé tí wọ́n bá tí ì lo manpower tó jẹ́ pé if they want to have sex is within 5 minutes and 10 minutes or 15 minutes kí
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
ọkọ kí obìnrin àti ọkùnrin kí wọ́n jọ tó bá pẹ́ pátápátá rí irú ẹ̀ rí òun ní 20 minutes síta bí wọ́n ṣeré wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n tún dúró wọ́n ní break díẹ̀ under 30 minutes kí àwọn méjèèjì kí bọ́dì wọn kún dẹ̀ jọ calm down but tó bá ti di wípé obìnrin tí bọ́dì ẹ̀ ti system ẹ̀ tó ti change sí oní 1 hour oní 1 hour 30 minutes oní 2 hours kó tó di wípé ọkùnrin kan ṣe máa meet up time yẹn and again ọkùnrin mìíràn tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo òun náà ti lo oògùn ó ti lo manpower ó ti ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ kó tó di wípé ó lọ meet obìnrin kan ó wá meet obìnrin yẹn under 2 or 3 hours ó ṣe wà pẹ̀lú obìnrin yẹn wọ́n ṣe bóyá wọ́n ṣe 1 round 1 hour wọ́n ṣe second round 1 hour 30 minutes àwọn méjèèjì wá fira wọn sílẹ̀ obìnrin yẹn pàdé ọkùnrin míì ẹ wá sọ fún mi ṣé ọkùnrin míì tó pàdé yẹn ṣé ó lè ṣe àbó lè perform as the same thing tírú ọkùnrin tó ti meet tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ yẹn tó ṣe ó lè ṣerú ẹ̀ ni. Bàbá mi mo ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ ni o ṣé ọkùnrin yẹn lè ṣe orí 1 hour ṣé ó lè ṣe orí 2 hours ni kò lè ṣe.
It's not natural ṣó ti yé yín obìnrin gan tó bá ń ṣe 2 hours ara ti kú tán ara ti fẹ́ kú tán nìyẹn.
Ara ti kú tán
tó ti yé yín.
Ara ti kú tán bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Ìyá wa sọ pé it depends ìyá wa dọ́ọ̀lì ẹ máa bọ̀ lókè kẹ́ wá bá wa yọ̀nà náà ń gbà yẹn o. Ṣó ti yé yín ẹ máa bọ̀ lókè kẹ́ wá bá wa yọ̀nà náà.
Àwọn ní it depends ẹ jẹ́ máa bọ̀ lókè kẹ́ wá tún ṣàlàyé ẹ̀ fún wa o torí a máa ń lẹ́yìn lójoojúmọ́ ni ẹ bá ń gbé wọn sókè o.
Yẹ mo ti send invite sí wọn.
Nítorí kinní yẹn ó máa ń jẹ́ nǹkan tó máa ń fún mi ní worry ńgbà míì ńgbà tẹ́ bá pàdé obìnrin tó jẹ́ pé ìwọ ọkùnrin ó ti ṣe 30 ó ti ṣe 40 minutes ìwọ ó ti wà okay obìnrin yẹn á máa sọ fún ẹ pé she is not satisfied how.
Obìnrin tó wà healthy kò yẹ kó ju 10 minutes lọ.
Okay obìnrin tẹ lọ 40 minutes lórí ẹ̀.
Tàbá ń sòótọ́ fúnra wa o. Ṣó ti yé yín obìnrin tó wà healthy kò yẹ kó ju 10 minutes lọ based on my own experience o but àwọn ìyá wa máa wá correct wa tó bá dé pé we're wrong o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni
ẹ jẹ́ kí sáré kí.
tó bá ti ń di wípé obìnrin yẹn sọ pé after 40-50 minutes òun ò tiẹ̀ tí ì come òun ẹ̀ tí ì gbéhùn débẹ̀ ẹjọ́ ń bọ́lá jọ ń gbéra wa lọ òun.
Iléeṣẹ́ ìyá ti ó nídìí.
Gbogbo àwọn kọ́kọ́ ti disconnect ń bẹ̀.
Irọ́ ó ti wà desensitized nìyẹn o. Ó ti wà desensitized sáré kí ìyá mi àbọ̀rọ̀ ọgbọ́n àtọ́ ìyá mi tí kì í mọ̀ kọ́va ṣé dáadáa ní ìyá wa o ẹ kó tàtàárọ̀ àníwá yín tí o a máa rí yín bálágbára Èdùmàrè. Ìyá wa Dolly you said it depends you said wrong okay could you please come up I sent you a request please come up and offer your own opinion on the topic. It's an open discussion o. I did my own research fair enough but it's also an open discussion. Bàbá wa King B àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yé o.
Àbọ̀yé bọ́ ṣiṣẹ́ ògbó àtọ́ o.
Ògbó àtọ́ yín bàbá ṣé dáadáa ni o.
Àdúpẹ́ o.
Minimum. Okay, I've got a question. It might be new. Okay, ẹ jẹ́ kí bàbá wa sọ̀rọ̀ and I've got a question for Ìyá Dolly tó máa debunk 45 minutes here. But please carry on bàbá wa King B ẹ má bínú.
Okay. New customer lèmi monstro ni mo kàn já sí mo tún já sí yìí o. Mo á fara balẹ̀ mo á rí i pé na good topic because as a married man kò sí inú ilé tí irú nǹkan báyìí yóò sí as a married man so tó tèmi kàn rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé ẹ ti sọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ but àdúrà ti tèmi ni pé àwọn òbí wa máa ń ṣàdúrà fún wa wípé àní gbé eégún eléégún ìyàwó wa là á fẹ́ àní fẹ́yàwó níyàwó bójọ́kùnrin náà ló máa ṣàdúrà fún wọn ní ọkọ ẹ̀wọ̀n afẹ́ onífọkọlọ́kọ ṣe mọ̀ báwọn ìyá wa ṣe máa ń ṣàdúrà fún wa.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
tèmi kàn fẹ́ sọ láàrin ẹ̀ ni pé ṣe mọ̀ ilé ayé yìí àkànlé náà ni kọ́lọ́n kò jẹ́ àbá ìka ò dẹ̀ dọ́gba so gbogbo bí ẹ ṣe ń sọ àwọn pọ́ìntì yẹn ni mò ń fèsì àti kí lorúkọ dáàdi wa kan tó sọ̀rọ̀ pé ṣé adé àbí nǹkan mi ṣáà
bàbá adé ọmọ Yorùbá adé ọmọ Yorùbá.
mò ń fọ́lò àwọn pọ́ìntì yìí yẹn so nǹkan tí mo wá rí ń bẹ̀ ni pé ó máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ náà nínú ilé tó máa jẹ́ wípé ṣẹmọ̀ tó bá ti ń di wípé ọkùnrin àtobìnrin bá wà tán bá bóyá wọn ṣe dáadáa síra wọn nínú ilé gbogbo orú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ náà máa ń fa ìdíwọ́ ogun tẹ́ ń ṣàlàyé ẹ̀ yìí because èmi ti experience àwọn nǹkan kan rí bí kí èèyàn wà pẹ̀lú ìyàwó èèyàn kó máa sọ pé ṣẹmọ̀ ara ń dùn mí lónìí ara ń dùn mí lọ́la ara ń dùn mí lọ́túnla orí fọ́ mi ní ijọ́ mẹ́rin ṣẹmọ̀ gbogbo orú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn.
mọ́mí ti gbéra wọn débẹ̀ nìyẹn o.
ìgbà tí ẹ ń sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn ni mo ń wò pé adé pé ìyá ẹ̀ ti gbé rẹ̀ débẹ̀ nìyẹn.
ẹ má sọ kémi mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o èmi kọ́ mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o.
ajá pé ìyá ẹ̀ ti gbé rẹ̀ débẹ̀ nìyẹn a máa wò pé wà ọ̀gbẹ́ni aró ń ṣòkúta kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ báwo la ṣe máa wà tẹ́ pé tipa ẹ̀kan ẹ̀mejì lóṣù tipa ṣẹmọ̀ gbogbo orú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ó máa ń fa ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọkùnrin tó máa ń masturbate àwọn ìṣòro kọ̀ọ̀kan máa ń wà fún wọn nílé pẹ̀lú ìyàwó wọn ló máa ń fa àwọn nǹkan yẹn so bóyá gbọ́n mi sí omi òtó kankan ṣẹlẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ kan settle láàrin ara wọn normally gẹ́gẹ́ bí dáàdi wa adé nǹkan kan ìpọ́tà yìí sọ
adé ọmọ Yorùbá
ẹ̀bọ́n yìí sọ yẹn ni pé bó ṣe rí gẹ́lẹ́ ńgbà táwa náà ń dàgbà nìyẹn tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ parí ìjà bóyá fún àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n wa kan àbí anything àwọn arí tí àwọn bàbá yẹn àbí àyẹn tó bá ti pa àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n wa sẹ́yìn pé gbogbo ẹ̀ jẹ́ kí gbogbo ẹ̀ parí lórí tó bá ti dórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì gbogbo ó parí nǹkan kan ṣẹ́mọ̀ tó máa ṣe àwàdà bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn everything tó máa lọ but ṣẹ́ra àwọn ọmọ tó ń bí nísìnyí inú ẹ̀jẹ̀ náà ti ń lajú inú ẹ̀jẹ̀ bóyá ó request nǹkan kan lọ́wọ́ yín ẹ̀ fún lásán báyìí ibi tó náà ti máa dódò yìí.
rí pé
ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ obìnrin dẹ̀ máa ṣe kí.
ẹni tó bá ń ṣerú nǹkan báyìí okay okay we have to take it back to the essence, right, to the purpose torí pé tá bá rántí pé kí ni purpose pé ọkọ àti ìyàwó jọ wà nínú ìgbéyàwó ìpè èèyàn béèrè kan lọ́wọ́ yín pé kò fún ó wá ń lo emotional manipulation by withholding sex ẹni náà kò fẹ́ wà ní relationship yẹn mọ́ nìyẹn kò fẹ́ wà ní marriage yẹn mọ́ nìyẹn náà.
mọ́
torí pé kí làwọn bàbá wa kí làwọn ìyá wa máa ń sọ fún wa ẹ̀mọ́ kí bàbá wa dé ọmọ Yorùbá náà ti yànnà náà lẹ́nìí wọ́n ní káwọn àgbà wa máa ń sọ pé kò sí nǹkan tó lè ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin ọkọ àti ìyàwó ní àárọ̀ àti lọ́sàn-án tó bá di alẹ́
lórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì wọn á parí ẹ̀ náà.
torí pé opportunity for like a consolation and reparation orí bed ló wà so ti yẹn but tẹ́ bá wá tún wá sọ yẹn náà the battleground then that means there is no opportunity for any reconciliation.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
wọ́n marriage ẹ̀ ti bàjẹ́ already.
ó ti bàjẹ́ kò nídìí kéèyàn ti sọ pé bóyá èèyàn ń fúnra èèyàn mọ́.
ẹnì kò nípa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí waste time so táwọn bójá àmọ́ káwọn bàbá ọkùnrin náà kàn máa ń ṣe kò ń ṣòbìnrin nìkan ló máa ń leverage sex o àwọn èèyàn máa ń fẹ́ weaponize sex tó bá ti wọnú marriage tán a máa sọ pé kò ṣáàsì èmi nìkan ṣàlọ́kọ ẹ̀ kò síbòmíì tóbìnrin yẹn lọ tí ì bá súnmọ́ orí àpè
fìsọ́tún fìsọ́sì ni.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni ogún àtọyìn bàbá mi
orí àpè àti ìdálé ẹrú already nìyẹn.
obìnrin mi wà
àtọyìn bàbá mi
ọkùnrin mi náà dẹ́ wà ní bàbá mi.
ogún àtọ bàbá.
ìṣẹ́rí ọ̀rọ̀ tí arọra ń sọ yìí ó máa ń gbé ilé dúró ó dẹ̀ máa ń scatter ilé tó jẹ́ pé kò ní ní àtúnṣe kò ní sí àtúnṣe kankan nínú ẹ̀. Bàbá yìí ṣàdúrà kan lẹ́ǹkan pé kọ́lọ́hún jẹ́ kí á bọ́ sọ́wọ́ ìyàwó wa kọ́lọ́hún jẹ́ ká bọ́ sí ọwọ́ ọkọ wa. ṣe rí marriage ọkùnrin tí ó bá nífẹ̀ẹ́ ìyàwó ẹ̀ kó tó lè lọ bóbìnrin míì sùn ta kó tó di pé ọkùnrin máa wá wọ balùwẹ̀ á lọ máa wò pé kóun ṣàkàntì ẹ̀ rìlíìsì ara òun kára òun kàn tiẹ̀ free ẹ ò mọye ìjà ẹ ò mọye argument ẹ ò mọye ẹ̀bẹ̀ ẹ ò mọye ìsọlẹ́nu tí ọkùnrin máa ti rí nínú ilé ni.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni kó tó di pé ó end up sí level yẹn.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni mo pàdé ọkùnrin kan nígbà tá a jọ sọ̀rọ̀ dé level kan ó wá ṣàwọn àlàyé kan fún mi ó ní tóun bá fẹ́ báyàwó òun sùn ní ọ̀túnla tàbí ní weekend pé weekend yìí o a máa bára wa sùn látọjọ́ Wednesday ó máa ti máa ra ṣàwámà ó máa ti máa ra súyà ó máa ti máa ra blizzard ó máa ti máa ra gbogbo ẹ̀ á ti rí fibre life á ti rà wálé á ti ra bàtà bedroom slippers tuntun míì this one is already old á ti change ẹ̀.
kó lè rojú rere ìyàwó ẹ̀ nulẹ̀.
mo wá ní kí ló dé tó ṣe ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ó ní number one ó ní tòun yé òun nítorí pé òun spiritual life òun kò fààyè gba òun pé kóun máa fi àyà kan àyà obìnrin míì. bẹ́ẹ̀ni so ó ti wá wò pé kómìdè kómi gbogbo nǹkan tí ó bá lè gbà òun lòun máa fi máa báyàwó òun sùn ìyàwó ẹ̀ wá take advantage kìíní yẹn pé ọkọ òun kò ní bóbìnrin míì sùn níta so tọ́rọ̀ kékeré bá ti wá ṣẹlẹ̀ ìyàwó wọn á máa sọ fóun pé ẹ wò ó kẹtó gorí mi bẹ ṣe wà yìí oṣù mẹ́ta ẹ̀ tí ì débẹ̀ rárá.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí mi dáadáa ni.
ìgbà tó máa ń kọ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ ó ní bí eré àwọn ọmọ ní ọ̀sẹ̀ kínní ọ̀sẹ̀ kejì ọ̀sẹ̀ kẹta ọ̀sẹ̀ kẹrin àwọn jà àwọn faraya gbogbo ẹbí bá wọn dá sí ó nígbà táwọn tún wọlé oní tó tún gbà ó ní kí ló gbà fún ẹgbẹ́ wo eléyìí tẹ́ ṣe yìí nítorí pé àwọn fámìlì sọ̀rọ̀ ló ń kàn ṣe fún yín ṣe o ó ní kò sí kankan tó jọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ ẹ má retí rárá o rárá wọn ò kì í ṣòkúta o lórí ọ̀hún argument kéékèèké tí ó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin ọkọ àti ìyàwó ọkùnrin yẹn lè wọ́n wá sọ fún mi ní ìwọ o lè avoid o lè maintain o lè overlook àwọn nǹkan ní mélòó ni ọkùnrin tí o lè avoid tí o lè overlook fún stretch lásán pé ẹsẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ tó bá ti gbé wèrè ẹ̀ dé báyìí ó máa sáré na third leg ẹ̀ síta ni ó ti wò pé òun ò lè para òun okay with our doctors and our report táwa náà ń gbọ́ lẹ́nu wọ́n jẹ́ kó máa yé wa pé at least ní in a month is 21 times fọkùnrin láti release sperm jáde kúrò ní lára so tí èèyàn bá wá wò pé because of ìyàwó mi kò fún mi ṣe lénìí at least mo láti jẹ́ kí bọ́dì mi kó máa warm time to time ṣé èèyàn ò ní dẹni tó ń bọ́ sí bedroom bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ká máa ṣe tó máa wọ inú hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì káàkiri tó wọ́n kí n wò ilé tí mo ṣe kó ti wọ́n.
mo ní question kan fún yín.
ok
mo ní ìbéèrè kan fún yín. Scenario to describe yẹn ó common gan but ẹja wo the root cause of the problem. Okay. Kí ló fún ìyá yẹn kí ló fún wọn ní confidence ní pé ara tàwọn gan kò ní fẹ́ intimacy. Bàbá mi mọ́gàjì pé kí ni màá kọ́kọ́ mí sí iná kí ló fún ìyá yẹn ní confidence pé ok bóun ṣe ń sọ fún ọkọ ẹ pé ìwọ ò ní súnmọ́ mi o 2 months gan ò tí ì ní súnmọ́ mi kí ló fún obìnrin yẹn ní confidence pé òun gan máa lè resist intimacy fún 2 months.
bàbá mi
ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀.
ní kó sọ́wọ́ o.
kí ló fún obìnrin ok báwo ni obìnrin yẹn náà ṣe lè resist intimacy fún 2 months.
ok bàbá mi king b1 ẹ kọ́kọ́ dáhùn lóhùn máa.
bàbá mi dáhùn ìbéèrè yẹn.
ṣe rí kí ni ẹ sapa mi lórí ìsìn ìbéèrè yẹn ni pé tí n bá rántí ìsìn ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn dẹ̀ sapa mi lórí ṣá.
obìnrin ní courage pé òun náà lè hold on.
mo ti rántí pé ṣó lè ṣera àbí tẹ́ ẹ sọ pé tẹ́ mí nǹkan yẹn tó bá lè ṣera ṣera àwọn obìnrin tẹ́ ń wò yẹn ìyá wa ni wọ́n lóòótọ́ ọkọ wọn la jẹ́ bàbá wọn la jẹ́ àwọn náà dẹ̀ tún lè yà wá bọ́n jẹ́ ìyàwó wa ṣe rí wọn bá ṣe wà yẹn àwọn kan wà láyé yìí tó jẹ́ wípé àwọn ọkùnrin àlẹ́mìí àti di nǹkan mú dáadáa bí àwọn obìnrin wọ́n ní ẹ̀mí àti ó dáa mo ti rí obìnrin tó yẹ pé ó ní odidi ọdún kan òun ò ní fọ́ọ̀mù ara odidi ọdún kan fún odidi ọdún kan.
ok ẹja
títọ́dọ̀ mi yìí èyí tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí mi tó bá ní gbogbo gbà yẹn báyìí tó bá di lálẹ́ tá a bá fẹ́ sùn báyìí a máa ń sùn lọ́tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni a lọ sunú yàrá mi èmi náà lọ sunú yàrá mi bá a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́ àtòrí bẹ́ẹ̀dì mi má súnmọ́ mi o má ṣe kinní kan o mo bọ́ sílẹ̀ lẹ̀ gbà tó dẹ̀ di pé madam mi kọjá máa ṣe gbá mo yà lọ sunú pálọ̀ tèmi gbà tèmi náà ń fi tí mo fakọ gbé èmi ò fakọ gbé gbogbo akọ mi ò ju kojú oṣù kan lọ gbogbo akọ mi ò ju oṣù kan lọ mo tún pè pé ọ̀gbẹ́ni wá bíbá kí ló ṣe ṣáà ní parí ìjà wa ni ṣáà ní ṣe gbá ṣáà ní ṣàwọn ni ó ní níjà tá a ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ níjà tá a ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ eré ni mo pé àwàdà ni ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo máa ń sọ yìí máa délé mo pe nàìjíríà nítorí ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ wípé wọ́n bá wa ṣẹ́tù ẹ̀ wọ́n ṣẹ́tù ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo ń sọ yìí àwọn obìnrin tẹ̀ ń wò yẹn mo dídì bí ìyá mi mo bí ìyàwó mi ni pé nígbà tá a parí ìjà tán ṣé ara ti wo múùfù ni ó ní tó bá múùfù náà pamọ́ ara náà ni ó ní kíló kan ó ní òun lè lọ́dún kan òun lè lo oṣù mẹ́fà ó ní kò ṣe máa ṣẹlẹ̀ sóhun kó tó di pé mi àtòun pàdé tóun ò ní mìtì rárá so ṣe rí ìyẹn ẹ máa àwọn obìnrin bá ṣe wà yẹn ẹ ṣe àjàgbà kan jù wá lọ.
gbogbo àtọ́yìn bàbá mi ẹ bá múùtù lọ́dọ̀ yín bẹ̀ yẹn jẹ́ kí n sáré sọ àwọn kankan nípa experience tọ̀dọ̀ mi náà because èmi máa ń like láti learn everyday mo dẹ̀ máa ń like láti béèrè ìbéèrè tó fi jẹ́ pé àwọn kankan wà tó jẹ́ pé mo máa ń rí bí ẹni pé kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ mo máa ń àwọn nǹkan tóbìnrin máa ń ṣe ń gbà máa rí pé kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ nítorí I have a lady a years ago tó jẹ́ pé tàjọ jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ ara wa and she's a nurse even gan she's a senior nurse ó fún mi láwọn òwe kan mo kàwé wúyẹn mo dẹ̀ wá rí pé lóòótọ́ àti òdodo kò sẹ́nì kankan tó lè mára dúró pé bóyá òun mára dúró pẹ̀lú òun ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ó wá jẹ́ kí n ó sọ nípa private part obìnrin kan fún mi ó ní kí n wo bẹ̀ yẹn ó ní kò sí ó ní gbogbo obìnrin ní ọwọ́ wọn ò ní kúrò níbẹ̀ tó jẹ́ wípé within 10 or 5 minutes ó ní kó ló ń jẹ́ 5 minutes ó ní 2 minutes gan ó ní obìnrin yẹn lè come bíi ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì tó bá fọwọ́ síbẹ̀ yẹn ló fi jẹ́ wípé wọ́n máa ń believe pé táwọn bá ti ṣe nǹkan yẹn wọ́n dì wọ́n máa calm down ó ní obìnrin tí ò bá dẹ̀ ń ṣe obìnrin tí ò bá ń ṣe ó ní òun ò sọ young lady ó ní ìwọ tó bá ti wọ 35 lọ 40 plus ó ní wàá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní develop àwọn sickness kan lára nítorí àwọn omi tó yẹ kó jáde lára ẹ tí ò jáde ó ní kò sí ó ní wàá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní develop àwọn sickness yẹn inú á bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní run ẹ́ wàá máa para chemist wàá máa rògùn wàá máa ra gbogbo ẹ̀ wàá máa lògùn wọ́n dẹ̀ ti mọ̀ wípé nítorí pé ò ní sex àwọn omi kan yẹ kó dànù ní ara ẹ tí àwọn bọ́dì ẹ tó yẹ kó lè máa function dáadáa ó ní bóyá à ń sọ pé à ń dúró mo mú mọ́ra mo ṣe ó ní gbogbo wọn ń dọ́gbọ́n sí ni wọn ò ní sọ fún yín pé nǹkan táwọn ń ṣe nìyẹn lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó ẹni yẹn sọ fún mi èmi náà practice ẹ̀ lára obìnrin tẹ́ bá fọwọ́ síbẹ̀ yẹn lára obìnrin my brother tí obìnrin yẹn tí ò bá fẹ́ dákú mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́ díẹ̀ ló máa kù obìnrin mọ̀ bẹ̀ fúnra wọn mọ ibẹ̀ so tàbá wá ń sọ pé bóyá obìnrin kan sometimes wickedness wà ń bẹ̀ because you don't want to forgive your husband and you don't want to let go
wickedness
and bẹ́ẹ̀ ni èmi dẹ̀ believe pé àwa tá jẹ́ ọkùnrin mind wa ni pé you offended me immediately I attack you then I tell you straight to your face this is what you do then immediately àwa ti gbàgbé nìyẹn ṣùgbọ́n àwọn ò gbàgbé àwọn ò gbàgbé
ọ̀rọ̀ ọdún mẹ́wàá
àwọn ò gbàgbé
ọdún mẹ́wàá wọ́n sì lè rán ẹ̀ létí.
ó ní àbúrò mi kan sọ̀rọ̀ kan fún mi ó ní bíi ọjọ́ 5 oníyàwó òun dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé òun ò lè hold ara òun for 5 days òun ń bóbìnrin kan sùn ta ó wá deny òun fún 5 days yẹn ó ní ìrọ̀lẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn wípé òun tètè close ó ní bóun ṣe ń lọ lé yẹn òun àwọn ọmọ òun ó ní wọ́n máa ń lọ sí ibì kan ní weekend ó ní ọjọ́ yẹn bọ́ sí weekend pé wọ́n ti lọ láàárọ̀ kóun tó kúrò lé ó ní nǹkan bí around 3 to 4 òun kàn gbéra pé lẹ́ni yìí ọmọbìnrin yìí ọ̀hún máa dàgbé nínú kóun lù kóun ṣe léṣe kóun ṣáàdé kóun bá sùn lọ́dún pátápátá lẹ́ni ó ní nígbà tóun ó ní ìjà lòun gbé lọ sílé nígbà tóun máa délé ní nǹkan bíi to 5 tóun máa délé òun báyàwó tó wọ sexy àwọn kíní night gown wọn kíní gown
àwọn macaroni nǹkan tẹ̀.
ó ní tó wọ̀ ó ní ojú tóun gbé wọlé lórí òun bóun ṣe wọlé ó ní àṣẹ ó ti dáná òun náà ti expect òun pé ọkọ òun lè wá àtẹni tó ti dáná sílẹ̀ fóun nígbà tó nǹkan délé fún aláyé kí wàá fà kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ olóde fòun ohun rẹ̀lẹ̀ ló fi dáhùn ló gbé ẹ lọ wẹ̀ kẹ́ wá jẹun ẹ lọ wẹ̀ onígbà tóun dẹ́tẹ̀ ti gbọ́ pé ẹ lọ wẹ̀ kẹ́ wá jẹun gbogbo iṣan agbára tóun gbé bọ̀ tó lòun dá gbogbo ẹ̀ sílẹ̀ òun dẹ̀ wọ balùwẹ̀ lóòótọ́ òun lọ ṣọ́ra òun wẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ sáàpù òun lóúnjẹ ó ní níbi tóun ti ń jẹun yẹn òun ò tí ì jẹun tán ló ti ń lọ́mọ òun ló ti ń fà òun olóhùn ò jẹun tán o òun jẹ́ pé ara òun ti wà ní máìlì 15 òun ò jẹun tán o ẹsẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ òun dẹ̀ wọ́n ní gbogbo ìbínú tóun ń bínú gbogbo anger gbogbo everything ó dẹ̀ parí síbẹ̀ òun ni àwọn bàbá wa ṣe máa ń sọ fún wa pé a máa ń feed the spirit of love by having sex with both each other pé ìgbà yẹn inú wa máa dùn ọkàn kò sí nǹkan tó lè máa ṣẹlẹ̀ within us nígbà yẹn a máa fojú fo gbogbo nǹkan yẹn ọkàn wa máa balẹ̀ a máa ṣe bọ́ tó bá ti di wípé a ti ń fi gap sí àárín ira wa ó ti ń di wípé mi ò ṣe ẹyà wa ṣe ó ti ń dogun àti lọ́n report àti lọ́n ṣe àti bẹ́ẹ̀ ni a máa mú spirit of love yẹn a máa mú máa bínú a máa ríra bí ẹni pé ọ̀tá a máa ríra bí ẹni pé a ti di enemy sí ara wa ṣùgbọ́n the more tó bá jẹ́ wípé a ṣì wà nínú marriage tá a ṣì ń ẹ máa wọ ẹlòmíì tó máa àwọn ọlọ́kọ àwọn oníyàwó 3 4 why tí wọ́n ṣe máa ń jà nítorí oorun pé bàbá lágbájá ọ̀dọ̀ mi ni ló yẹ kẹ́ wá sùn sí o ẹ̀ ń ṣì tì mí o ẹ̀ ń ṣe kíní kan
wọn lè mára dúró náà ni.
ok yín bàbá wa ẹ ṣeun.
ok kẹ́nìkan wá sọ fún yín wípé òun lè mára dúró fódìdí oṣù kan ọmọbìnrin yẹn ní pé irọ́ tó ti inú lọ jáde ní kálukú
bẹ́ẹ̀ni èmi náà ń rò bẹ́ẹ̀ máa ń rò bẹ́ẹ̀ fún dọ́kítì.
ok ẹ jẹ́ ká sáré fún àwọn ìyá wa dọ́lì wọlé lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo dẹ̀ tún send invite wọn again wọn tí ìwọlé padà mo bá sọ kékeré ká fún àwọn ìyá wa náà ní àyè láti contribute.
ó ṣe dandan àmọ́ pọ́n ti wọlé ni ó ṣe dandan.
àbọ̀yè ìyá wa dọ́lì ẹjọ́ tẹ́ bá lè send request again mo ti send request yín ẹjọ́ ẹ wọlé kẹwàá fún wa ní at least feminine opinion.
ìyá ẹnìkan ń béèrè níbí báyìí Adéṣọlá Adéníran ń béèrè pé kí àwọn obìnrin tí wọ́n máa ti ń wọ menopause nǹkan àìrókódó lè ní kà sí o.
ok ẹ jẹ́ ká tiẹ̀ fáwọn ìyá wa náà kọ́ wọ́n fa opinion tó ti yé yín I would like a balanced discussion tó ti yé yín nínú
kí equation yẹn balance.
àti gbé kínní kúrò lórí genetic conversation àti ń sọ anecdotal experiences àti ń sọ interpersonal experiences so yẹn ní kí aláti wà balance aláti at least ká gbọ́ another opinion ibi tó kọjú sí wa máa ń yàtọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan especially
ọ̀wọ́lé ẹ̀yin ìyá wa ẹ máa bọ̀ à ń retí yín.
ọ̀wọ́lé ẹ̀yin ìyá wa wọ́n níbi tá a bá ti rọ́kùnrin ó di dandan ká róbìnrin náà ń bẹ̀ o.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni but in the meantime bá ṣe ń dúró fáwọn ìyá wa ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré tẹ̀síwájú náà kí n at least kí n cover a few more slides a máa dúró lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan fún contribution àti any ìbéèrè okay. So nǹkan tá à ń sọ náà nìyẹn the effects of masturbation with toys and dolls in marriages it alters sexual response patterns tó ti yẹ yín bí ọkùnrin ṣe lè response obìnrin bí obìnrin ṣe ń response ọkùnrin ó máa ń yàtọ̀ mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí ìyàwó dọ́ọ̀lì tó kọ́ wọlé lẹ́ẹ̀kan torí pé ìyàwó á sọ pé minimum intercourse gbọ́dọ̀ last bí 45 minutes mo fẹ́ kí ìyàwó bá wa yọ̀nà náà ẹ̀ o wípé èèyàn tí a lólùfẹ́ ẹ̀ lélẹ́yìí o ẹ̀ mọ̀ ké èèyàn tí a nífẹ̀ẹ́ fún yàtọ̀ o torí èmi jẹ́ irú ọkùnrin tèmi jẹ́ mo ò dẹ̀ fi ṣègbéraga o obìnrin tí mo ò bá nífẹ̀ẹ́ fún kò lè gbé ara mi ò lè dìde sí. Àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi máa ń sọ pé àtìbó obìnrin ni obìnrin lóbìnrin jẹ́ irọ́ o. Lọ́dọ̀ tèmi kò ń ṣe obìnrin lóbìnrin jẹ́ o. Obìnrin tí mo ò bá nífẹ̀ẹ́ fún kò lè gbé mi dìde lára. Mo tiẹ̀ nífẹ̀ẹ́ fojú wo àtọ̀ lẹ́yìn lónìí pé kára mi wá máa dìde.
likewise
Gbogbo wa kọ́ la rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ayàtọ̀ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọkùnrin ayàtọ̀ náà tó ti yé yín. Bọ̀bẹ́ mi ṣe rí nìyẹn. But mo ò bóbìnrin pàdé rí. Obìnrin tẹ́kẹ́ mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ ọwọ́ ara mi ni mo fi lọ mú o. Òun náà dẹ̀ select mi ṣó ti yé yín pé kí wá lo tí bá ṣe anything more than 20 minutes èmi ni mo gbé débẹ̀ kó ṣobìnrin náà ṣó ti yé yín in my own personal experience o torí èmi ò ń ṣe halfway attraction tẹ́mi bá sọ kí mo fẹ́ spend time pẹ̀lú obìnrin kò ń ṣe mo attracted sóbìnrin yẹn obìnrin yẹn náà mo dẹ̀ get signal pé
ìyàwó ti wọlé
ti wọlé o.
tó ti yé yín
ìyàwó ti wọlé ẹjọ́.
Yeah, mo bọ̀ Ekinland. So èmi ò fi ṣe halfway attraction. Èmi máa make sure pé obìnrin tèmi bá máa ṣe anything, I really wà attracted síra wa. And in my experience, anything tó bá ti ń kọjá 20 minutes, kò ń ṣe obìnrin yẹn ló gbé débẹ̀. Obìnrin yẹn máa sọ pé o ò tí ì ṣetán ni. Èmi ní gangan mo ṣojú kòkòrò tí mo gbé débẹ̀. So ìyá wa Dolly, bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ́kè 45 minutes àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yì. Ẹ bá wa yọ̀nà náà ẹ jọ. Níbi tí ìfẹ́ wà 45 minutes, okay, ẹ bá wa yọ̀nà náà ẹ.
Ẹ kálẹ́ o.
Àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yì ìyá wa ẹ kálẹ́.
I'm a very somehow shy someone. Okay, 10 minutes tẹ̀sán yẹn is not possible.
Kí lẹ rí 20 minutes.
No, 10 minutes is not possible now.
Ẹnìkan ò tí ì sọ 10 minutes níbí báyìí, mo ní 20 minutes.
Mo rò pé ní 10 minutes.
No, 20 minutes. But I'm gonna okay.
But
Even
medically, because my
medically, according to whom?
Okay, so there are some men. Don't tètè máa ń wá máa ń pè wọ́n ní precoce. I live in France, so French most of the words move. So wọ́n máa ń pè wọ́n ní precoce. So my doctor told me that under 45 minutes is not healthy.
Okay.
But tó wá jẹ́ pé ẹ ṣe preliminary irú eléyìí tí máa ń sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé ó níbi kan tó máa ń touch and all those things. Yes, tó bá ṣe preliminary fóbìnrin yẹn for some minutes ó lè tètè wá right. But if with that, because gbogbo ọkùnrin ló ń ṣe preliminary, especially most African people, they love direct. You cannot make a woman come in 10 minutes with direct. It's not possible.
Ìyá wa ilé gbé 10 minutes wọlé o. Even 10 minutes o.
Even 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
20 okay. minutes.
Okay,
is still considered like quickie. It's as if you want to do something quick. In 20 minutes is not love making. It's just
we are talking about the intercourse. Mo sọ̀rọ̀ foreplay o. Mo sọ̀rọ̀ foreplay o. I'm talking about the intercourse.
The real intercourse.
Yeah. Just the intercourse alone.
Anyway, in that case, it depends on the body of the woman. To me, it depends on the body of the woman.
Èmi ò ní parọ́ fún yín o, I'm going to be blunt now o. Okay, kí n tó wà blunt, ẹ jẹ́ kí n kọ́kọ́ béèrè question kan. Fún ẹ ṣe sọ pé àwọn ìyá wa tó ń sọ pé 45 minutes yẹn.
My doctor told me it is 45 minutes.
Mo ò lè ní kẹ́ gbé doctor yín wọlé, but I'm talking about.
Okay.
Tí bá wà níwájú doctor yìí sìn, I promise you, mo ò lè gbà yẹn wọlé àtọ̀, I promise you. Mo ò dẹ̀ fi ṣe gbéraga o. But tí bókẹ́ àdìgbò àti doctor yín wà face to face báyìí, mo ò lè gbà yẹn wọlé because torí pé kò make sense. Kò sí attraction yẹn ò tí ì tó ni, à ń compensate fún lack of attraction yẹn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Tó ti yé yín, when there is attraction, kò yẹ kó lè dé gbogbo ibẹ̀ yẹn. À ń compensate ni, it's like we are using effort to make up for lack of attraction. Tó ti yé yín. Ó ti di iṣẹ́ nìyẹn náà, à ń fi effort, à fi ń compensate for lack of attraction, lack of natural intimacy, àwa ń fi attraction. Tó ti yé yín, the same woman, ẹ bá ìyá yẹn wá spec ìyá yẹn gangan ẹ bá wọn wá síta káwá wo bí o máa ju 10 minutes lọ. Irú ìyá
That
yẹn
is it. That is it. Sorry.
yeah.
That is it.
You
If
see what
there
I'm
is
saying?
too much attraction, it will make the man come quickly. That is true. That is
It
true.
goes both ways. Not only the man, it goes both ways. When there is enough attraction, everything is easier. Tabawa and fi effort compensate from lack of attraction. No man the 45 minutes, no man the 1 hour, no man the kini. I'm talking about healthy people here. If the
Although
man is
anybody
healthy
will go-
and the woman is healthy and they have intimacy and love and attraction for one another, kò ń lè dé gbogbo ibẹ̀ yẹn.
in fact
Kí là
mo
ń ṣe
tẹ
fún 45 minutes?
ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo fẹ́ sọ yìí ó dà pé bí jẹta bí nǹkan gan mo tún gbọ́ mi mọ bí tí mo ti gbọ́rọ̀ yẹn tí wọ́n wọ́n ń sọ̀rọ̀ kan ni ẹnìkan á ní pé mo rí lórí íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ni ẹnìkan ní ẹnì àwọn ìwé tó máa ń gbọ́kọ ara wọn fúnra wọn yẹn so wọ́n ṣe wá jáde nínú ilé obìnrin tó gbé ọkọ ẹ̀ fún ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ wá sọ wípé ó ṣáà ti bọ́kọ mi sùn ó ṣáà ti gbádùn ẹ̀ wá pé ṣé wọn náà rí gbàtà wọlé ni ṣebí 35 seconds ló lò tó fi release ọba ṣáà dá sẹ́fẹ̀ wọ́n lọ so gbà tí èmi àti èèyàn kan wá ń sọ̀rọ̀ tó ẹni wọn sọ fún mi wípé 5 minutes kò wà normal ẹni tó bá ti ń dà láàrin ìṣẹ́jú 5 kò wà normal but tẹ́ni yẹn sọ fún mi pé ìṣẹ́jú 10 náà ó sì wà okay tẹ́ni yẹn sọ fún mi nìyẹn.
Okay, bàbá wa mo fẹ́ béèrè question kan lọ́wọ́ yín. Ṣé ẹ ti ní experience rí tó jẹ́ pé ẹkọ̀ kiss obìnrin yẹn lásán ó dẹ̀ ti débẹ̀? Kí la wá fẹ́ sọ fún yẹn? Ṣé ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ̀rọ̀ tán ẹ jọ?
Ara ti kún nìyẹn. Òun náà pè ní ara ti kún.
Màá débẹ̀ bó ṣe bọ̀ yá mi.
Ara ti kún nìyẹn.
Nǹkan tá a fẹ́ sọ náà nìyẹn. Irú àwọn ìyá wa bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Ṣé a máa wá sọ pé èèyàn wà normal pé ó ní problem? What was the word you used earlier? Ìyá wa, what was the French word you used earlier?
Precaution.
Precaution. Okay. So those kind of women are they classified as precoce as well?
Women?
When a woman releases within 5 minutes or within 2 minutes, do they qualify as precoce as well? Or is the job well done?
I don't know about women. I know that most
You see what
men,
I'm saying? Can you see the double standards now?
yeah.
So basically, if a woman is able to get excited and release early, it's seen as a good thing. It's seen
Okay.
as job. It's seen as job well done.
Okay,
Yeah,
Baba.
but one thing is
But
when you are fresh.
let me land. I'm just going to complete the sentence. But on
Okay.
the flip side of it, if a man has a high level of sexual attraction, and if a man releases early, it's seen as something bad. Why?
But that is at the beginning of the relationship. The attraction is higher. But when you are married and you've been living together for a very long time, then the relationship, I mean, the intercourse time should be longer and should be minimum 45 minutes. That's what my doctor told me. When you at the beginning of the relationship, everything is so fresh and everything is quick. Both of you can easily come easily. But at the long time, as the time goes on, then the distance will be going longer because your body will start getting really used to each other, and there will be more union than even sometimes you can control your coming. You can control it. Both of you'll be able to hold on in order to last longer and enjoy each other more, because the main purpose of intercourse is not ejaculation and orgasm. It's not it shouldn't be the objective. It should be the journey, the enjoyment you share together. That is what is called sexual energy. The two of you are building your sexual energy together. The
Okay,
beginning of
wait.
the relationship is quick because the attraction is so, but at the long run, there is a stable, longer relationship that will be established naturally. Because then both of you have the power over your ejaculation and orgasm. That is it. You can
I've heard
control it.
something.
You can decide to come, and you can decide to hold it not to come quickly. But
I've
at
just
the
heard
beginning,
something
you
new
can't.
today. I've just learned something new that a woman can
ẹ
hold
bá mi ẹ bá
their
ń pàtẹ́wọ́
ẹ jọ
fún
jẹ́ kí n láàrin.
ìyá mi ní láàrin yẹn.
Èmi ò tí
Ẹ bá
pàtẹ́wọ́
ń
fún yẹn, èmi ò
pàtẹ́wọ́
tí
fún
gbà
wọn
yẹn
náà.
wọlé.
Ẹ pàtẹ́wọ́
Èmi ò
fún
tí
wọn.
gbà yẹn wọlé tán, ẹ dúró bàbá. Ẹ má bínú.
Èmi
Èmi ò
máa
tí
bá
gbà yẹn
kẹ̀
wọlé
ọ́
tán.
kó.
Irọ́ ẹja hold the applause ẹ jọ.
No, you have to,
Okay,
because if you cannot control your ejaculation, that is not normal.
I've
That
just
is
learned
at the
something new
beginning.
today.
That is you are still at the preliminary, at the primary level of sexual intercourse.
I've just
That
learned something new today that a woman can hold their cum to
you
a
can.
woman.
Yes, you can.
I've just learned
You
something
will
new.
ask. Yes, you will when you two
Ẹ̀yin
you
bàbá
are
wa
good
ẹ̀yin bàbá wa
together.
ṣe ti gbọ́ yẹn rí o.
Yeah. Yes. When you two you are good together.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni mo máa back
tó bá dé
wọn up.
tòsí
There should
Mo
be
máa sọ̀rọ̀ wọn lọ,
communication.
máa back wọn up. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni
Yeah.
abẹ́
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
gbọ́
There should be
oúnjẹ tó bá dé tòsí
communication.
ilé
There should be
control
communication.
yẹn tó bá wà ń jìnnà jìnnà ní lè control ẹ̀ but tó bá ti dé tòsí ilé kò ṣe control mọ́.
Nǹkan tí mò ń sọ nìyẹn, àwọn ìyá wa ń control pé wọ́n hold back.
Because ó ní level ṣe rí control tẹ̀ ń sọ yẹn level ó ní level.
Yes.
Tí ọ̀nà ẹ̀ bá
Only
jìn
level. Yes.
tí ọ̀nà ẹ̀
Only-
bá jìn téèyàn ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ kó tètè wá èèyàn lè
Yes.
control ẹ̀.
Yes, but
tó bá ti súnmọ́ tòsí tán
not before 45 minutes. Not before 45 minutes.
Ìyá wa
After
hold on to
45 minutes, then you can.
Ìyá wa
You should
ń
be
cling
able.
on to
You
that
should be able
45
to
minutes by
control
any means
it.
necessary.
You should be able to control it for up to 45 minutes. When you are in a long time relationship, not at the beginning of the relationship, I'm saying it is when you are well settled, you are well relaxed, and it shouldn't be when you are hurried to go to work, you are hurried to do. No, it should be we want to spend real good time, quality time together. So your brain is to have real enjoyment. That is it. Enjoyment is that the ejaculation and orgasm is the climax of a sexual intercourse. Is the climax.
Agreed.
It's not the real enjoyment. The real enjoyment is in the beginning, and the more you hold, the more you are able to control your ejaculation. You ask your partner, "Are you ready to come?" If she wants to come, she will say yes. Sometimes she wants to come, she will hold because she wants to enjoy it longer. Then you as a partner should be able to hold it till when she come. Then when she come, then you can accelerate to come by yourself. That is it. Within that 45 minutes. That is
This
it.
sounds very ẹ ṣeun ìyá mi ẹ ṣeun. This sounds very, can you hear the way you're describing it? For me, it just sounds very mechanical. It sounds very, very robotic. We are talking about matters of emotions. We're talking about intimacy here.
Yeah.
Why is he so why is he so robotic? Like he's like, oh, okay, you press the button when you get there. I'll press the button over here. Why?
It's not robotic. No. It's not. It's not robotic. No, what is robotic? What is robotic is when you don't have power over to control your ejaculation. That is robotic. Your body just
I guess everybody's different.
Yeah.
But for me, it just sounds a bit too. It just sounds a bit too.
Yeah, it's not what everybody can master. It's not everybody can master. You have.
It's not a question of mastering. It just sounds too mechanical.
You cannot. It is not what you can do with anybody as well. It should be with your real loving partner. That is it.
For me, it just sounds very mechanical. In my own personal opinion, it sounds very mechanical. Ẹ jẹ́ ká àwọn bàbá wa kò ṣe kó wá tẹ̀síwájú. Bàbá wa Adé ọmọ Yorùbá, speak up. Ó dá kí bàbá wa already, bàbá wa kí n bí ẹ tẹ̀síwájú.
Ṣé mi?
Yeah.
Okay. Ibo mo bọ́ ọ̀dọ́ báyìí. Tí ìyá wa sọ. Tẹ́mi kàn lè sọ pé èmi sọ jáde lẹ́nu gẹ́gẹ́ bí bóyá advice ni màá pe abẹ anything. Ṣé rí ó dá lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ before kéèyàn tó sọ pé èèyàn tẹ̀síwájú nípa eré ìfẹ́ kéèyàn ti kọ́kọ́ ṣe àwọn eré kan
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
bí romance even when èèyàn lè wà in romance for
foreplay.
1 hour tó yẹ kó gbogbo ara ẹni méjèèjì gan ti dẹ̀ wálẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀gan tán
That is foreplay. Yeah.
Yes.
tó ti yé sí so gbogbo àwọn yẹn kò ní sáyè gbogbo rọ̀bọ̀rẹ́bí tá à ń sọ yìí.
Yes, it's true.
But irú èmi sìn tí bá ti meet tipẹ́ kí n tó lè get balance mi èèyàn máa ní ìdìbòyà bíi ọjọ́ mélòó kan ṣá ọjọ́ mélòó kan yẹn for constant ni o tí màá mọ̀ wípé okay o mo jẹ́ láàárọ̀ mo jẹ́ lọ́sàn mo jẹ́ lálẹ́ tí wọ́n máa fi rọ́jọ́ méjì sọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta àti wà balance kí n lo oṣù mẹ́fà láì báyọ̀ sùn màá wà balance but pé láti bóyá oṣù kan àbóṣù méjì mo á sọ pé irọ́ warawara ni o warawara lọmọ kíní kan tó kó kíní kan bọ̀
Yeah, ara ti kún, yeah.
because ara ti kún kalẹ̀ lẹ̀ but ṣẹ́rí máa ṣeré níwọ̀nba yẹn náà ó níbi tóun náà ti ń assist yàn débi kan rí sáà nìyẹn nìyẹn.
Okay, ẹ ṣeun baba. Ìyá wa kan comment pé what she is talking about happens when there is real love. I'm sorry, it's the opposite for me.
No, yeah.
Let me elaborate. For me, when it's a person that I actually really love and I have a great deal of attraction for, it doesn't go on for that long. It's never that mechanical. It just flows. I don't know if it's going to be 2 minutes today. I don't know if it's going to be 30 minutes today. I don't know if it's going to be 1 hour next week. I don't know. It just flows because it's not the length of time. It's the quality of the intimacy. Yeah. But when we are already coming into it, like, oh, the minimum it has to be is 45 minutes. For me, it's just too mechanical. Love is not supposed to work like that. It's like we're working too hard. We are overworking. We are over-structuring what's supposed to be just flow. It doesn't matter. It should always be about the quality of the intimacy, never about the length of time. The length of time, mechanical. Maybe we are just trying to make up for lack of intimacy. We're trying to make up for lack of attention, attraction. Yeah? So like I said to that other woman in the comment, the only time I have ever experienced that, and it felt like walking. We're just going and going and going. Oh, are you gonna come? She's saying no. Are you gonna come? I'm saying no, and we keep going. The only time I've ever experienced that is when there was not enough attraction, and I don't like that experience. When there is real attraction, your woman can even release just off of kissing. When there is real attraction. You understand? So for me, it's never about the length of time. It's about the quality of the intimacy. Sometimes you can even have a good intimacy without the intercourse. Just by your lover just being around you, just cuddling alone can be the most satisfying experience when there is real intimacy, when there is real attraction. Even without the intercourse, you can feel a great level of satisfaction in my personal experience. So that's why I learned that very, very early, which is why as I became more mature, if my level of attraction to a woman and what I'm getting back, what she's reciprocating, if it's not like around that 80%, 90%, I don't even bother because I know it's not going to be a pleasant experience. It's going to feel like work. That's my own personal experience. So for me, it just feels like when there's no real connection, it becomes effort-based. It becomes like a you're working. It shouldn't be like that. It should just flow.
Yeah, when there is not enough attractive or what you said. Sorry. That is when you come quick. That is because you be rushing yourself. That is when you be rushing yourself.
No. The other way around.
Ẹni sùúrù náà.
Okay,
ṣẹ́rí wọ́n ní ibi tí wọ́n ní báwo náà ṣe máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí o wọ́n ní ẹni tá ò fẹ́ nílé engine.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o.
Akọ yẹn tí mo kọ́ fẹ́ sọ kọ́ yẹn bọ̀ mo kàn yẹn náà kàn tún fara jọ ni tí mo fẹ́ sọ ni pé ṣẹ́rí nǹkan tí olóòtú wa ń sọ ṣẹ́rí kíní yẹn mi ti experience ẹ̀ rẹ̀ ra ṣẹ́rí tí attraction yẹn bá wà ń bẹ̀ kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ti fẹ́ ṣe ẹ̀ méjèèjì ẹ máa wà satisfy
Yes.
mo mọ̀ dáadáa tí èèyàn bá jẹ́ marriage man kó tí gbogbo ìgbà náà ni èèyàn máa ṣe long journey yẹn.
Kò ṣe gbogbo ìgbà.
Báwo ni èèyàn
That's what I'm saying. It's not. It's not all the time.
ẹ máa rí i pé ẹ̀yin àtìyàwó yín gan ẹ ṣe pẹ̀kì ẹ tí bá pàdé rí ok nígbà míì wà tó jẹ́ pé tí n bá ń báyàwó mi sùn bóyá láàrin 3 minutes láti ṣetán ni o ó ti kọ́kọ́ wá tẹ́mi ò dẹ̀ tí ì wà so obìnrin míì wà tó jẹ́ pé ara ní kinní yẹn obìnrin míì wà tó jẹ́ pé kọ́kùnrin tó wá lẹ́ẹ̀kan obìnrin míì ti máa wá lẹ́ẹ̀mejì.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. So but kinní kan ni pé ṣẹ́rí tí attraction yẹn bá ti wà ń bẹ̀ ó ló máa ń mú àwọn kinní yẹn náà máa ń tètè ṣe pẹ̀kí ara wọn because mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ ìwọ náà nífẹ̀ẹ́ mi so kò sí bí kinní yẹn ò ṣe ní ṣe pẹ̀kí ara wọn but bá ti di pé ẹnìkan ìfẹ́ kan ga jù kan lọ ẹnìkan kan sùn kalẹ̀ lẹ́ pé ṣáà ṣe tí wàá ṣe kó get out jàre so gbogbo orúkọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn akíkà ní ẹ̀sìn yẹn òun ni.
ẹ má jẹ́ ti omira yàtọ̀ sí pé máa wà.
Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ ká rí ogun gbà bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣáà gbà bẹ́ẹ̀ kó kúrò níbí. Ajogun nìyẹn o. Ajogun nìyẹn o.
Bàbá mi ń bẹ gbáàbò lọ́gbọ̀n mi.
Ṣáà tètè kó kúrò lórí mi jàre mo fẹ́ sùn. Ajogun nìyẹn o.
Bàbá mi ń bẹ gbáàbò.
Bàbá mi relax ẹ tẹ̀síwájú.
Mo ń gbọ́ láti sàn kankan ni. Bàbá mi kì í sọ pé láàrin 3 minutes sí pé ìyàwó wọn ti wá. Ṣẹ́rí ìyàtọ̀ wà ní péyàn dámira àti péyàn wá o. So ẹ má get it wrong.
Thank you.
So ẹ lè jẹ́ pàpàpàpà kẹ́rí pé omi ti pọ̀ kẹ́rù bóyá ó ti wá irọ́ o omira nìyẹn o. Ó bèrè tó wá gbogbo
irọ́ pé ẹni téèyàn àtèèyàn jọ ń fẹ́ra ẹ̀ fún bí odidi ọdún 10 ṣe mọ̀ pé ó ti kúrò ní pé ó yẹ ká ti mọ ìfun àtẹ̀dọ̀ ara wa.
Yes.
Tó lẹ́yìn bá fẹ́ wá
ìyàwó mi bá fẹ́ release even gan mo máa ń dìdí béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ nígbà míì pé wá ọ̀gbẹ́ni o ti ready àbí ká sì máa go on tó bá ní ká sì máa go on àbí o ti ready ibẹ̀ lèmi náà ti jókòó lẹ̀.
That is it. Thank you.
ó sì mọ́ náà ni máa ń hold ẹ̀. So but tí bá ti hold ẹ̀ yẹn nígbà míì wà tó yẹ pé ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì máa fi ilẹ̀ mo mọ̀ tí ìyàwó mi bá fẹ́ wà náà.
No wahala. Ọkọ̀ mi kì í chip in yẹn.
Yeah, but your point was valid. Your point was valid. Ẹ̀yin méjèèjì lọ́ra pé èmi ò fi pé either or nìyẹn. You're both right. Kéèyàn dámira ó yàtọ̀ sí kéèyàn climax ó yàtọ̀.
And the best thing when you are in a couple is that you two should work towards coming at the same time. So what that man is saying, because there should be the communication going on, and when you ask your woman if it's ready, because it's easy for men to release, but it's not easy for women. So when you ask your woman, when he say, okay, I'm ready, then the man will start accelerating, and the two of you will come at the same time. That's the best thing.
Nínú wọn tóbìnrin bá kọ́kọ́ wá gan-an ó sì bẹ́tà ju kọ́kùnrin kọ́kọ́ wá lọ.
No. Tóbìnrin bá kọ́kọ́ wá. Second
distance náà ló máa wà láàrin ẹ̀ ó lè jẹ́ bóyá bíi 5 seconds different.
No, it depends. Even women can recover as well. Tọkùnrin bá wá ọkùnrin ṣe pọ̀ lose interest. Sometimes a man just needs a bit of recovery or just need more encouragement.
Recovery is more
it's the same with women. So ti yẹn ẹ lè kọ́kọ́ slow down díẹ̀ kẹtùwá bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ kẹwàá
recovery yẹn náà ni
and work your way up again. It's not a question of tóbìnrin yẹn bá ti wá she loses interest. Ẹ mọ̀ pé that's sounding like lack of attraction again.
If they're talking of attraction, we are talking of energy. When a woman comes,
if you really pay attention to what we're saying, trust me, it's sounding a lot like lack of attraction to me. So ti yẹn we are talking about your lover.
Ìfẹ́ ni ìfẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ fẹ́ lágbára gan.
Don't
Yes,
you,
yes.
we're talking about it. Somebody she lose interest. We're talking about somebody she loves and she has
No,
a great deal of attention.
not that she will not continue. Not that she will not continue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But she will just she will allow you to finish.
She
Surely.
needs that recovery. She
But
can
if a man come before a woman,
yeah.
the something will become soft. Don't it
Yeah,
will be
then she
hard.
needs to work him up again. See,
Again,
when
that is the problem. That's it.
it's not a problem.
That is why I said the best
That's the way
thing.
it's supposed to be.
That's why I said the best thing is to come at the same time. That's it.
You see, now it's mechanical. Anyway, I think everybody's approach to intimacy is different. Just me, I just enjoy. I like the freedom of it. Yeah, we're not mechanical. If you finish before me, it's not a race. It's not a competition. If you finish before me, that's fine. And I haven't finished yet. Yes, I can walk you back up to it. You are my lover. We're not going anywhere. We're both here forever.
Yeah,
We're both here forever. There's no rush. I can walk you back to it. Màá tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ again.
Bonus ló tẹ̀ jẹ́ fún mi náà, bonus
Ṣebí kọ́ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ kí ìyàwó mi tó wá climax. Ibi tá sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ yẹn, okay, ìyá mi ti climax, I'm happy for her, but if I still feel like I want to continue, I can start again from the back rubs. I can start again from the foreplay. I can walk it back up again. She's my woman.
That's good.
Bonus ló tún wá jẹ́ fóbìnrin yẹn. Bonus.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nínú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn lẹ́ máa ní pé ìyàwó yín lè ní bí abi 3 orgasms in one night, that kind of thing. Bó ṣe yẹ ká máa ṣe nìyẹn, you can walk it back up again. Ṣebí bí kan láti bẹ̀rẹ̀.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So it should never be a race or competition, okay? Mechanical. Oh no, we have to come together. Otherwise it's bad sex. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Sometimes the man comes first, sometimes the woman can come first. But we are both here though. We are going to work our way back up. It's never a competition. So for me, I feel like gbogbo àwọn tó bá ti ń sound mechanical, tó bá ti ń dàbí iṣẹ́ yẹn, èmi bí like lack of the attraction is not enough. Then maybe the couple needs to work on the attraction outside of the bedroom. Because if everything else outside of the bedroom is right, the bedroom is the easy part. What's their communication like? You understand? What's the non-intimate part of the relationship? What's that like? Because tí yẹn bá wà right, bedroom ma easy gone. Or ṣe nílé make it the bedroom kan tó finish ara wọn tán, bóyá kitchen ni, bóyá living room ni. Just they won't even make it to the bedroom if everything else is right.
Yeah, it's true.
You understand? Anyway, we diverted a little bit from the topic, but lovely conversations nevertheless. Different opinions, different ways. We are all different, but it's good
Yeah,
for
we are all different.
for everybody to be able to express.
We are
how
not
they
the
feel.
same. We are not the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So jẹ́ kí n fún gbogbo wa. Yeah, thank you all for your wonderful contribution. There's no one way when it comes to matters of intimacy. So different people approach it in different ways. We just have our own personal preferences and opinions, and it's all good. It's all good. Okay, then tẹ̀síwájú. So we are talking about the effects of masturbation in marriages. Ó dẹ̀ ní point kan tí mo make lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn bàbá wa pé tẹ describe obìnrin kan bóyá I want to take it away from individuals more. Fẹ́ jẹ́ kó wà personal. Ká ṣáà sọ pé obìnrin kan tó sọ fún ọkọ ẹ̀ pé kó tó lè fọwọ́ kan òun ó máa take bí another 2 months or 4 months. Kí ló fún obìnrin yẹn ní confidence pé òun kan lè hold up for 2 months or 4 months? That's not normal. That's not natural. It's either pé obìnrin yẹn ó ti ní bóun ṣe ń gbéra ẹ̀ débẹ̀ àbí ó ti ní ẹnìkan tó ń gbé débẹ̀ obìnrin yẹn ò tiẹ̀ láìka ọkùnrin yẹn from the kò tiẹ̀ gbá tiẹ̀ àtọ́ kò tiẹ̀ ṣe attraction níbẹ̀.
Confirm.
So nítorí nǹkan tí mo sọ ni pé sometimes we're talking, we're making points, but for me it's sounding like the lack of intimacy. It's sounding like lack of attraction. Torí obìnrin tó bá láìka ọkọ ẹ̀ tó ti yẹn kò tiẹ̀ nífẹ̀ẹ́ kọ́kọ́ ẹ̀ sọ́fà bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn náà. Àti pé the women have needs as well. Tó ti yẹn tí kìíní yẹn tó bá jẹ́ pé ìfẹ́ wà níbẹ̀ gangan attraction dẹ̀ wà níbẹ̀ kò ní wà mechanical báyìí báwo ni ìyá ṣe lè predict pé tó bá dọ̀la òun ò ní heightened intimacy, that need for her husband. What gives her the confidence that the way she feels today is the way she's going to feel tomorrow is the way she's going to feel next week, let alone a whole month and 4 months? Where's that predictability coming from?
Yeah.
That predictability is coming from lack of intimacy and lack of attraction.
That is wickedness in any way. That is wickedness.
It's wickedness.
wicked,
Clearly, she doesn't care,
wickedness
you know, because she
wickedness.
doesn't care enough for the man. But I mean, so even, you know, sometimes the matters of the emotions, you know, because, you know, it's funny, right? You may even, I've been in situations whereby maybe my woman has done something that I'm not happy with. And in my mind, in my natural mind, in my rational mind, I'm thinking, you know what? I don't even want this woman anywhere near me tonight. But because I have a high level of attraction for her, tó ti yé yín, tó bá wá dalẹ̀ tí àyè máa sọ pé tó bá fọwọ́ pa mí báyìí, I want to be angry, but I can't. I'm incapable of being angry. You understand? Because she's my lover. I'm actually attracted to her. I would prefer that she doesn't come to me, but I know that all she needs to do is come and lay one finger, and all my defenses are going to fall apart. You understand? Because there is attraction. Even if I want to hold off, I can't because I'm attracted to this person. That's why we are together in the first place. That's what I'm talking about. So gbogbo àwọn pé a fẹ́ máa wà mechanical yẹn, ìfẹ́ ò tó ni o. Ìfẹ́ ò tó ni.
Kò sífẹ̀ẹ́.
Kò sífẹ́ ìfẹ́ ò tó ni. Tífẹ́ bá tó, even if we want to, in our rational mind, we won't be able to carry it out because èèyàn ta nífẹ̀ẹ́ fún ni. Èèyàn tí a wà attracted fún ni. Ìyàwó yóò bí inú lọ débi pé tí ẹ fẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀, but tó bá wá fọwọ́ pa yín báyìí everything máa fọ́ ni o. Ẹ̀yin gan ẹ máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí rẹ́rìn yìí. You're trying not to laugh. You want to put on a serious face, but you can't. You just find yourself laughing. You're supposed to be angry at this woman. She laid one finger on you, and ẹ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fọ́.
mi mọ̀ bóyá Ọlọ́run ò fún àwọn obìnrin ní ẹ̀mí ìdáríjì mi tó bá dúró sọ́kùnrin báyìí yé pàrìpà.
But if I
forgive me.
Okay, ẹ jẹ́ ká test kìíní yẹn. Let me give you. Let me throw something in the mix. Ìyàwó Adọ́lẹ̀ bí ẹ
Sorry.
Okay, let me throw something in the mix. Ẹ rí pé bàbá wa gbé scenario kan jáde. Ní pé wá tó jẹ́ pé tí ó bá jẹ́ one man and one woman, àwọn ìyá wa ọ máa ń ní resistance ju gbadike ọkùnrin yẹn níyàwó mi sílé. Kálọ́kùnrin yẹn níyàwó mi sílé tó wá jẹ́ I'm not advocating this, I'm not mo kàn fi ṣe àpèjúwe ni o. The same woman tó ní high resistance nígbà tó kó wa àti ọkùnrin yẹn it's just one on one, but tí ọkùnrin yẹn bá gbé lómi sílé ó máa sọ pé ọjọ́ wo ló máa jẹ́ tọ̀nù òun, ọjọ́ wo are you going to see the man tonight? That's the woman. What does that tell us?
Àbí kó máa pè ní ṣẹ́jú.
Tó ti yé yín, but what does that tell us about that character? That tell us pé kò ṣe pé obìnrin yẹn lè resist. Ó kàn wà vindictive ni.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ó kàn wà vindictive.
Ó wicked ọkùnrin yẹn for that time.
Yeah, ó kàn wà vindictive ni. Kò ṣe pé ó lè resist. Torí pé tẹ bá fi obìnrin míì sí, kọkùnrin yẹn kó lọ yan àlè. Kóbìnrin yẹn dẹ̀ mọ́ kó lọ yan àlè. Ká wá wò bí irú obìnrin yẹn ṣe máa ń wá ní resistance ò ní wá mọ̀ náà.
No.
The same woman that was so resistant, resistance ẹ máa fọ tó bá mọ̀ pé tóun ò bá fọkùnrin mi ọkùnrin òun ṣe ó lè lọ ṣe ń bò mí. So kẹ́ni pé it's not that she's resistant, it's just that she's vindictive.
Yeah.
Anyway, so masturbation with dolls and objects alters sexual response patterns, causing dissatisfaction or erectile dysfunction, and this is a medical condition which is definitely provable. So torí ẹ̀ làwọn doctors gan máa ń sọ fọkùnrin pé ẹ má máa ṣe sopi ju ẹ má máa dámira ju torí pé ó máa ń lead to erectile dysfunction because it is an unnatural way of arousing yourself. So when the natural scenario not presents itself, but because you've already configured and conditioned your own body to only respond to self-arousing, self-arousal, then when the real woman is now next to you, you can't react because you've conditioned your body to function in a way that's unnatural.
Èmi ẹkùn ni mí o.
Okay. Gbogbo wa la máa ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Okay. Gbogbo wa la máa ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ máa ké ọba àwọn òyìnbó ṣe máa ń sọ the exception proves the rule. Tẹ bá sọ pé èyí ni King Kong, ìyẹn ò mí pé the point is still valid. Èyí kàn jẹ́ exception ni o. The exception actually proves the rule, it doesn't disprove it. So irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn dẹ̀ máa ń erode trust. Tíyàwó bá mọ̀ pé ọkùnrin ọkọ òun ó máa ń ṣe sopi kò dẹ̀ ń súnmọ́ òun, the woman is going to start feeling shortchanged in that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
So when your woman wants to be intimate with you, òun sọ ẹ̀yin sọ pé bọ̀ ìyàwó ti rẹ̀ mí, rí kí mo ṣe ń bọ̀ láti ibi iṣẹ́ ni, iṣẹ́ wà lọ́la mẹ́, ìyá yìí kúrò mi báyìí mẹ́, ìyá yìí jẹ́ ń sùn mẹ́, irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, then how is that kind of woman going to feel? The woman cannot trust you to satisfy her.
Ben.
To cater to her needs. You cannot be trusted. Torí ìyá gan ẹ̀rọ á máa bàyá pé kí ọkùnrin tó wá Ọlọ́run jọ má jẹ́ kí bàbá yìí sá lọ ṣe sobi kó tó wá síbẹ̀ dùn. Èmi mo fẹ́ ṣe sex lálẹ́ yìí o. But ìyá wa máa fi sí ìwúre pé Olúwa jọ má jẹ́ kí bàbá yìí ṣe sobi o. Torí tí bàbá bá ti ṣe sobi kò sí nǹkan kan fún mi lálẹ́ yìí nìyẹn o. Kò yẹ kó wá máa débi kí àwọn ìyàwó wa máa fi sínú ìwúre pé kí Olúwa jọ Olódùmarè jọ má jẹ́ kí bàbá yìí ṣe sobi lálẹ́ yìí o. Ṣe lè imagine irú situation bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. So it also introduces shame. Your woman or your man can start feeling inadequate. Bàbá mi kí n gẹ̀dọ̀ ṣe bá lè bá mi mute, tẹ́ bá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ then kẹ́ on mute. Ẹ ṣeun.
Okay.
Yeah, so that are clear. So that kind of behavior introduces shame because how many times do you have to turn down your partner before they start feeling inadequate? Before they start feeling unattractive? And that goes both ways. That goes both ways. You know, you turned them down yesterday because you have your own way of arousing and satisfying yourself. You turn them down 2 days in a row. It won't take long before your partner start feeling a bit of shame that it's like I'm not man enough, or I'm not woman enough, I'm not attractive enough. Clearly, you have your own way of satisfying yourself, or you don't even attracted to me. As tired, it doesn't matter how tired you are. The fact that you're a person that you have, that you love and you have attraction for, wants you intimately, but quickly, you have to be able to respond. But when there is no attraction and your partner is already shortchanging you because they have a way of playing with themselves, then clearly you've got no way out in that kind of scenario. And most of the time, it starts creating that secrecy, right? Torí tí bàbá bá lọ ṣe sopi kò ní sọ fún ìyàwó ẹ̀. How many men say, it's not that I'm tired tonight, it's just that I have satisfied myself tonight, so I can't sleep with you. How many men are going to have that kind of honest conversation with their wives? So we are all doing it in secrecy. You understand? And it's the same thing with a woman. But some women are becoming very bold, and it's men that are allowing it. Some women are becoming very bold and bringing toys into their marriage, into their marital bedroom, because men have become so weak that you actually allow that in your own household. When you're not happy about it, I spoke about that show that I walked in on, that TikTok show, which actually led, which is what inspired me to come up with this program, to do my own research. I walked up on it. I was able to debunk the men. The men were saying, every woman should be able to satisfy herself. It's not like she's cheating with the man. They should be able to satisfy themselves. The women were egging them on, and the men were saying it. And I went up and I told the lady to put me on, to bring me up on that live. When she did, you know what I said to the men? I'm like, you know what? I greeted everybody there, and I'm saying, I'm not even here for the women. I said, I'm here for the men, because I feel like you guys are lying. You're lying to these women. You're not happy with that shit. You're not happy about it. You're lying. And I said, okay, why don't we do an experiment? Mo sọ pé gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa tẹ̀ wá mí bàtẹ́ ẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ̀yin mi ni àṣebí irin lásán ni ṣebí ké lásán ni, ẹ lọ mú gbogbo àwọn toys ìyàwó yín, ẹ lọ sọ dànù, kẹwàá wò bí ìyá yẹn ò ní bá yín jà lé yẹn. Mo ò tí ì sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn tán, àwọn ìyá yẹn gangan lọ́wọ́ ń type sínú comment pé we go fight, they fight, there's going to be a fight in that house if my husband ever did that.
Ìjà ńlá.
Àwọn ìyá yẹn ló wá ń comment. Mo wá sọ fáwọn bàbá pé look in the comments. But they all came up on that show lying and being disingenuous. Wọ́n sòótọ́ fáwọn ìyá yẹn náà. Wọ́n sòótọ́ pé láìkì kìíní yẹn náà. As ọkùnrin. Láìkì kìíní yẹn as ọkùnrin pé kíyàwó wa fẹ́ lọ máa lo àwọn toys òṣì kan. Like Kikini, we don't accept that as men. So if a man is pretending, no, a man ọkùnrin yẹn compromising it because he's not standing as a man supposed to stand. So ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ẹ má máa jẹ́ ká máa gbà wọ́n ìgbàkúgbà sára tá a mọ̀ pé like àwa lọ máa kórìíra, we won't direct our anger in that way. We are going to go and then start looking for a roundabout way of picking on our women, when the real problem is that we're not happy that she's using sex toys. But because we become so weak, and sometimes some women use shaming language. Think, that means are you jealous? Yes, I mean, no, it's not. I'm jealous. I'm just feeling disrespected in my own marriage. It's a disrespect if we're being honest about it. But instead of come baba wa kan face can confront kini your head on. Wà ní confront ẹ head on so that ìyàwó yín ò fi kò ní máa sọ pé ẹ̀ ń jowú. Wá lọ máa kanra mọ́ ìyá. Ìgbà títí ìyá ò tí ì ṣe nǹkan kan, máa parọ́ pé ọbẹ̀ yìí ò tiẹ̀ dùn mọ́ náà, ò mú oúnjẹ sè mọ́. Ń parọ́ ni náà. Ìyá tó ti ń sọ oúnjẹ fún yín fún 20, 30, 40 years. Tó ti yé yín, bọ̀ torí pé nǹkan míì ló ń kan yín nínú, ló ń kan yín lára, ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ lè confront ẹ̀ wá lọ máa kórìíra ìyàwó yín in another roundabout way. Ẹ máa waste time, ẹ máa wá bẹ ṣe máa pick on your woman in another way. No, why don't you confront the problem head on and let your woman know that as a man we don't like that, we're not having that as men. Tó ti yé yín, ẹ̀dẹ̀ mọ́ kí bí àwọn ọkùnrin ṣe máa ń treat girlfriend ará àta, obìnrin ìta àbí àlè, ó yàtọ̀ sí bá ṣe máa ń treat ìyàwó wa o. À ń fẹ́ kí nǹkan kan fọwọ́ kan ìyàwó wa o. Tó ti yé yín, but our girlfriend bẹ́ẹ̀ that we don't really care for like that, we're not really invested in, we don't care if the nǹkan tó ń ṣe bá kò bá kó sábẹ́ ṣí nígbà tá a bá sí bẹ́ẹ̀ care because we're not invested emotionally or financially in that kind of women. But tó bá jẹ́ obìnrin tá a gbé sílé, kì í like irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn because we don't marry a woman unless we actually we care for her, we actually have, you know, we invested in her emotionally. So yín bàbá wa ẹ jẹ́ ayé parọ́ mọ́, tó ti yé yín, ẹ jẹ́ ayé parọ́. Táwọn àwọn ìyàwó wa gan tó bá mọ̀ pé this is exactly how we feel about it, bóyá àwọn gan ò bá má ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Tó ti yé yín, ẹ jẹ́ confront kìíní head on, káyé ṣe ojo nínú relationship wa. Have the kind of argument that you're supposed to have. You know, for me that's a positive kind of conversation.
Mo fẹ́ sọ nǹkan.
Ẹ tọ̀ síwájú.
Màá dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí ìyàwó Deborah, ṣé Deborah lórúkọ wọn? Màá fẹ́ kí
ìyàwó Dolly.
Ok, Dolly, màá fẹ́ kẹ́yìn náà kẹ́ tẹ́tí sí nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ yìí. Nígbà tí ẹ ń sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan olóòtú.
bàbá mi látẹ̀ nǹkan ẹ̀ jẹ́ kí n sọ̀rọ̀ kankan o.
Ẹ̀yin náà sọ̀rọ̀ àbígbà tí bàbá King wá sí ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́kọ́ láì.
Kí ló ń porúkọ ẹ̀? Bravo ló wà lórí kinní gbà yẹn tí wọ́n sọ pé àwọn sọ̀rọ̀ tí mo ṣe fi wọ́n lẹ̀. Ọ̀dọ́ náà mo yà ní barber shop. Mo yà ní barber shop.
Ẹ jẹ́ kí bàbá wa King sáré láǹdì.
So bàbá mi ẹ sáré.
Ok. Nígbà tí olóòtú sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan, ẹni pé kíní dídò táwọn obìnrin máa ń lò yẹn, kíní dídò yẹn pé àwọn ọkùnrin ò láìkẹ́, òótọ́ ni. But tí ó tún wá wà níbi kíní yẹn tèmi fẹ́ sọ ni wípé kíní yẹn náà ó dàbí pé ó ṣe ran ọkùnrin àti obìnrin náà lọ́wọ́ ni. The reason tèmi sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé tí ọkùnrin bá wà tó wáyé pé obìnrin lágbára ju ọkọ tó wà nulẹ̀ lọ, ṣe mọ̀ pé kíní alágbára jura wa lọ, tó wáyé pé obìnrin yẹn ló wá lágbára ju ọkùnrin lọ. So irú àwọn eré tí mò ń sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn pé kó tó di pé yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ gangan, àwọn eré kan ti kọ́kọ́ wà tó yẹ pé yẹn lè máa bá ìyàwó yẹn ṣe. Bí romance ni nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀.
Foreplay, yeah.
Ibẹ̀ yẹn èèyàn lè lo kíní tó ìtẹ́ ń sọ yìí náà, wọ́n máa ń lò because yàtọ̀ sí ìyá ọmọ mi, òyìnbó kan sì bímọ fún mi, so mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ wípé àmọ́ bá ṣe máa ń ṣe. So mo dẹ̀ rí wípé time yẹn, in fact ìgbà míì wà tó yẹ pé a máa ṣe tán, màá ṣe tún sọ pé mo bá a ṣe, màá tún lo kíní dídò yẹn pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ náà ni. Àbí ká tó ṣiṣẹ́ kí n ti lo dídò yẹn pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ kí káṣẹ̀ tó wá ṣiṣẹ́ tiwa gan. So nǹkan tẹ́mi kàn ní kí n fi kún àárín yẹn nìyẹn pé ṣé kíní yẹn pè lóòótọ́ bí mo ṣe darí question yẹn sí ìyá wa.
Èmi ò ní sọ̀rọ̀ ńbẹ̀ yẹn torí pé it's too personal, mo ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí kíní ìwà personal. Just yẹn I'm going to hold my I'm going to plead the fifth níbẹ̀ yẹn. Just yẹn I hold my speech there. Ìyá wa lè respond sí, but tí ìyá wa bá respond tí bá ń sense disingenuity èmi níbẹ̀ lèmi tí wọ́n lè gbà bí wọlé o ẹ ṣáàjà wà honest èmi let's make it a honest conversation just ẹja make it a honest conversation honesty ló ṣe pàtàkì but tí bá ti ń jọ tó bá ti ń jọ disingenuity mo lè má lè control ẹnu mi bẹ̀ yẹn o but ẹ tẹ̀síwájú ìyá wa dọ́lì.
Really, one right, because I live in France and most white people, this dildo that you are saying is mostly used using in a couple. It's for couple use. Tóbìnrin bá ti ń dá lò, ìyẹn ó ti ń bọ́ sí cheating. But mostly it is meant for the couple for foreplay and so on and so forth. That is nǹkan tó wà fún really nìyẹn. But tóbìnrin máa wá lò ó kó máa dá nìkan lò ó. No, that is not right in a marriage. That is not right. But as a single woman, so most single women they are using it. But not but for Timawa, it like married something. No, that is not right. It's like
but only
it should be ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ pé àwọn méjèèjì wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ agree on having it, and it is for common use. It is not for individual use. It is for foreplay use. That is
okay. Ṣeun bàbá wa dé ọmọ Yorùbá ẹgbọ́n sọ kékeré ká tó tẹ̀síwájú.
ẹ ṣe àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè yín bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá mi ṣe rí látẹ̀ǹkan mo kàn ń lísì mò ń gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí tẹ̀yìn sọ ẹ má bínú pé màá sáré dá yín padà sẹ́yìn díẹ̀ ìgbà tí mo ní kẹ́ bá mi pàtẹ́wọ́ fún ìyá mi lẹ́ǹkan yẹn ẹni ẹ̀ tí ìṣètò láti pàtẹ́wọ́ fún yẹn mo kí mo sọ̀rọ̀ kan lẹ́ǹkan mo ní láàrin ọkùnrin àti obìnrin love tó máa ń last bíi 30 minutes 20 minutes 30 or 40 minutes ni wípé kì í ṣe pé èèyàn máa continuously ejaculation kíákíá ẹ lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ kẹ́ ṣeré kí nǹkan ọmọkùnrin àti nǹkan ọmọbìnrin kó ti wọnú ra wọn ẹ lè dúró kẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ lè ṣeré ń bẹ̀ ẹ lè ṣe fọ gbogbo ìgbà yẹn tẹ́ fi ń dúró tẹ́ fi ń ṣe yẹn ara ẹ̀yin méjèèjì máa ti rọ̀ nǹkan tó ń pè ní enjoyment nínú sex nìyẹn.
What is it?
ẹ máa jọ enjoy ẹ̀yin because ẹ mọ̀ pé nǹkan yẹn nígbà tí mo kọ́ sọ pé ẹ bá ń pàtẹ́wọ́ fún wọn ẹlẹ́rìí pàtẹ́wọ́ fún wọn so tàtẹ̀wọ́ yẹn bá wà ńlẹ̀ sí.
but point tó make ń gbà yẹn mo ní èmi ò gbà yẹn wọlé ni mò ń sọ point tí ìyá make lọ́wọ́.
point tó make nìyẹn.
no not in that moment.
ìyá dọ́lì ṣe bí ẹ ṣe wà ń bẹ̀ yẹn.
yes that is what I'm saying. I'm not saying I said.
Gbogbo wa la recommend foreplay.
The enjoyment is the journey. You should be able to play together.
I have not heard a single person, and I personally don't.
Okay, let us. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ jẹ́ ká kúrò lórí yẹn. Okay, let me come from this angle. So ẹ mọ̀ pé ẹ ń sọ̀rọ̀ kan lẹ́ẹ̀kan ẹ ní ẹ fẹ́ lọ nípa individual experience.
Personally, I don't want to make
generally pé bẹ́ẹ̀
eré tábà nílé parí ẹ má jẹ́ abára wa ṣe torí ẹ ní I don't want to.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ok ẹ jẹ́ ká wọ́n ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ok ẹ jẹ́ ká mi mọ̀ bóyá network mi ń break o bí a tẹ bá ń gbọ́ mi dáadáa o.
à ń gbọ́ yín.
ṣe rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tábà ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní labroad sí ẹ wo àwọn nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń sọ tí mò ń listen sí ó ń ṣe déédéé àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yín ó ń bá gbogbo nǹkan tó yẹ kó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú marriage and relationship ó ń bá gbogbo ẹ̀ dọ́gba but àwa tá wà ń lé tá bá sọ nǹkan tó bá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ fún yín nípa sex and relationship ẹ máa mọ̀ yín pé ó yàtọ̀ síra wọn nítorí màá ń sọ́lẹ̀ kókó òkè ọkùnrin tó wà tó bìlì pé within 40 or 40 something minutes òun ti wà okay ìyàwó náà láti wà okay that is normal gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn màmá wa ṣe sọ́lẹ̀ nǹkan yẹn everybody soon kájọ relax tó bá tún di under some hours bí alóru tẹ́ bá wò pé okay ẹ ṣì ń feel like pé kíní ẹ ti sùn ẹ ti jí ẹ tún lè continue okay àmì máa ń sọ fáwọn ọmọ kan tàbí àwọn ọmọ iṣẹ́ mi tàbí àwọn mi tó bá jẹ́ obìnrin pé ìwọ tó ní 5 different boyfriend ńkọ́ tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀tọ̀ ní Monday, ọ̀tọ̀ ní Tuesday, ọ̀tọ̀ ní Wednesday, ọ̀tọ̀ ní Thursday, ọ̀tọ̀ ní Friday, ìyẹn tó máa lọ ṣe weekend lọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀ ọ̀tọ̀ ni. At the end of the day ó wá padà bọ̀ sórí ọ̀dọ̀ ẹnìkan ṣoṣo péré, ó wá ń wá ọkùnrin tó máa meet up tó lè máa ṣe iṣẹ́ táwọn márààrún yẹn ń ṣe fún ẹ in your marriage. From that angle àwọn objects náà àwọn obìnrin míì tó jẹ́ pé tí wọ́n ti ọkùnrin ó ti wò pé ìyàwó òun náà at least ó lè dúró for 2-3 days tó máa lọ pé ó rẹ̀ wọ́n káwọn continue, obìnrin yẹn ò lè mára dúró mọ́ nítorí Monday to Friday to Saturday ojoojúmọ́ ló fi ń ṣe nákínnákìn. Ṣérú ọkùnrin tó jẹ́ pé bàbá jẹ́jẹ́ ni tó jẹ́ pé ó mọ bó ṣe ra ń manage ara ẹ̀ tó mọ bó ṣe ra ń ṣe pẹ̀lú ra ẹ̀, ṣé ó lè meet up pẹ̀lú standard of experience obìnrin yẹn tó lè meet up ẹ̀?
èmi máa need láti
It's
reframe.
an question Endo Bravo.
Yeah. Mo get question yìí but mo máa need láti reframe ẹ̀ torí pé ká má wà too distracted from the topic. tó ti yé yín, the topic of today is effects of masturbation within the marriage. tó ti yé yín, with dolls and objects. That's the topic of today. So mo máa need láti reframe question yìí. So ibi tẹ́ ti sọ pé tó obìnrin tó yẹ pé ó ní ọkùnrin different ọkùnrin Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday yẹn, instead kí n lo example yẹn kí n fi respond, mo máa need láti reframe ẹ̀ as obìnrin tó ti ní different size of toys tó ń lò. tó ti yé yín, tó ń dẹ̀ wà battery assisted. tó ti yé ẹ̀ mọ̀ kí ẹ̀mí kó wá lọ fẹ́ ọkùnrin ẹyọ kan tó jẹ́ pé ẹ̀mí.
Okay, good. Ó dà bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, ó dà bẹ́ẹ̀ lè ló bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn.
ẹ ṣeun, kó wá lọ fẹ́ ọkùnrin tó yẹ kí ẹ̀mí lásán ló wà lára ọkùnrin. ẹ̀mí tó dẹ̀ wà limited ní ọkùnrin kò yẹ ọkùnrin wèé náà battery assisted. tó ti yé yín, so irú obìnrin yẹn ṣé ọkùnrin kan wá lè satisfy ẹ̀ mọ́? tó ti yé yín, nígbà tó bìnrin ti lo battery tó lè lọ fún bíi 2 hours.
Adjust.
Adjust.
The body can adjust.
a ti ń fi disingenuity wọ ìyá wa ẹ jọ. tá bá ti wà lórí platform tèmi mi máa ń like ká máa wà candid pẹ̀lú òótọ́ pátápátá ká máa fọ pátápátá ẹ jọ ìyá mi please. èmi ò tó dẹ̀ mi
Kò lè adjust ìyá wa, kò lè adjust, ó ti di bárakú, kò lè adjust.
mo ń like àwọn nǹkan tí òótọ́ ọbẹ̀ ò bá kí ń pé tó à ń adjust ẹ mọ̀ kí à ń para. Okay, basically the rate of divorce is not proving that we are adjusting. The rate of divorce in relationships is not proving that we are very good at adjusting, is it? It's not reflective of this adjustment that we're talking about. So, Tabawangwa, okay, what are the reasons Tamafin separate? Look, we are not as resilient as we pretend to be.
It's true.
Let's stop lying to each other. Torí ó ń ba nǹkan jẹ́, ó ń da lérú. Àwa ọkùnrin, we are just as sensitive. We might even be more sensitive. We are not that sensitive when we are at the relationship stage. But I can tell you that, but tabawa ti fẹ́ àwọn obìnrin wa sílé, level of sensitivity wa ó máa ń lọ sókè gan exponentially. We might even be more sensitive than our wives. So àwa ọkùnrin, àwọn bàbá wa gan, ìyẹn náà bá wa wí, ẹ jẹ́ ayé form Voltron. Kàyé form tẹ́ni pé àwa ni Incredible Hulk. It's a lie. We are actually very sensitive when it comes to our wives. Sometimes we're not as sensitive when we're talking about girlfriends, about àwọn àlè wa, but tá bá gbóbìnrin wa sílé, a máa ń wà sensitive gan. So ẹ jẹ́ ayé parọ́ fúnra wa torí ó ń da nǹkan rú. So ti yé yín, let's stop lying to each other. Torí irọ́ ti pọ̀ jù. I'm pretend benika alegba nǹkan tí a lè gbà. How are you going to adjust when you have different sizes of dildo and you've used it? Okay, from when you were a teenager, let's say from the ages of 18, now you got married at 35. You become addicted to it. So you're going to tell me, you're going to adjust. How are you going to adjust? We're lying to each other. One man cannot satisfy you anymore. Ẹ jẹ́ ayé parọ́ because you need daleru.
What I mean is adjust is that obìnrin tó ń lo dídò all those things tẹ́ ń sọ yẹn.
Yeah.
tó bá decide if the two of them agree that she should stop using it, it's true.
No, mo sọ̀rọ̀ dídò náà sọ.
Okay.
Dídò ni mi sọ. Dídò ni mo sọ.
We are talking.
Ṣé bí ẹni tó lo tó fẹ́ ọkùnrin márùn-ún lẹ̀ sọ ni.
Irọ́ mo ti reframe ẹ̀ torí pé
Ṣé mo pé ẹni tó ti ń ṣe gbogbo orú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn? Ṣé mo pé ẹni tó ti ń ṣe orú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ìyá mi? Obìnrin yẹn ò ní jẹ́wọ́ o. Obìnrin yẹn ò ní jẹ́wọ́ o. Kò ní jẹ́wọ́ tó ń lò.
Ẹ jẹ́ kí ìyàwó adọ́lì land náà ẹ má bínú àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀rọ̀ ìsìn.
Okay, kì í sáré brief nǹkan tí wọ́n ń sọ yẹn. Obìnrin tẹ́ bá lè trust kò ní ìdí pé ẹ̀ ń fẹ́ sílé. That is one thing. Kò need. So it's true the dido this thing it is overstimulate overstimulate private part yan ni.
Thank you.
It affects the sensitivity this sorry I'm a French man.
Yes,
Ó máa ń jẹ́ kí the level of being sensitive kó obìnrin kó lò gan.
Yeah.
But what I mean is by adjust is that tí obìnrin bá ti accept àti má lò mọ́ within 6 months or 1 year the body will come back to normal. But in that case, you must never touch it again. It's almost the same thing like masturbating. Obìnrin tó wà in relationship even is not supposed to be masturbating alone. No, it's not supposed because ó máa affect the body sense kò ní jẹ́ kó wà in kò ní it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing with being with a natural man. So the way to really adjust is to stop using it, right? Then 2, to see a doctor. There is an ovule tó máa ń fún àwọn obìnrin especially tóbìnrin tó bá ṣe bímọ kíní ó máa ń wà less sensitive wọ́n máa ń ní àmà lọ ń bá doctor gbà yẹn pé kíní sensation àbí ti tẹ́lẹ̀ wọ̀sọ́ with our man, so wọ́n máa ń fún wa ní one ovule tó máa ń pè ní hormone tó máa reactivate that sensitivity. That is nǹkan tí mo mean like adjust nìyẹn.
Okay, Esheun, thanks for breaking it down. I really appreciate that. But honesty is very important. We got there in the end.
Dido is not better than man. No? Just be sure of that. It's not better because it is dangerous for the health. Who are dangerous for the health? It affect the nerves. The nerves.
Hello.
Ẹ̀yin bàbá wa méjì ìgbà kan náà lẹ́yìn méjì máa ń fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ ni. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ náà?
Agbádùn ètò yẹn ni.
Ẹjọ́ ẹja ṣẹlẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan ẹjọ́.
Ilé ti wà nílé látẹ̀ nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá mi king ẹ máa ní sùúrù fún mi sí. Ilé ti wà látẹ̀ nǹkan ní sùúrù fún mi. Ṣẹ́rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni nǹkan tó bá lè kọ́yàn lọ́gbọ́n kéèyàn máa tẹra mọ́ láti máa gain experience bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ṣé mo pé ọ̀rọ̀ tí màmá mi sọ fún ẹni tó bá ti ready láti wà tó wà trustworthy tí ò dẹ̀ ṣẹni tó ń parọ́ fúnra ẹ̀ ó máa wà easy láti tètè kúrò nínú old pattern ẹ̀ kó bọ́ sí new pattern because ní ibi tí life ń lọ sìn everybody irọ́ ni wọ́n ń pa fúnra wọn. tẹ bá fìlì gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tí endolbavo tí wọ́n sọ láti nǹkan yẹn bàbá mi tí wọ́n sọ láti nǹkan wọ́n sọ fún wa pé we should be truthful to each other.
Yes.
In the beginning, can anybody or any man stand it? Okay, ìyàwó òun máa bí a girlfriend ó máa sọ fún un pé ọkọ mi o àkín tó fẹ́ o màá ọkùnrin márùn ló ń dó mi láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀ kan o ṣé o lè fẹ́ mi? Ó mọ̀ pé tóun bá ti ṣerú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn the marriage is end. Ọ̀pọ̀ wá pe boyfriend pé I'm using dido different type of dido tó jẹ́rùsí márùn òun ni mò ń lò everyday o. Ẹ mọ̀ pé ṣe rí brain wa tẹ́ ń rí yìí ó sọ wà lẹ́sẹ̀ pé tẹ́lifí bá ti wọ ọbẹ̀ tó bá dé pé bí nǹkan ìdọ̀tí ó máa kárí gbogbo ara wa ni a ò lè stand ẹ̀ mọ́ ló fi jẹ́ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó máa ẹsẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ kò ní wọ̀bẹ̀ ká tó lè accept wípé bóyá màá manage ẹ̀ bóyá ó lè change á jẹ́ pé ẹni tó ti ní experience kọjá ibi tí àwa ń sọ dé yìí ẹni tó ti wò pé àgbélébùú mi lélẹ̀ máa mọ bí mo ṣe máa manage ẹ̀ tóun náà dẹ̀ wò pé okay I'm going to stop all these things tó dẹ̀ stop ẹ̀ because not everybody tó máa sọ fún yín pé I'm going to stop this tó dẹ̀ máa stop ẹ̀.
What I'm
because
saying
ẹ mọ̀ pé enjoyment of life is part of it. Ẹlòmíì máa fi ń catch crew ẹlòmíì máa fi ń catch form ẹlòmíì máa ń wò pé it's normal for our body lóbìnrin ni mò ń sọ o àwọn tó tún wà bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́kùnrin pé ọkùnrin ń dẹ́ pé obìnrin kan ò ká ọkùnrin míì lẹ́nu lọ́sẹ̀ kan bó ṣe wà lóbìnrin náà ló ṣe wà lọ́kùnrin ẹ wá sọ fún mi can they hold on with one body.
Okay. One thing ni pé obìnrin tẹ́ sọ pé ó ní don't sleep with a woman sleeping with 5 men in a week is a dirty woman, right? It's a dirty woman.
ẹja
It,
reframe
it
ẹja
has nothing to do with ipe bóyá ó like
Ọkọ díẹ̀.
ṣíṣe
dirty
bóyá
woman
ó like
that's
ṣíṣe
just
òun
her
ló ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe.
lifestyle. Is it dirty woman though, or if that's just a lifestyle, right?
Yes, it's a dirty lifestyle.
Ah,
Because one thing is ó lè tó bá kó àìsàn lọ́ra èèyàn kan kọ́ ó máa transmit ẹ̀ sí all others.
I'm not saying one is right or wrong, but framing here, dirty woman here, I think that's just your lifestyle. Tí o bá bá yín lára mu, ẹ̀yin lè máa ní kékeré bá yín lára.
No, to me, sleeping with five men in a week is not normal. It's not a normal someone. I'm sorry.
Àwọn bàbá wa tó bá ń ṣe èso dirty men làwọn náà.
Ọmọ agbésẹ́ ni.
Ọkùnrin tó bá ń ṣe yẹn náà is not good, to be sincere. It's not good.
ìyá mi àwọn ṣẹ́rí àwa la wà níbí báyìí tá à ń rí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ wa a rí wọn from one boyfriend to other boyfriend. They are doing a hookup every time to time. They are using those things to survive. And àwọn kan wà tí mo máa ń lórí òfin láti péjọ tí mo máa ń kánsẹ́lì wọn.
That is not normal. That's what I'm saying. They are not normal
to
people.
survive.
They are not
And ìwọ ń
normal
ṣe nǹkan
people.
báyìí òfin survive in your young age, and tomorrow will come, your dad, your mom, your family, your relative will call, okay, you need to settle down with one man, and you will now go to church and begin to pretend as if you were born again, and you will now end up in one man that is praying for so many years to see a good wife in the church. The same thing náà lobìnrin náà tó máa lọ kó sọ́wọ́ ọkùnrin tó jẹ́ pé òun náà òun kò gbogbo ara òun náà ò gbádùn. Ẹ wá sọ fún mi, báwo ló ti fẹ́ manage home yẹn?
Ẹja reframe.
I've seen a lady tó jẹ́ pé tó máa ń sọ pé òun ò lè dúró fún ara òun torí pé ó ti mọ̀ òun lára láti kékeré pé òun ní bẹ́ẹ̀ èèyàn. But nǹkan tí wọ́n ń kọ́ wa níbí báyìí lálẹ́ yìí ó yàtọ̀ sí akọ̀yíyà sí àwọn nǹkan yẹn ni.
Exactly.
Wọ́n bàbá M. Bravo wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ kan lẹ́ǹkan wọ́n ní torí mo gbọ́ tí mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ó máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní home dáadáa wípé ìyàwó ò fún ẹ ṣe ń sìn ó wá torí ẹ̀ ń sọ pé ọbẹ̀ ò dùn mọ́ ó ti fi ṣúgà sínú kọ́fì ẹ̀ jù ó gbálẹ̀ kò gbá mọ́ dáadáa àwọn nǹkan yẹn we need to be coming out and say it to their face pé this is what you do. We don't need to be pretending. We need to ká ṣe síra wa gẹ́gẹ́ bó ṣe yẹ ká ṣe nínú marriage. Òun lè jẹ́ káwọn méjì káríra bí ẹni pé we are one.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, attack the real problem head on. Àwọn nǹkan tí à ń respect as a man or so things that we think is disrespectful. Ẹ má máa jẹ́ ká máa wá wò pé torí the way that the world is. No, bá a ṣe jẹ́ lọ́kùnrin, whatever's going on in the world, bá a ṣe jẹ́ la ṣe jẹ́ bólúdùmarè ṣe dá wa ló ṣe dá wa. Àwọn nǹkan tí àwọn baba ńlá wa tó ń wò pé ìwọ̀sí lélẹ̀ ọkùnrin ilé ìgbọ́dọ̀ máa ṣẹlẹ̀ sọ nínú ìgbéyàwó. We are still exactly those same men today. So regardless of what the world is trying to frame, tó ń pé kinní kan tọkùnrin bá sọ fún ìyàwó ẹ pé kò lè wá máa lo àwọn irinṣẹ́ kó máa fi dóra ẹ̀ nínú relationship. So àwa ń fi pé we have to adjust to the world. No. Torí à ń parọ́ fúnra wa ni. We are still the same men who existed 500 years ago. Biologically, we are still the same men today. So ẹ má máa jẹ́ ká máa pretend. So torí pé ẹ fẹ́ wà popular, or you don't want to have you don't want to, you're trying to avoid an argument, a confrontation with your woman. Ẹ wá pretend bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé you don't, it doesn't matter. Ẹ wá lọ máa kanra mọ́ ìyá yín in other ways. Ẹ máa lọ máa kanra mọ́ ìyàwó yín in other ways. But the real problem is that you're not happy with the way that she's pleasing herself with machines in your household, in your marital bedroom. That's the real problem. But because fẹ́fẹ́sẹ̀ káwọn ìyàwó máa sọ pé ìwọ náà ń jowú ni, are you jealous? It's not jealousy, it's a respect thing. Báyàwó yín sọ kẹ́ confront the real problem so that ìyàwó yín bá sì mọ how you feel about it. Bóyá ìyàwó yín kàn lè make adjustment, but tí bá sọ̀rọ̀ níbi tọ́rọ̀ wà àwa lọ máa kanra mọ́ ìyàwó, ọbẹ̀ ò dùn tó, ìyàwó kò mọlẹ̀ gbá tó, ìyàwó ò mọ̀mọ́ tọ́ tó. But the real problem is that you're not happy with the fact that she's bringing other parties into your marital home, into your marital bed. that's the real problem. So ẹ jẹ́ ká máa parọ́ fáwọn ìyá wa táwọn ìyàwó wa táwọn ìyá wa tó bá mọ bá ṣe fíìmù pa kínní tòótọ́ bóyá àwọn gan wọn ò bá tún ṣe so that everybody máa wà happy tó ti yé yín torí kí ta bá rí rate táwọn èèyàn fi ń break up we know that what we are doing wherever it is at the moment is not working. It's clearly not working. We're talking about holistically. Bá a ṣe ń ṣe ìgbéyàwó wa lẹ́ni it's not working. And eléyìí the live program that I walked in on inadvertently ó kàn highlight pé ká ní kí báwọn èèyàn ṣe this might be one of the reasons for it. I'm not saying this is the only reason for it, but as a man and even àwọn ọkùnrin tó ń sọ níbẹ̀ I was even able to debunk them using the same women that they were what's it called that they were pandering to. I was able to use those same women to debunk those men on that show. When I said what I said pé okay tó bá bí yín da ẹ lọ kó gbogbo àwọn irinṣẹ́ ìyàwó yín tẹ́ ẹ̀ sọ pé ṣèbí rin lásán ni ṣèbí ike lásán ni ẹ lọ kó dànù kẹ́ ò bóyá ìyàwó yín wọn ò ní fọ́ orí yín nínú ilé yẹn lálẹ́. Àwọn ìyá dẹ̀ sọ pé yes if my man did that it would be a fight. So ẹ yé jẹ́ ká máa káyé parọ́ fúnra wa so sì yẹ yín tá bá ń fòótọ́ ṣe tá dẹ̀ ń fi ìfẹ́ ṣe kíní àwọn relationship wa máa wà more progressive than they are currently. Irọ́ àti compromise òṣì tí ò ká máa gba nǹkan tí ẹ pé something that's not compromisable ó máa ń dá ìjà lẹ̀ in a roundabout way but ní wà happy in the end anyway. Okay ẹ jẹ́ àtẹ̀síwájú then tá bá ń ba lọ báyìí 3 slide slide mẹ́ta orí slide mẹ́ta la ṣì wà program yìí máa wọ midnight tábà ṣọ́ra ṣe o. I thank everybody for your contribution. Bẹ́ẹ̀ àtẹ̀síwájú. So nǹkan tó ń sọ ni pé àwọn tó máa ń lo different toys. Ó lè kò dẹ́n ṣobìnrin nìkan. Àwọn bàbá wa náà lè máa ṣe sopi. A dẹ̀ ti mọ̀ pé wọ́n tún ti wá gbé àwọn sex dolls wá. Wọ́n ti gbé jáde ní China fáwọn bàbá. Tó ti yẹ yín tó ń shape bí obìnrin tó máa ní àwọn nǹkan obìnrin tó dẹ̀ tún wá ní àwọn functionalities. Ó ní like a suction function. Ní nǹkan tẹ̀mí rí èmi ò nílé o. Èmi ò nílé o YouTube náà ti
ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ ń bàjẹ́ ló ń pọ́n ìyá ń jẹ́ sí alóńjó ayé ń bàjẹ́ aláǹlajú.
tó ti yẹ àwọn sọ́pà ńlájú à ń tọ́ra wa nítorí pé ká ní pé ẹ mọ̀ pé if we were practicing those things and a kàn rí pé okay relationship are lasting longer than than they did ká tó máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí introduce àwọn practices yẹn àti ẹ̀ lè tọ́ra wa díẹ̀ pé at least it's okay but a rí pé the rate táwọn relationship táwọn marriages fi ń túká ó ti high ju ká máa parọ́ fúnra wa lọ. Ó ti high ju ká máa parọ́ fúnra wa lọ and if failure has any benefit is it creates an opportunity for people to reassess. It creates an opportunity for people to have candid conversations and then make corrections where corrections need to be made. Torí ẹ̀ la ṣe ń láti fi òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ sọ ká má máa ṣe any disingenuity tá a bá ń bára wa sọ nǹkan tó ń dalé wa rú nǹkan tó nothing is more important than families. There is nothing gbogbo ala ní ambition nǹkan tá a fẹ́ achieve from a career perspective or nǹkan tá à ń lé tó ti yẹ yín tá a dẹ̀ ń bẹ Olódùmarè fún but tí ilé ò bá da òde ò dà tó jọ bí òwe o tí ilé ò bá da òde ò dà o so tí ilé wa bá ń dàrú then èmi bí lè pé kíní yẹn ti lọ fáàjù ká wá máa bá wa ká máa parọ́ fúnra wa lọ tó ti yẹ yín so basically those practices diminishes true intimacy. Torí pé, like we said, a woman who's been used to practicing that kind of intimacy for years and years and years, ọkùnrin kan ò ní lè please ẹ̀ mọ́ ẹyẹ jẹ́ a máa parọ́. Àwọn ìyàwó yín tó ń lo kinní yẹn tẹ́ bá ti kúrò lé àwọn ìyàwó yín máa ń lọ gbéra wọn débẹ̀ ọkàn máa ń pretend fún yín ni. Do you know how many women there was an interview I saw and they asked women, do you fake it in bed?
Yes. Most women do.
Resoundingly, almost every woman said yes. So what does that tell us? Ipe àwọn bàbá wa majority of men we can't satisfy our women anymore because our women are actually pretending tẹ́ bá ti kúrò lé àbí tíyà bá ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ní káwọn wọ bathroom ìyá ló ń finish ara ẹ̀ off ni ṣó ti yé yín. So let's be honest with each other. Let's stop lying because those practices are basically diminishing true intimacy when it comes to women because they lose the sensitivity. You know, that over exploitation of that friction of that area, of stimulating that area. After a while, with time, the sensitivity of that area, that's that overstimulation reduces that sensitivity. Kaye
Okay.
paro.
Can I just say one word, please,
Go
quickly?
ahead.
Okay, but most men too, they are not sincere with their wife. Before
Yes.
before coming home, they must have seen maybe two or three women.
No,
So
you
when they
can't say
come
most
when they
men.
come
Please,
home,
let's correct that statement, please. You cannot say most men.
uh,
How can you say most men?
why kí ni reason tí wọn fi lè satisfy ìyàwó wọn nílé?
Irọ́,
Maybe
like
they
I
are doing
said,
elsewhere. If they are doing elsewhere, when they get home, automatically they will not be able to give satisfaction to the woman, and the woman doesn't want to break her home. Then she will find an
you're
alternative, which
just
is
making
video.
excuses. Ẹ rí pé disingenuity ti ń wọlé ìyá mi ẹ má bínú. We're just making it. We're trying to create like like a business statement, an excuse for just to be able to
Yes,
just to be able to
a woman who is well
to be able to maintain
satisfied,
the status quo.
a
Ẹyẹ jẹ́ àmà
woman.
parọ́ fúnra wa. Let's go to the roots of the problem. Ẹ má jẹ́ parọ́. Okay, let me say it this way. If the woman never had those, why is it so difficult for a man to satisfy a woman in the first place? Do you think that's natural? Do you think that's the natural state of women for women to keep saying men can't satisfy them? Do you think that's natural? That's not natural. There's a problem. Something is already wrong in that kind of situation.
Yes.
So let's go to the root cause of it and stop talking about symptoms. The root cause of it is if women are masturbating and using objects, it gets to a point that a man won't be able to satisfy you anymore. You won't be able to get simulated with just ordinary flesh because you've been using machines. The machines, they're high performing. They perform at a higher, faster, and a longer rate than an ordinary man. So, ẹ yé jẹ́ a máa parọ́ fúnra wa. So ti yẹn káyé wá alibi, because if we keep doing that, we're not going to get to the root cause of the problem, and we're not going to be able to find any solution. Ẹ má bínú ìyá mi, but èmi máa ń like candid talk. Ẹ jẹ́ àfọ, tábà fọ àárí ibi tí kò dà tó sí, tó kù díẹ̀ káàtó sí, àwa lè ṣàpadà, àá lè tutò bó ṣe yẹ ká máa tutò. So ti yẹn, but tábà ń make compromises, tábà ń cut corners, ní dé àárín ọ̀rọ̀ we won't be able to get to the heart of the problem and then be able to resolve it. Ẹ mọ̀ kí mo dẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn ìyàwó wa nìkan, sọ pé àwọn ọkùnrin náà, part of the reason they can't satisfy the women maybe because doctors ti sọ it's medically proven that when men masturbate too much, the same way women by overstimulating their sexual organs, even men through too much soapy, man, the erectile dysfunction. So ti yẹn ló máa wá di pé kíyàwó yín tó lè gbé yín débẹ̀ okay ìyàwó yín fẹ́ okay maybe àwọn tó ń sọ pé 45 minutes minimum bóyá 40 minutes ń bẹ̀ ìyá yín try láti bá yín establish erection ní 40 minutes ń bẹ̀ tó ti yẹn for 5 minutes of action 45 minutes la máa fi ń try la máa fi ń bá yín get an erection torí pé ẹ̀yin gan because you've been practicing some unnatural stimulation processes that now make it difficult for a woman to be able to arouse you without having to play mental gymnastics and do backflips and somersaults. That's not our natural state. When men are functioning in their natural state, it's not difficult for a woman to turn a man on. A woman don't even have to undress or get naked. Just the thought or the smell of a woman alone can get àwọn bàbá mi lè satisfy kìkìnì. If your man is functioning and is a healthy man, just the presence of a woman alone is enough to arouse any man, the average man. We're talking about if a man is healthy, just the presence of a woman is enough. So some people are still doing it right now. Yes, but tabati corrupt the erection one here now through soapy. Àti ká máa lo àwọn sex dolls tá bá corrupt erection wa tá bá corrupt bá ṣe máa ń achieve intimacy tí gbogbo wa bá ń function tí obìnrin bá ń function in the natural state tí ọkùnrin bá ń function in the natural state satisfaction comes easy in that kind of situation as long as there's love and attraction. So when there's love and attraction and nobody is cutting corners by either masturbating or using toys, so then satisfaction is easy because there is love and affection. But when there is no love or there is no affection, and at the same time, one party or both are taking shortcuts, are cutting corners, are pleasing themselves, then that's what creates the problem. That's the root cause of the problem. So attack a problem, but we're not going to get to the solution. Slide 3 lashiwa. Okay, yeah, tẹ̀síwájú. Or using drugs. You see, a man has to drink maybe alomo, kí ló ń pè é, Viagra, or you have to do all those things, taking all those chemicals just to get an erection or maintain an erection. Why? What happened to you? And mọ̀ kí àwọn ìyá wa náà sì ń la lọ́mọ. Even women now, women are using they're using sex, they're using stimulating drugs as well. But we have to admit and have the honest conversation that that's not our natural state. So it's not that we're being judgmental. We're just saying, is that our natural state? Are there any dangers? What are the dangers that it poses? La answer now. We're not putting anybody on blast. That's why I said I don't want this to be personal. Torí ẹ kò ní dàbẹ̀ ni pé à ń target ẹnìkankan. We are just having an adult conversation, and let's keep it as generic as possible so that it's nobody feels like fingers are being pointed at them. Torí ẹ ni mo ṣe fẹ́ respond sí bá question bàbá mi lẹ́ẹ̀kan, because it was coming from a personal relationship perspective. Just hearing. Okay, yeah, tẹ̀síwájú. So basically, all those practices that diminish true intimacy, because an ordinary flesh can't arouse you anymore, can't satisfy you anymore, and undermines sacredness of the marital union. Of course, because a third party has been introduced into the marriage, or now another lover has been introduced. We can lie to ourselves till we're blue in the face that it's just an object. No, it's not just an object if it can make you climax. Mo dẹ̀ sọ nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan ní orí show tí mo lọ yẹn, tí mo bi àwọn bàbá wa pé okay, tẹ́ bá lọ mú gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ ń pè ní ṣebí object lásán ni, ṣebí irin lásán ni, ṣebí ike lásán ni, tó bá ẹ lọ gbé ike lọ sọ́nù, káwọ́ báwọn ìyàwó yín ṣe máa react sí yẹn. Gbogbo àwọn obìnrin yẹn lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí comment pé my husband did that, the fight wey we go fight for that house that day. So why are we lying and pretending to each other then? Clearly, that confirms that it's not just an ordinary object. Another entity has been introduced into that marital union. Adesiwo, from a spirituality perspective, kí ni yẹn máa ń gba àwọn ajogun láyè láti wọ inú relationship ni? For those that were on the show yesterday, we were able to break it down from a metaphysical standpoint. And one of the things that we were actually able to demonstrate is that anything like an object or irin, tabawa ti ń tẹ omi ara sí, omi ara is like that's our omi àṣẹ, kò ń ṣe omi ara lásán, torí pé tó bá jẹ́ omi ara lásán kò ní lè di ọmọ náà. So tó bá lè di ọmọ, ìyẹn mi kò ní energy nínú ni náà. So tàbá bá ń dà sí ara irin, rí pé àwa gan ó dàbẹ́ ní kéré ó ti ń di nǹkan tá à ń bọ̀. Tàbá ń da omi ara sí ike yẹn àbí irin yẹn every day, especially when it's done with certain with frequency, ó wá ti ń dàbí ritual, ó ti ń become ritualistic ni, àwọn ajogun máa ń gbabẹ̀ wọlé. Torí ẹ̀ ni àwọn ìyàwó wa gan, àwọn ìyá wa kan, ó ti wá develop intimacy fún àwọn irinṣẹ́ tó ń lò yẹn ju ọkọ wọn lọ. Are we going to be honest about this? Are we going to have a honest conversation about this? Lórí platform tèmi, èmi máa ń like àmà fọ́ nǹkan tán. That's just my own personal, that's just the way I am naturally. Ẹ jẹ́ àfọ̀tán kábàlẹ̀ tún ṣàkátú tó dáadáa. So kóòsì kan tí mo dẹ̀ rí níbi tó ti ń ṣèwádìí mo ti rí eléyìí, wọ́n wá sọ pé ìfẹ́ tí a bá fi ara nìkan kó kì í tọ́jú orí. Ìyẹn mi pé love or intimacy built only on the body alone will not sustain the soul. Because when it comes to intercourse and intimacy, it's supposed to be the flesh is looking for satisfaction, but your soul is also looking for uplift, enrichment. So when you're only satisfying the body through masturbation, your soul is lacking nourishment. Kini ye man deplete your life force, o man deplete agbára àṣẹ wa. lára àwọn bàbá wa ní àná ó dẹ̀ sọ pé táwọn bá ti ṣe sopi tán pé kó máa ń dàbí ẹni pé ojú wọn ṣú. Mo ní yes, it's true. Even àwọn doctors ti sọ pé it can actually lead to blindness in men. Tẹ́ bá ti ń ṣe sopi jù, àwọn doctors máa ń sọ pé kó máa ń lead to it can lead to blindness in men. Can you believe that? That just shows you how much of a depletion of your natural force you are actually doing through those practices. So kò ń ṣe lásán, ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó ń pa wá lára ni. Àdàmọ́kó ti ń sọ pé ó máa ń lead sí erectile dysfunction already. So ẹ jẹ́ àtẹ̀síwájú, màá ṣe bí àbí slide ẹ̀yọ kan bíi méjì sí, màá tún wá take break so that ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ẹ̀yin ìyá wa ẹ máa lè bá wa contribute or kẹ́ fi ìbéèrè sí. So it also creates spiritual disconnection from your partner. So in Yoruba spirituality, marriage is a union not just of the bodies but of Ori, and spiritual path. Your Ori, your destinies, and your spirit and spiritual path. I clocked the typo there. When one partner regularly chooses object-based self-gratification over intimacy with their spouse, it creates the spiritual cord of mutual ashe exchange becomes weakened. When a husband and a wife are bonding in the spirit of harmony, in the spirit of love, and in the spirit of cooperation, and when they practice copulation in that spirit, what happens is both of them and in the spirit of cooperation. And when they practice copulation in that spirit, what happens is both of them and in the spirit of cooperation. And when they practice copulation in that spirit, what happens is both of them, because it's a practice copulation in that spirit, what happens is both of them, because it's a kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe flesh nìkan lẹ́ ń nourish, you are also nourishing your spirit. Orí inú yín àti àṣẹ yín lẹ́ ń nourish yẹn. So that means both of you are uplifting each other spiritually as well. You are raising your level of vibration together. So and you are both benefiting and enjoying that nourishment from it. Nǹkan tó máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn. So but bá ṣe ta kan dà less lásán, you're just pouring away. You're not being refilled, not only physically but also spiritually. So nǹkan tí yẹn máa ń dálẹ̀ ni pé ó máa ń weaken your àṣẹ. Gbogbo wa la máa ń sọ pé tá bá ń ṣèwúre when we are praying or using affirmation, a máa ń sọ àṣẹ. The reason tá máa ń sọ àṣẹ ni pé a ní àṣẹ nínú life force wa ni à ń project sínú nǹkan tá à ń béèrè fún, nǹkan tá a fẹ́ kó ṣẹ. So but your life force is weakened, which means your gravitational energy is going to be reduced, it's going to be weakened. Your magnetism is going to be weakened. So and this is provable as well from a metaphysical perspective, but it also have physical consequences also. So the act may be viewed by Ori Inu as a rejection of divine connection through the marital bond. Over time, this may cause Ori kúrò ní àjọṣe, destiny disalignment between spouses. Because ìgbéyàwó tọkùnrin àti obìnrin tó bá jọ form union, ó ti jọ form spiritual bond nìyẹn. There's a spiritual contract. Ìbáṣepọ̀ ẹ̀mí, ìbáṣepọ̀ orí lájọ form, lájọ bond pọ̀ yẹn. But tí èèyàn kan bá wá ti ń practice that self-gratification, that artificial gratification, àwọn orí àmàlẹ̀ sí yà fúnra wọn. Tó ti yẹ yín, àjọṣepọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn orí àwọn méjèèjì, àwọn máa wà diminished, disalignment wa ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń wà. Ibi tí disalignment bá ti ń wọlé sí, a ti ń gba ajogun láti wọlé síbẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ilé yẹn ò ń tòrò mọ́ with time. Ilé yẹn ò ń tòrò because another entity has been introduced. Argument máa wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń wà, irú ilé yẹn kò ní sí ayọ̀ ńbẹ̀, kò ní sí happiness ńbẹ̀. So ti yẹ yín, because spiritually we are disaligned, no matter how much we pretend. And if we look at our situation, our society today, we can see evidence of that. So when are we going to wake up and have real conversations with each other? When are we going to do a real analysis and do real assessment? Are we so lost in our in the fulfillment of the flesh that we are so lost and we are so far gone that we cannot come back and reassess and then get back on track? Are we so weak that we cannot do that self-assessment, that self-reflection? Because when the relationship starts, when that divide starts, manifesting in relationships, both the husband and wife can feel it. So both the husband and wife can feel it. The really brave ones will come back and say, oh, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀, ọkọ mi, òun súnmọ́ mi bó ṣe máa ń súnmọ́ mi tó tẹ́lẹ̀ mọ́, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀, kí ló dé, báwo la ṣe lè ṣe? So what can we do? What can we do to address that? In the natural way, torí pé báwọn èèyàn ṣe máa ń ṣe, ó tún máa ń double down ní bàbá tó yẹ pé ó ti ń ṣe sopi ní kò ṣe lè satisfy ìyàwó ẹ̀ mọ́. Tí ìyàwó ẹ̀ bá wá bí pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ dádì náà, every time tí máa ń súnmọ́ yín lẹ máa ń sọ pé ó rẹ̀yìn kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Instead kí bàbá stop láti máa ṣe sopi, bàbá wa lọ máa wá Viagra máa wá lọmọ káàkiri. Ẹni kí bàbá tún compound situation yẹn nìyẹn. The situation was bad enough as it is, but rather than giving up on the masturbation to realign again, energetically, to realign energetically so that you can then, stop the soapy. Eventually, your body recovers if you're practicing good, good way of recovery, good recovery process that we talked about. We can touch on it again today, but we talked about that yesterday on the show. Baba Eyeshe Sopimo. Spiritual cleansing and physical cleansing so that ara yín á lè dìde á lè recover ẹ wá lè súnmọ́ ìyàwó yín ẹ lè satisfy ìyàwó yín bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń satisfy ìyàwó yín sílẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ kẹ́ tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe sopi. But in order for you to do that, you have to be honest. You have to be able to face the music with some honesty. Ní pé everybody ló máa lè sọ fún ìyàwó wọn pé torí mo bá ń ṣe sopi ni mo ò ṣe ń súnmọ́ ẹ mọ́. But ẹ̀yin mọ̀ now. You know. Even if you don't come out and tell it to your wife, you know enough yourself. You know that why you don't get close to your wife like that. Why you don't please your wife like that. So Peter and she, no cause. See how you might present problem here. Why instead of find solution, permanent solution? Why it's here on Baba Washi Mama double down? One low drugs.
I don't sorry interrupting there. Mo ma join mo fẹ́ sáré dé supermarket. Fóònù mi dẹ̀ ti low. Fóònù mi ti low so máa fi sínú charger kalẹ̀lẹ̀ so tí n bá dé máa join.
Okay sir.
Yes, mi ò lè lo 1 hour sir. Mi ò lè lo 1 hour.
Okay, bí ọbẹ̀ tó yìí ṣe ń lọ ẹ máa ìbá wa lẹ́nu ẹ̀ náà.
Confirm. Mo ń gbádùn ètò yẹn gan ni iṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run máa join yín padà ń sìn.
Ẹ tètè lọ kí shop tó close.
Okay. Ẹ ṣe gan.
Okay, ẹ ṣeun bàbá mi. And it's the same with women, you know. Your husband comes home and he's telling you, the husband is trying to have an intimacy with you. You're saying you're tired today, you're tired tomorrow, you're tired next week. You understand? And when the husband then presents the problem, you yourself, you know the reason it's like that. You know that before your husband comes back from home, you've already used, you've already used 4 or 5 different types of toys to satisfy yourself. So instead of addressing the situation and addressing the issue and then recovering, there are ways that a woman can recover as well. You understand? There are ways that a woman can untangle the artificial connection to the dildos. There are ways that you can do it as well. And I'm preparing like a short documentation on that because some of our mothers who were on the show yesterday, they asked for it. I said, okay, I can spend time on that. Because there are procedures for this, even inside IFA. So somebody was asking a question earlier. Taloberi, what are the cure to erectile dysfunction? There are many. But the easiest one is basically going back to natural ways of doing things. That's the easiest way. The body recovers itself as long as we stop corrupting it. So but if it's a medical condition, there are many ways. Even nínú àṣà àti ìṣe wa kò tí ẹ ká la máa sọ oògùn àwọn òyìnbó nínú àṣà àti ìṣe wa ẹ súnmọ́ àwọn oníṣègùn wa. So wọ́n á fún yín ní ewé or but generally practice healthy eating, that helps as well because of blood flow. Kí ló máa ń jẹ́ kára ọkùnrin tètè dìde torí blood flow ni tí blood flow bá lè dé ibi nǹkan ọkùnrin easily. tí kò ṣe kó máa rá àwọn ibi tó yẹ kí blood flow sí gan àwọn ọ̀rá ti kún gbogbo bẹ̀ tó ti yẹ yín doing exercises as well torí kó máa ń generate blood circulation máa ń wà nínú exercise but àwọn oníṣègùn wa ní kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ sí nírú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn tó bá dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ó máa gba ewé àti egbò solution wà ní fún kí ìyẹn òun ṣe kó ṣe kò yẹ kó jẹ́ problem fún ọmọ Yorùbá. Prince Kola ìyẹn sound like Yorùbá name fún ọmọ Yorùbá that shouldn't even be a problem at all torí àwọn oníṣègùn ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn ẹ̀sìn àjòjì yẹn ló fọ́ wa lójú àwọn ẹ̀sìn àjòjì yẹn ló fọ́ wa lójú tẹ́ pé nǹkan tẹ́ pé ewé lásán àwọn bàbá wa ní àwọn ìyá wa oníṣègùn àwọn bàbá wa oníṣègùn ó ní ewé lásán fún yẹn kò sí ẹ̀ ní waste time at all so ti yẹn ara yẹn ti wá dìde you feel like a teenager again solution ti wà rẹpẹtẹ fún yẹn so ẹ kàn máa ní láti wọlé ni tó ti yẹn ẹ kàn máa ní láti wọlé kò dẹ́ ṣe àwọn alọ́mọ mo sọ gbogbo àwọn artificial stimulants yẹn no nínú nǹkan tó wà healthy there are herbs for that already fún ọkùnrin àti obìnrin so ìyẹn kò tẹ fọmọ Yorùbá that should never even be a problem tó ti yẹ yín that shouldn't even be a problem àwa tá a dẹ̀ wà ní Europe bí a wà ní Europe àbí a wà ní America àwọn bàbá wa àwọn bàbá wa wà tó lè ṣí ìpẹ̀ fún yín tó ti yẹ yín tó lè ṣí ìpẹ́ fún yín and you feel like a teenager again fún àwọn bàbá wa àti àwọn ìyá wa tá bá jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá kò yẹ kí ìyẹn tiẹ̀ lè jẹ́ wàhálà fún wa but I understand pé àwọn ẹ̀sìn àjòjì yẹn ó ti kó wa lọ ó ti fọ́ wa lójú ṣó ti yé yín ó ti fọ́ wa lójú ó ti kó wa lọ but ẹ jẹ́ padà sílé tá bá padà sílé irú àwọn nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ kò yẹ kó jẹ́ problem fún ọmọ Yorùbá àtọ́ fún ọmọ aládé that shouldn't even be a problem there are many solutions for that already so baba wa Kola I don't know where you're based though but ẹsùnmọ́ àwọn oníṣègùn wa that's very very easy that should not even be a problem so ti yẹ yín so ẹ jẹ́ àtẹ̀síwájú so yeah so basically the in Yoruba spirituality marriage is not just a union of the bodies so ti yẹ yín is the union of your ori as well so ti yẹ yín especially when you are having intercourse your ori ori yin bond you're bonding spiritually not just in physical so ti yẹ yín and you can also be divorced spiritually nǹkan tí point yín sọ nìyẹn when one party is practicing self gratification then your ori starts to lose the attachment the bond with your spouse. So bí ara ò bá fúnni ní àánú orí kì í fi àṣẹ ṣeré so ti yẹn if the body denies compassion your ori will not play with the power so ti yẹn your ori will not support you basically orí yín ò ní lè pè yín nígbà tí ara yín deny compassion pẹ̀lú partner yín so basically your àṣẹ your power of your ashe will be diminished in that kind of situation, will be depleted in that kind of situation. There's a real point there. Ashe yin ma weak sí. Gbogbo wa dé la fẹ́ ká àṣẹ wa ṣiṣẹ́ fún wa o. Gbogbo wa la máa ń ṣèwúre, gbogbo wa la ní nǹkan tá à ń lé nínú ayé wa. Gbogbo wa la ní nǹkan tá à ń aspire fún. Gbogbo wa la even bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pé a kàn ń ṣèwúre pé kí ilé wa tòrò lásán, ìyẹn gan aspiration ni. Even if we already have that, tí ayọ̀ àti ìfẹ́ tó bá wà nílé wa a fẹ́ maintain ẹ̀ so gbogbo wa la ní ìdàṣẹ ẹnu wa náà tí tàbá máa ń ṣe àwọn nǹkan kan tí wọ́n ń pa àṣẹ mọ́ wa lẹ́nu àbọ̀ ó ń reduce effectiveness of àṣẹ wa ìyẹn ò lè ṣèwúlò fún wa even though lè satisfy body wa temporarily but ó ń deplete life force wa our energy. So emotional and psychological withdrawal as well. So when objects replace your partner, it creates emotional needs are self-served, reducing the need for vulnerability, communication, and mutual touch. Yes, if we are being honest with each other, a false sense of satisfaction may set in. Yes, torí kí bàbá tó dórí bẹ́ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìyàwó ẹ̀ ó ti satisfy ara ẹ̀ artificially pẹ̀lú sopi kí ìyá tó dórí bẹ́ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú bàbá lálẹ́ ìyá ti ṣe 1 or 2 sessions pẹ̀lú àwọn dildo battery assisted friends tó ti yé yín already. So emotional laziness máa set in nínú relationship yẹn. Ẹ lè imagine I've even stumbled upon some lives before tí àwọn wèrè kan tí wọ́n tún recommend ẹ̀ fóbìnrin pé if you don't use dildo you're going to be too attached to your husband. That's what somebody was preaching. Like if you don't use dildo, you're going to be too attached to your husband. He's going to take advantage of you because you're going to want him all the time. Mo ní kí sórí yìí ṣé ti àwọn kan ní wá tí wọ́n bàjẹ́ dé gbogbo ibẹ̀ yẹn ni. So because you are deliberately creating distance, emotional distance with your own partner. Because you don't want to feel vulnerable, because you don't want to feel vulnerability for your partner. Ẹni pé orí ẹni tó máa ń ṣe yẹn ti dàrú already. Kò yẹ kẹ́ irú èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn kò yẹ kó wà ní relationship. You are supposed to be highly vulnerable to your husband. You are supposed to be, to be dying for communication with your partner. You are supposed to crave mutual touch with your partner. That's the way it's supposed to be. But ẹni pé àti ń dorí ìkíní ìkodò. It's like we're living life in reverse and we are trying to go forward. So how is that kind of relationship going to be progressing? But that is dorí ẹ̀ kodò. Mo dẹ̀ máa ń gbọ́ táwọn èèyàn kan máa ń preach kíní pé make sure you have something that you use to satisfy yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be too attached to your husband. You are supposed to be attached to your husband. That's a good thing. That's the way it's supposed to be. Why would you want to practice anything that will reduce your attraction to your husband or your wife? Kẹ máa rí pé àwọn ajogun kan àwọn ajogun kan àti ń gbà wọ́n láyè kọ́ wá máa loud ju ohun àwọn tó ní lárí tó ní common sense lọ. And that thing is very rampant when it comes to relationship. Irú relationship gangan làwọn ajogun máa ń settle sí jù, online and offline. Ṣó ti yé yín? Nípa ajogun nìyẹn kẹ́nìkan máa preach you have to satisfy yourself, because if you don't, you're going to be too horny for your wife. You're supposed to be horny for your wife. Who else are you supposed to be horny for if it's not your wife? So I think as adults, as rational adults, gbogbo wa la máa ní láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí police kìíní torí pé this thing it can no longer be, it can't be ignored any longer. Apologies for that. I'm just playing with the light here. Yeah, apologies for that. So, you see, it's too bright now. Apologies. Okay, so basically, I think àwọn ajogun kan máa wá máa ṣe relationship expert. Kí wọ́n máa preach relationship behaviours lòdì fún wa nínú community wa. So, we have to start shutting down those kind of voices because they're damaging our relationships. They are damaging our marriages. So wherever we find people, saying nonsense like that, we have to challenge them. We have to shut them down because we can see the rate at which marriages are being destroyed. We can see the rate of separation. And we are seeing the rate of, that friction between men and women. There are too many false relationship prophets on the internet. And some of us, we entertain those voices. Àwọn ajogun yẹn, a máa ń gbà wọ́n láyè láti wá gbin nǹkan sínú wa, nǹkan tí ò dẹ̀ mú lọ síwájú wa nínú ilé wa, tí ò mú ayọ̀ wá, tí ò mú ayọ̀ wá fún nínú ilé wa. Ṣó ti yé yín? So àwọn tó máa ń preach irú nǹkan báyẹn pé bójóbìnrin ni yín ni o pé if you don't please yourself, if you don't masturbate 5 or 6 times a week, you're going to be too attached to your husband, and it's going to be he's going to get big-headed and feel like you want him all the time, and is going to take advantage of you. That kind of foolishness should not be able to should not be allowed to manage, to function in our community any longer. That's absolute. That's just absolute foolishness. You are supposed to crave your partner. That's your life partner. You are going to spend the rest of your life with that person. You are supposed to crave communication with them. If you're not vulnerable with your partner, then with your husband or your wife, then who else can you be vulnerable with? If you're not craving mutual touch from your husband or your wife, then who else are you craving mutual touch with? so ẹjọ àwọn wèrè kan tó máa preach àwọn kinní yẹn láàrin wa anyway tá a bá ń bá wọn pàdé ká máa challenge wọn ká máa shut wọn down torí pé àwọn ọmọ tó ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn wa ọ ń gbọ́ àwọn kinní yẹn ẹnu àwọn àgbàlagbà dẹ̀ làwọn ọmọ ti ń gbọ́ ọ máa ń fi pé bó ṣe yẹ kó rí nítòótọ́ nìyẹn àti ń gba àwọn ajogun láyè jù kán wá máa sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà destructive tó ń mú padà sẹ́yìn wá tí wọn ò mú lọ síwájú wá. There's too many of them. Those kind of voices, we have to challenge them. We have to make efforts to at least challenge their assertions. Torí pé on-bank kan jẹ́ adìyẹ ní bí society ṣe ń bàjẹ́. À ń rí bí marriages ṣe ń bàjẹ́. Even àwọn younger generation Gen Z tẹ̀ láìkíra wọn àtọ́ tẹ bá rí èdè àìyedè tó wà láàrin àwọn Gen Z yẹn láàrin àwọn ọkùnrin àtàwọn obìnrin. What caused that? Ṣebí àwòkọ́ṣe làwọn tó wà láwọn ọmọdé máa ń wò tẹ̀bí àwọn tó wà níwájú wọn lọ́ máa ń wò ṣe. Tó ti yé yín? There are too many of those divisive voices in our midst. We have to challenge them. We have to shut them down. Ó yẹ ká jẹ́ kí òótọ́ jọba again. Ó yẹ ká jẹ́ kí ìfẹ́ jọba again. Tó ti yé yín? Tí òótọ́ bá jọba, tí ìfẹ́ bá jọba, a rí pé everything that to one sound too complicated at the moment. A rí pé ìlọsíwájú máa wà ń bẹ̀ again. A rí pé ìfẹ́ àti ayọ̀ máa wà nílé wa again. So gbogbo àwọn nonsense táwọn kan ti capitalize lé lórí bóyá tó lọ́wọ́ ọ fẹ́ make owó ni or some people they're not over their past relationships. So wọ́n fẹ́ spread bitter yẹn wọ́n fẹ́ spread toxicity yẹn wọ́n wẹ́nu kúra a ti sọ pé àwọn wèrè máa ń wẹ́nu kúra already ní now. So we have to protect our minds. We have to guard our spirit from those kind of negative forces. So ti yé yín so that àwa gan ilé wa má lè tòrò. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n tẹ̀síwájú. So basically, when that happens, a false sense of satisfaction may set in because you're self-satisfying yourself, which is an artificial form of intimacy, leading to emotional laziness in the relationship because you won't make the effort you're supposed to make. So when you already have another way of pleasing and satisfying yourself, nílé make efforts. Èmi tó yẹ kí mo ti satisfy ara mi tí bàbá yẹn bá dé kó lọ wá nǹkan tó máa jẹ o. Tí ó bá anyway kó lọ wá nǹkan tó máa jẹ mi ò ní time fún gbogbo yẹn o. That's because you've developed intimacy with your battery assisted friend. Bàbá tó ti ṣe sopi a ní pé obìnrin yẹn ló mọ̀ o tèmi bá ti jẹun tó mi lọ sùn ní èmi iṣẹ́ wà lọ́la náà. Both of you start practicing emotional laziness because you already have other ways of satisfying yourselves individually. Just you don't make time for copulation anymore. You don't make time for communication anymore. You're not vulnerable with each other anymore. Can you end that relationships rule now? Kò yẹ kẹ́nìkan sọ fún wa pé those kind of practices cannot be healthy for relationships and for marriages. Tá bá ń bára wa sòótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀. So your partner eventually start feeling unseen, undesired, and they start feeling replaced. Àwọn bàbá wa tó wà lórí ètò tí mo sọ yẹn tó ń parọ́ fúnra wọn tó ń parọ́ fáwọn obìnrin tó wà ń bẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ yẹn tí mo wá lọ challenge wọn. So irọ́ ló ń pa. So you start feeling replaced. Something unnatural, an object has replaced your husband in the marital home. So you've used personal satisfaction to replace your wife. So àyè ìyàwó wa nìyẹn now. Táwa bá lọ ń ṣe sopi kí là ń ṣe à ń short change àwọn ìyàwó wa nìyẹn. That's cheating. Whether we want to admit it or not, is cheating. I personally, in my own personal opinion, I think it's actually worse than cheating with flesh. I think it's personally worse than cheating with flesh. At least as a man can compete with the flesh, right? He's another man, right? So anyway, so your partner may feel unseen, undesired, or replaced, even if you claim it's just physical. Ṣebí battery lásán ni, ṣebí irin lásán ni, ṣebí ike lásán ni. So your husband feel replaced. Clearly, your husband can't compete with that object. So talawan parọ́ fún kí lawan tanra wa fún. Even you know that your husband can compete with those objects. Kí lawan parọ́ fún. Kí lawan parọ́ fún, kí lawan tanra wa fún. Anyway, spiritual gateways to Ajogun, so disruptive forces. In Ifa, repetitive or natural sex habits, especially those done in secrecy, invite Ajogun. It invites spiritual entities. It creates spiritual forces of imbalance, which can cause arguments, infidelity, or emotional coldness. It can cause emotional coldness to escalate. It can also disturb the peace of the household, which is meant to be a spiritually protected space. Ìkórìíra máa wà nírú ilé yẹn now, because you're clearly your emotional bond has already been tampered with. Your spiritual bond has already been tampered with. Your physical bond has already been tampered with. Àfi tá a bá ń parọ́ fúnra wa o. Tó ti yé yín? It also pollutes the Ori Inu, making both partners drift apart spiritually, even without knowing why. Even without knowing why. Torí pé Ori Inu yín, you are sending the wrong signal to it. You might be able to function in an unnatural way, but your Ori Inu is pure. It cannot function in that unnatural way. So you might be corrupted through modern trends and socialism, but your Ori Inu, you have to understand, your Ori Inu is your divine guide. It's your spiritual guide. It's the best definition of purity. So your Ori Inu cannot function in that kind of situation because it's not being stimulated. What you're practicing is artificial, is fake. Àdè á máa ṣèwúre pé kórí inú wa kó gbè wá kórí inú wa kó má bà tòde jẹ́. Irọ́ orí òde gangan ló máa ń bà torí inú jẹ́, because orí inú is the best definition of purity, of pureness. Torí ẹ̀ ní sometimes èmi òun wà comfortable táwọn èèyàn bá ń ṣe wúre pé kórí inú wa má bà tòde jẹ́. Báwo lórí inú wa ṣe má bà tòde jẹ́? Your Ori Inu is not subjected to the latest trend. It's not subjected to the to social programs. To social programming. No, your Ori Inu can only work based on divine programming, divine mission, and your mo wa ló fẹ́ jẹ́ ká achieve lórí ilẹ̀ ayé yìí. So Ori Inu ò lè bà tòde jẹ́, Ori òde ló lè separate from Ori Inu. So èmi ò like àwọn èèyàn bá ń sọ kíni, in my own opinion, no, that's just my own opinion. Báwo lórí òde tó yẹ pé ọ̀dọ̀ Olódùmarè ló ti wá, báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ Ori Inu wa òun wo television náà. Ori Inu wa òun wà lórí internet náà. Ori Inu wa kò ń lọ sí feminist blogs now. So èmi believe pé orí òde gangan ló máa ń corrupt, kò ń ṣe Ori Inu, in my own opinion, and based on my own studies of the function of Ori Inu. So it pollutes the Ori Inu, making both partners drift apart spiritually without even knowing why. Ìfẹ́ tí a bá fi ara nìkan kó kì í tọ́jú orí. Okay, there was a typo there. Love built only on the flesh, only on the body, will not sustain the Ori Inu. Like I ran out of space there. Cannot sustain your spirit because it's not enriching for your spirit. It's not enriching. It's not nourishing your spirit. It's only satisfying the flesh. Okay, ẹ jẹ́ kí n dá dúró bẹ́ẹ̀ náà in case táwọn bàbá wa anybody tó bá need any, tó bá fẹ́ make contribution. Should I hold on there in case anyone would like to make any contributions? In case anyone has any opinions they would like to raise or any questions. Ṣé kí kọ́kọ́ dá dúró bẹ́ẹ̀ náà? Ó dà pé àwọn ìyá wa ti sá lọ tán. Ẹ má bínú o. I only know one way, and it's on unfiltered truth. My apologies. Okay, ìyá wa Dolly ṣì wà pẹ̀lú wa. Abẹ́ṣẹ̀ wọlé padà. Àbọ̀rú àbọ̀yè ìyá wa o.
But mo ní battery problem ni.
Okay. Ẹ ṣì wà pẹ̀lú wa.
Yeah, sure. So now, what is your advice to those who are used to it already now?
So basically, I think the advice is we have to do that self assessment, right? Mm-hmm. So is it helping? beyond the flesh, is it helping? Can we assess our relationship? Is our relationship in a healthy place? Is our own life, is it, are we, how is our, how do we feel emotionally? What's the condition of our spirit? Are we high spirited or are we low spirited? So I think everybody should do that assessment, do that honest assessment, and then decide what you want to do. Nobody can tell any adult what to do, but do your own assessment. If you feel like it's not working and you decide that you would like to come out of that, you would like to change that conditioning, then there are ways. Ade Solano, I'm not sure if you were on the thing yesterday on this program. So let's go. What should be done over here? So I don't know why I put, there was a typo in this one as well. I'm gonna have to make corrections there. So immediate spiritual cleansing with herbs and water of consciousness, omi inu rere, tó ti yé yín, or bàbá wa dẹ̀ sọ pé ẹni omi gan lè ṣe kinní yẹn, tó ti yé yín. I think it was Dr. Fred ló sọ pé ẹni omi gan lè ṣe kinní yẹn. So immediate spiritual cleansing with herbs. Ó máa sọ pé ewúro ó máa help pẹ̀lú spiritual cleansing tá bá fi sínú omi tá fi wẹ̀. So ti yẹn ẹ mọ̀ pé mo dẹ̀ tún wá sọ náà pé àwọn kan náà sọ pé sea salt, if you're having sea salt bath, it cleanses one spiritually as well. So ti yẹn sea salt bath, because it can what's it called? Yeah, basically it helps. But mo wá tún sọ pé fún àwọn tó bá mọ Ifá, àwọn bàbá olúwo tèmi, mo dẹ̀ ṣe bá wo, mo ṣe bá olúwo mi o, wọ́n ti sọ fún mi rí pé a lè lo èjì ogbè fún àwọn tó bá mọ Ifá. Tá bá da èjì ogbè maybe sí ọwọ́ àbí sínú ike kan, so ti yẹn tá bá da èjì ogbè sí, then a lè ṣe ìwúre pẹ̀lú sínú iyọ̀ yẹn. You can put some in water, drink it, and put some in your bath water and use it to wash your body as well. That's a very, very good way to establish that spiritual cleansing. Pray to your Ori to help sever any unintended spiritual cords. Because like we said, for those who are, masturbation, has its risks. But when masturbation is practiced through using inanimate objects, it actually becomes a ritual. So you've now, the object that you're using becomes an entity. Other entity, àwọn ajogun máa ń gbàbẹ̀ wọlé. So ti yé yín, the same way, bẹ́ẹ̀ni kéèyàn máa bọ Ògún, kéèyàn ní Ògún nílé ẹ̀, kẹ̀dẹ̀ máa tọ́ epo sí every morning, or in your own within your own ritual. Ó máa ń become activated fún àwọn tó ń bọ Ògún náà. It's the same way tá a bá ń da omi ara, epo lásán nìyẹn. Tá ilé imagine ká wá gbé nǹkan bí irin àbí ike sílé, ká wá máa da omi, our life force, omi ara wa ká máa dà á sí. With frequency, it becomes a ritual, and those objects, they become spiritually charged. So that means praying to your Orinu to help sever any unintended spiritual bonds that you've made, that you've created inadvertently, unintentionally. So amabe Orinu wa. Others dispose of such objects mindfully and respectfully. If they become spiritually charged, you may or may not even be able to detect whether or not they become spiritually charged. If you become addicted to them, then chances are they are probably spiritually charged. You understand? Because what are spirits? They say a spirit is a thing unseen, which has an influence over a thing that's seen. So if you've become addicted to sex objects or sex toys or sex dolls, then yes, chances are it's probably become spiritually charged. If you can't do without them, now that means they have an influence over you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And consider spiritual rebalance through abstinence, solitude, and rededication to higher sexual consciousness. So obviously the first thing is to stop doing, engaging in those acts. Naturally, your body will reset, and I think you've made that point as well earlier.
Yeah.
That if you stop it, your body naturally will reset. But if the object that you've been using has become spiritually charged, it's good to also, in addition to abstinence, practice spiritual cleansing. And there's a way to do that in our Yoruba culture, in our Ifa, in our Ashe, Isheshewa. So there's a quote here: when Ashe flows without intention, other forces gather to collect what you have spilled. Isn't that scary? Your Ashe is your bodily fluid, is your vital energy, which can be it can be released through your bodily fluid. So when Ashe flows out of you without intention, without the right settings, the right copulation, other forces gather to collect what you have spilled. Isn't that scary?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a harmless act. But we're not trying to scare anybody. We're just doing like this, it's an analysis into our relationship. What are the causes of our relationship breaking up? What are the causes of it? So it's that assessment, that self-analysis. We have to look everywhere, because the way it's going at the moment, clearly that's not the way we want, right? We don't like the way it's going at the moment, where there are broken homes everywhere, single dads and single mothers everywhere. We have to be able to face the cold, look at the issue with a view to, making amends and hopefully being able to move forward into, with happiness, with love, and harmony. Have I answered the question, or have you got anything else? Yawa Dolly, have I answered the question, or have you got anything else? I don't have all the answers, by the way. Other peoples may be able to add to that. Other peoples may know other ways as well. The reason we're here is
You've answered the question, but one thing is that is just one part of the reason why there are so many single people or divorced. That's one part. There are other reasons too.
No doubt. I am pretty sure there will be other factors as well. Yes, absolutely. There will be other reasons as well. But I think we can all agree this is the fundamental one, right?
Yeah.
If we don't have healthy intimacy, no relationship can survive without healthy intimacy.
It's very, very important. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. But yes, I fully agree with that. There are other factors as well. I fully agree with that. Okay. So, distortion of sexual chemistry. Repeated use of dolls or hyperstimulating objects can alter the brain's response. Now we're getting into neuroscience, right? We're getting into the neurological impact. Can alter the brain's response to real human touch, because you lose your sensitivity to human touch. You do. What satisfies you, what can satisfy you won't be at the same level as you were before you started engaging in those acts. You will be a difficult person to satisfy. If we're honest with each other, you'll be a difficult person it makes you more difficult to arouse, and it makes it more difficult for you to be satisfied by flesh alone, leading to reduced arousal, absolutely, especially in men, dissatisfaction, especially in women, or even erectile dysfunction in men, 100%. And every single one of those points are medically proven. It creates fantasy-based expectations that a real partner cannot match. How true is that? How real is that? It creates fantasy-based expectations that a real partner cannot match. Because we know that a machine and a human cannot function at the same level. We know that already. It breaks down natural emotional rhythms that build desire within a marriage. Yes, it does. Because your rhythm, your emotional rhythm, and your natural process of developing attraction and attachment, it's going to be interrupted. It's going to be interrupted by practicing masturbation. Because everything now becomes unnatural. So the natural way of doing things won't be able to arouse you anymore. You know? And I've already said earlier, some women actually, they campaign and they tell women to practice, artificial stimulation in order to break the natural emotional rhythm. But how can that lead to fulfillment? How can that be a good thing? Telling women to masturbate so that they can reduce their attraction to their men. How can that be a good thing? For me, that sounds retarded. That's the best definition of foolishness, if you ask me. If we're being honest, I don't see how that can be beneficial. Trust erosion and hidden shame. When it's done in secrecy, the act becomes a spiritual and emotional betrayal, even if not technically adultery. So when it's done in secrecy, the act becomes a spiritual and emotional betrayal, even if it's not technically adultery. But we can call it adultery or not, but the impact is going to be felt. Even if we don't want to label it as technically it's not adultery, but is it about the label or is it about the impact? Is it about the implication? Because the implication is going to be felt, whether or not you want to label it adultery. The damage is going to be done, whether or not you label it adultery. So the implication is going to be felt regardless. It introduces shame, lies, or guilt, which erodes the openness that Ori Rere needs to flourish in the union. I don't know why some words are cut off here. I'm going to have to go and make those corrections. So some women and men interpret this behavior as a rejection of their own sacred energy. The act becomes a spiritual and emotional betrayal, even if it's not technically adultery. That's the key point there. Apologies for my typo. I think it's the formatting that kind of cut off some of the words. But I hope the point is clear, regardless. Ẹ jẹ́ bá mi power tap mo mọ̀ bóyá TikTok ló drop àwọn èèyàn. Or am I being too real? Is it too cutting? Is it too real? Is it causing too much self-reflection? It's 9:42. That may be a factor as well, but we actually went on to around 11:30, almost midnight yesterday. But yeah, I agree. It's getting late as well. But sometimes TikTok no man drop away. You see enough people buy engaged. Oh man drop away. So see So basically, restoring the balance. In addition to what I showed earlier, what can help? Iwure, which is affirmation of reconciliation to both your Ori and your partner, can help to reestablish those broken bonds, to mend those emotional and spiritual fractures can be mended if you use Iwure for reconciliation. Cleansing the home and body or spiritual residue can help. Open truth telling. I'm telling you, truth can be so liberating. If only we would allow it. If only we would allow it, truth can be so liberating. Honesty dissolves spiritual blockage. Absolutely, that's a fact. That's a fact. Rebuild sexual intimacy as a sacred ritual. Get closer to your wife. Get closer to your husband. If you start doing it in a natural way again, in the spirit of love and harmony, if you do that with real intentions, after a while, those the bonds is going to be strengthened with that process. The intimacy will start becoming natural again and functioning normally again. So see, báyìí la ṣe máa lè padà, a máa láti ṣe àtúnṣe síbẹ̀ ni. A máa ní láti ṣàtúnṣe síbẹ̀ ni. With touch affirmation, and honoring each other's Ori. The realization that is more than flesh. Your bond goes beyond flesh, is deeper than flesh. You've got something called Ori that also needs nourishment. You need to nourish each other's Ori which is your spiritual guide. Your inner compass needs to be nourished, as well. Practicing, saying kind words to each other, kind words, affirming words can actually cure, can heal your Ori as well. Saying loving words to each other, complimentary words to each, with each other, practicing, basically selfless love, looking out for one another, looking out for each other's interests, and not being selfish, not practicing selfishness in that kind of relationship. Naturally heals the Ori, it heals your bond. You understand? Looking out for one another as opposed to looking out for just yourself. Therapeutic support, if needed, supporting one another to break any compulsive behaviors. Some people may need therapy, but therapy today in this socialist world is very, very risky. These days, therapy can actually cause more damage. It's causing more damage than anything else. So therapy poses a lot of danger now because there are a lot of socialist minions out there that are actually creating more confusion rather than healing people. They're compounding confusion. So if you're going for therapy, you have to be very, very mindful about who you allow into that space. You have to be very careful. There are a lot of agendas at play. If you're not careful, you can fall into a trap. So final reflection. Ìfẹ́ tí a bá fi ara nìkan kó kì í tọ́jú orí. That means love built only on the body, that only on the satisfaction of the flesh, will not sustain the soul. It depletes the soul. It doesn't nourish the soul. A marriage is a sacred container of Ashe. If you choose lifeless things over a living partner, you are, and I'm sorry for this is deep. Sometimes it may sound like it's cutting, but even truth can be therapeutic. You understand? Even truth can be therapeutic if we allow it to function. If we create that space for truth to take hold in our lives, even that can be liberating. So apologies if it's sounding like it's quite direct. I am quite direct, if I'm honest, because it's the only way I know. I try to be diplomatic as well, but when I see a problem, I throw what's that word? Sentiment goes out the window when I see a problem. When it comes to problem solving, I don't use sentiment. I get right to the heart of the problem. And I'm sorry for saying that. And there's more fi gbéraga, more fi yẹn ṣe gbéraga. Ẹ mọ̀ kí gbogbo wa la yàtọ̀. We are all different. But if I see a problem, I'm sentimental and I'm diplomatic up until I see a problem. If I see a problem, sentiment out the window. It's about how we can attack the problem and solve it in the most efficient way possible. So I apologize if my words are too cutting sometimes. But it's because the problem is that drastic. That's why. If you choose lifeless things over a living partner, you are not just harming your spouse, you are also disconnecting from the divine order within yourself. Would you like a guided prayer or couples iwure to help restore balance in such a situation? That's just my offering, okay? So if anyone would like any guided iwure, maybe for yourself or for yourself and your partner, I can spend some time on that. I mentioned that yesterday as well. I can create a small PDF just as an offering, as a piece of offering to, if people would find it helpful, if anyone is out there would find it useful, then I'll be glad to do that. I'll be glad to curate that and spend some time doing it as well. So yeah, that's the final reflection. You know, it's been an interesting conversation. I think we've heard different viewpoints, but ultimately, a lè tanra wa, a láti lè bára wa sọ òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀. So ti yé yín, òótọ́ ló máa ń mú ìlọsíwájú wa. We can all see that, you know, that the way things are going, something is wrong. We know that there's something wrong in our marriages, in our relationships. If we are honest with each other, at least, you know, holistically, but obviously there will be some edge cases where some people, they are in eternal happiness, maybe. But if we're looking at the society as a whole, if we're generalizing, we can see that there's something is not right. That you know, there's a friction. That something is broken in our relationships, in our marriages, if we are being honest with each other. So we have to then, you know, when there's a problem, it calls for that. It calls for us to take a step back and reassess how we're doing things, and look at our practices in terms of what are the things that are not that are contributing to the problem. What are the things that are, you know, that are, you know, are not helping the situation. You know, can we look at them boldly in the spirit of honesty, in order to be able to come out with some solutions. And láti fi ojú òótọ́ wò, àjẹmá ní láti lè bára wa sòótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ká bá fi lè ní ìtẹ̀síwájú, tá bá fi lè ní ìlọsíwájú. Ìyá mi Dolly sọ pé very helpful. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you found it helpful. I hope others have also found it helpful. I didn't think it would be a 2-day program, but yesterday's program went on into almost midnight. You know, hence why we had to split it into 2 days. So I'm in the process of uploading yesterday's program on YouTube. That would be there by tonight. You know, I'm in the process of uploading that. Tomorrow's one will be there by tomorrow as well. Yeah. Yeah. So that will be there tomorrow. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So bàbá mi ọmọ Kẹ́hìndé Hastrop, tí ẹ yọjú sí wa lénìí ni bàbá, mo ò tí ẹ rí yín o, ó dà kẹ́ FYP lẹ́wà, mo ò tí ẹ rí yẹn then comment. Irú jazz wo lẹ̀ ń lò bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn o. I don't actually see you, but you're commenting. Bàbá wa ti break us lo SX programming ni bàbá wa fi hack TikTok yẹn o. Ìyá wa Adéwálé, ẹ ṣeun o, mo thanks for all the likes, thanks for all the gifts as well. Èdùmàrè á wà pẹ̀lú yín o, Èdùmàrè á dáàbò bò yín níbi tẹ́ ti ń yọ kò ní tán bẹ́ẹ̀ o, ẹ ṣeun o, mo mọ̀ ọ́ lóore o. Thank you so much. Thank you so much o, mo mọ̀ ọ́ lóore o. Thank you. Ìyá wa Dolly, thanks for your amazing contributions as well. Bàbá wa ní Adéwálé, ẹ má bínú bàbá o. Kábíyèsí bàbá, ẹ má bínú. Torí ẹ̀yin náà wá sókè ni, ẹ̀yin náà má bọ̀ lókè ká bá mọ̀ yín, ta ká gbóhùn yín náà. At least àárẹ̀ yìí nínú comment. Bàbá wa Hastrop. Rí lórí kíní, ọdẹ comment bàbá ní ìmọ̀ jáàsì bàbá wa ń lò, ẹmọ kí bàbá wa ti ṣètẹ́fà. Bàbá wa Ifá 2015 ní ìyá wa ní bàbá wa ń lò bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn o. Ẹmọ kí 2025 làwa ń lò. Odù 2015 ní bàbá wa ń lò bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn nìyẹn o. Mo ò rí bàbá ń bẹ̀ yìí, ọdẹ comment. Bàbá wa Múyìwá Adébánjọ, thank you for your presence and your contribution as well. Mo mọ̀ ọ́ lóore o, sorry, just busy with work. At work still. irọ́ mo bá yín ṣeré ni o a lè ṣe bínú o mo bá yín ṣeré ni o. So yeah. So yeah. Bàmá ní láti ṣe máa ṣe nìyẹn o. So yeah, okay. Nínú títí program àná tí mò ń upload mo rí pé YouTube wọ́n ti sáré flag pé orin tí mo fi sínú ẹ̀ yẹn wọ́n ní kí copyrighted song ni. So wọ́n ní pé I have to either replace the song or trim out the segment. Okay, I'm gonna have to do that offline. So yeah, today's program, at least it hasn't, it's not as lengthy as yesterday's one. I appreciate everybody's contribution. Mo dẹ̀ mọ́ lóore o. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa tẹ́ bá wa contribute. Bàbá mi Adé ọmọ Yorùbá náà tí wọ́n wá sókè lẹ́ẹ̀kan tó bá wa contribute. Bàbá wa méjèèjì tó wà lókè lẹ́ẹ̀kan tí tó ń figagbága. Yóò ti yé yín. Mo appreciate yín o, but we have to wrap it up. Ó dà pa ti ṣe tán. Unless anyone else has any contributions or any questions. Otherwise, àwọn ìyá wa ti sọ pé ilẹ̀ ti ń ṣú, so bí akakuku bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń wrap it up láti bẹ̀yẹn. So today's program, a quick recap, was basically an extension of yesterday's program. Tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that tomorrow. Torí àwọn ọmọ mi, they've got inset day on Friday, which means no school on Friday. So I'm looking to do something with them tomorrow evening after school. So I don't think I'll be online tomorrow. I may come online on Friday, but no, I won't be able to go. I don't think I'll be able to come online. I'm going to be with the children tomorrow. So the effects of masturbation in marriages is what we've explored today. Yesterday we did yesterday's program was basically masturbation in Yoruba cosmology. Well, exploring the spiritual advantages and disadvantages. Lashilano. Eni is like an extension of that, looking at the impact on marriages and couples specifically. Lashileni. So mo de hope àwọn èèyàn rí ìwúlò sí dáadáa. We learned a lot. I hope we learned from it. And I made a pledge as well. Yesterday, as well as today, I made a pledge as well to say, but what I would do is I can put together like a small booklet, a small PDF of some targeted, of some, relevant iwure that can help anyone who's engaged in those acts. If they feel like if they'll find it useful, I can put it together and put it out there anyway. Okay, just as a value add, just as a piece of offering, So I'm going to try and do that. But hopefully by weekend, it shouldn't take long. I just need to create the time for it. So yeah, mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa o. I appreciate everyone, all the contributors. We may differ in opinions, but we have to agree and disagree as adults. We have to agree and disagree. With love, pẹ̀lú ìfẹ́, la máa fi agree àti disagree. We don't all, other man sọ pé ibi tó kọjú sẹ́nìkan ẹ̀yìn ló kọ sẹ́lòmíì. So we don't all have to see the same. We all live different lifestyles, and we will differ in opinion sometimes. So imagine. So if you've heard anything here that you find displeasing, ẹ má fi ṣèbínú. Sometimes I can be very direct. Sometimes that's just the way I am naturally. When I'm having general discussions, like I said, I'm very, I like the spirit of cooperation and harmony. I make compromises. I am very sentimental, but not when it comes to problem solving. Not when it comes to analyzing. If anything looks like a problem, I don't feel like sentiments. There are rooms for sentiments. I want to look at the truth, the cold truth. I want to stare it down in the eyes and look for the solution in that. But with love and with respect. in the spirit of love and respect, but I don't like cutting corners when it comes to problem solving. That's just the way I am naturally. So I don't mean to offend though. But the ṣe sọ ẹni ọ ní pé ọmọdé ò lè jẹ̀kọ kó má yí lọ́wọ́. So tó bá jẹ́ pé delivery mi ń gbà mí ó máa ń dàbí ti ọmọdé ẹ̀yin àgbà ẹ wá ẹ má bínú ẹ bá mi fi etí àti ìfẹ́ àgbà ẹ bá mi fi gbọ́. So sì yẹn mo ò dẹ̀ níṣẹ̀yìn o mo ò ní tẹ aṣọ àgbà mọ́lẹ̀ o mo ò ní tọwọ́ bọ àgbà lójú o. Bàbá wa ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá TV thank you very much for the gift o bàbá wa àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè bàbá o ṣé dáadáa ni o ṣé dáadáa ni tílé tọmọ ẹ kú tàtàárọ̀ o àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè o. Bàbá wa ọmọ èṣù Pro Max àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè o ṣé bàbá wa àbí ìyá wa nìyẹn ó dà kí bàbá wa nìyẹn náà. Ọmọ èṣù Pro Max ṣé bàbá wa ó dà kí mo ọmọ èṣù ó dà kí mo mẹni tí yẹn jẹ. I'm good o ẹ kú àtàtàárọ̀ bàbá mi ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá TV ẹ ṣeun o gbọ́ àtọ́ bàbá o gbọ́ àtọ́ thanks for the likes thanks for the gift. Akọ̀bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wrap up ni o program tàná náà ni a extend wá sí tèmi o but tí tèmi a focus lórí okay kí ni effect masturbation effect ìbára ẹni lò effect sopi nínú ìgbéyàwó gangan nínú marriage gangan láwùlé ni tó ti yé yín. And there were stages in the conversation tó yẹ kí bó ṣe rí náà ni tó ti yé yín. So I think there were some disagreements but healthy disagreements I hope. Àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè bàbá gbogbo àtọyín bàbá ṣe dáadáa ni o.
àbọ̀ ìbọn iṣẹ́ ọ̀gá mi ṣe wà pàṣẹ àìkú gbìyànjú.
Ẹ ṣeun ẹ kú
mo ṣe ẹ́
àtàárọ̀
di
o.
programu ìsìn mo ṣe ẹ́ di ìsìn mo wá
ẹ
rí
kú
mo
iṣẹ́
ní kí n ṣe hi
ẹ
ní
ṣeun
kí n máa
ẹ kú
lọ.
iṣẹ́ takuntakun
yes sir.
ẹ kú iṣẹ́
ẹ kú gbìyànjú
irúnmọlẹ̀ àgbèyìn o
àṣẹfà
irúnmọlẹ̀
yàrá
àgbèyìn
sà
ẹ
a
ṣeun
kú
ẹ
ètò
ṣeun ẹ
a
ṣeun
kí gbogbo ilé o ẹ kú àdúró tiwa o thank you so much everyone.
ẹ ṣeun so àwa gan a máa wrap up so at least a ti sọ̀rọ̀ eléyìí nípa ọ̀rọ̀ masturbation I think we've turned the back of this particular topic and talking point. So next time tabawa wa a máa rí another ọ̀rọ̀ bára wa sọ hopefully kò ní wà as controversial hopefully kò ní wà as controversial and as personal as this one. Even lánàá gan ẹ̀wọ̀n kí lánàá àwọn sopi advocates àwọn náà wá wọlé wá nínú comment section lọ sọ pé what do you mean sopi is not good. So yeah, this is when it comes to matters of the heart, matters of passion, of intimacy, it can get passionate sometimes. But kò ní bára wa bínú ni ní níra wa sínú ni torí gbogbo wa la máa ní different opinions nípa ẹ̀. The target anybody o kò ṣe pé àsọpọ̀ target anybody a kàn sọ pé okay kí ni effect kìíní yìí ni what are the effects that we can see kí ni Yorùbá kí ni àṣà àti ṣe wa sọ nípa ẹ̀ kí ni Ifá wa sọ nípa ẹ̀ and also from a metaphysical standpoint what are the implications la sọ pé ká explore so it's not really targeting it or throwing darts at anybody. I don't know anybody on TikTok intimately anyway so ti yẹ yín so ẹ má bínú tó bá yẹ pé àgbékalẹ̀ wa kò kúnná tó nígbà míì ẹ má bínú ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ẹ̀yin ìyá wa ẹ̀yin àgbà wa o. Okay engineer Josh àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè sá o I hope you're well o I hope you're well engineer Josh o níwá yín tí o a máa rí yín bá o. Okay we're wrapping up so mo ní kéka wrap up mo dẹ̀ wá kí gbogbo ilé ní kíkí tó lọ́lá jùlọ ní ẹ̀làbọ̀rú ẹ̀làbọ̀yè bọ́ ṣíṣe o so a wrap up níbí báyìí lágbára Èdùmàrè gbogbo wa àásùnre àájíire lálẹ́ yìí o àjíǹde ara a máa jẹ́ wa Èdùmàrè á dáàbò bò wá àtàwọn ẹbí wa àtàwọn ọmọ wa ìpàdé wa ní ayọ̀ ní ire àti ní ìlọsíwájú o. Ẹ ṣeun ìyá mi Dolly thanks for your contribution thanks for your presence as well. ìyá wa ta ló ṣe yẹn confetti okay Yoruba too, thank you so much for that. That was actually a fitting way to end the show. Ìyá mi Adéwálé, thank you so much. Bàbá mi, okay, apologies, ẹ ti correct me o. Ẹ má bínú bàbá mi, ẹ ti correct me, but you know ẹ máa wá sókè lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan ká máa gbóhùn yín. So bàbá mi Adéwálé, Àbọ̀rọ̀ Àbọ̀yọ̀, thank you very much for the gift and the presents and all your contributions. So ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, ẹ̀yin bàbá wa, mo kí yín o, mo ṣe bá a jọ ní lọ. So yeah, ẹja end síbẹ̀ yẹn. Ìpàdé wa ní ire àti ní ayọ̀. Ẹ ṣeun. Ó dàárọ̀.